Hi. First, oh, that's fast. Hi. Hi. Today, Saturday night League of Legends reaction. Okay, we have GenG versus DK. I don't really know who I'm rooting for, but I think GenG have a better chance of winning. I think GenG have a better chance of winning. Eat that, Darwin. Jesus. Anyway, let's go. Let's go.
Absolutely. I mean, Damwon, you feel like on red side has to ban the
You
Yuumi.
gotta.
GenG is never going to be the ones to ban it. If they don't, it would be very interesting because it would speak to the fact that Damwon has a plan, right? And that's what we're really looking for here. A clear direction.
GenG have a better chance of winning, but I don't. I don't know who I'm
really
rooting
does
for.
lead me to believe the Yumi's not going to be banned. Of course, it could just be a last-second pivot here, but
Grave, Sojani, Kaitlyn ban.
He is here, so Yuumi is going to come through.
They let Yuumi through? Oh. Lehens just goes you. The cat. The cat. Oh my god, that cat. Why would they let that cat through? That cat is the most bullshit champion.
Spicy counter pick here that they have.
They knew. They gotta know.
They for sure knew that you were giving over Yuumi.
I think that this is actually a great gauntlet to throw in a game number one, though. You leave things up, you experiment in a game one, and then if you realize that, well, there's no way that we can deal with this, that's when you pivot in game number two. So it will be the
What's
Nami
LOL?
in.
LOL is League of Legends.
The Lucian Nami bottom lane. Pretty standard here.
LOL is League of
Very
Legends.
much enjoyed it.
It's a MOBA game,
I love Lucian
and this
Nami,
is
but,
pro play.
This is a really big risk being
This
taken
is
by yeah, I was completely with you, Zil. I was reading
yeah,
this
it's
as
pro gaming,
someone has
pro
a
gaming.
specific
Actually,
answer. Even
actual
with how
pro
good
gaming.
Lucian Nami and
Competition-wise,
lanes have
pro
been,
gaming.
The fact that Dr. and Callan say it doesn't matter even if they go for the Sivir Yuumi, we can win the lane hard enough that the Yuumi's not going to matter, but I find it hard to imagine.
This is World Series, and right now, GenG versus DK, both team is Korea. Both are Korean team.
Win here? The unstoppable force or the immovable object? The undefeated Yuumi or the winless MF? Which one really has more power here?
Well, we haven't actually seen Yuumi paired up with anything other than Sivir all tournament. As Shomek is hovering the Zoe, but he's not. Oh, man, we were almost treated to
I'm eating dinner while I'm watching this. I was supposed to eat dinner first, but I was like, no, I want to watch the games.
Like the Zoe or the Jace, but
Yeah, championship, world championship. This is
a
quarterfinals.
As GenG, I think you're looking to ban out carry junglers. Make sure that Canyon doesn't get something that he can find a big lead on and then snowball the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as you say.
I'm just eating bread.
Oh yeah. You know, one of these two guys is almost always going to be on the carry.
I'm just eating bread because I want to watch the games. Okay, I don't.
Try to answer the Yuumi. Like as I said, Mordekaiser was one that we had seen.
Live stream. They should be on game 3. But since I'm late, you know, I'm watching the replay.
You can just ult whoever the Yuumi is attached to. Yuumi pops off. You lock her down. Try to burst her out. So I am still curious to see if that is going to be an option.
One of the problems with that is we don't really play very good Mordekaiser in the LCK. I think that's an impact thing. He's extraordinarily good at that champion, but we don't necessarily find as much success with the pick over in Korea. So
you saw 2 games. Okay, well.
Do it, or Doran's going to do it.
Don't spoil. Don't spoil. Okay, I want to watch it.
They just haven't necessarily succeeded. As Camille,
Yesterday, the T1 second game was so spoiled. I was looking forward. I was looking forward to the turnaround instead of just watching the game. Okay, no spoiler. No spoiler. I want to watch it. Oh, you didn't see game 1 either? Alright, well, welcome to game 1. DK versus GenG.
And you wanted to deny access to that MF because the MF really needs someone to lock
They banned Camille.
And then stand and fire with that ultimate.
And what's interesting to me is that GenG's meta rate seems very similar to DRX. DRX was the only team that even later in the tournament we still prioritized the misfortune.
Lysandra, are we gonna see Soraka?
Has an abysmal win rate, hasn't looked that good, and I can see the synergy between the Yuumi and the MF, right? The amount of poke that you have available, the movement speed works really well, but overall,
are they gonna push
I
Soraka?
think that even with the MF that I'm not the biggest fan of, Damwon overall would have known this is happening.
counter-
And
to counter
and a
Lissandra, let's
Lissandra
see.
into a immobile AD carry is a threatening combination.
Yeah, I really, really like Gragas as a top lane pick here. You know, theoretically could be flex to jungle. You
Oh,
know,
they-
if you
wait.
really want to try to,
They can't pick
mix it up.
Soraka. That's
But
how
it's gonna
Yumi.
be
Yumi
Yumi
support,
is
so
going to the
there's
top
no
lane.
Soraka.
The Gragas ultimate is just another one of those things that makes it very, very difficult for the MF to get that full ultimate.
Fanta
you
orange
really are looking
or-
for in these fights. You can split up the fight. You can even disengage
Bei
that
Ping-
MF and
Bei
try to focus
Bingyang.
on the front
What is
line.
Bei
So,
Bingyang? I've never heard of that.
Yep, certainly something that Noguri is very, very good at as well. His Gragas has been fantastic. As that is Renekton locked
Bei
in.
Bingyang, what is
into it.
that?
Not a huge fan personally. How we feel?
I'll pick Fanta because
That's the
I know what
self-counter
Fanta
pick.
is.
What we see here for Doran, and now I think in terms of laning phase, we have
Renekton
seen that
again.
Gragas, especially with Grass, does exceptionally well into the
Renekton against
My
Gra- oh,
call is
God.
that GenG says we need to have an early pressure point on the map, and I do think in terms of prio and early skirmishes, Renekton Maokai has incredible skirmishing power, and this is Death Ball. Oh! What
Okay.
a
Rise. Rise.
Okay, Chovy Rise. This is not a pick I've been expecting to see at all. Most mid laners I talk to think Rise is literally in the dumpster, that this pick is you know, out of the meta completely. It's also relatively short range against powerful engage here from the Gragas and from Lissandra. So
It's
Chovy's gonna
Chinese
play this
Fanta.
very, very well,
I never
but it does
taste
give
the
them
Chinese
ability to
drinks,
side lane,
man.
It gives them the ability.
Cannon just picked Kane.
Game
one, by the way.
And, yeah, this is
Game one.
let's go. We
Oh my
get
God.
the Rise pick up for Chovy, and Canyon's like, hold my beer. Here's the Cane. All
Canyon
right,
just
well,
picked Kane.
GenG versus
Canyon's
double
gonna
key,
carry.
everyone. This is just kind of what happens.
This is amazing.
Canyon's gonna
they
carry
obviously
this.
needed an AD jungler. You don't want to go triple AP topside, but I was expecting something along of a Kindred,
Yeah.
or maybe even like an Olaf. But the Kane here is going to be incredibly exciting, and to me, so much of the Kane depends on your early game. How quickly can you actually get the transform? When you're against a Maokai jungle, I do like this pick especially, because when you're against tank junglers as the Kane, you can invade heavily and scrap with them non-stop to really
Personally,
farm
I
those
hate
souls
that
to
Cat
get
and
an
I
early
hate Kane.
transform. And if you can get an early transform on Kane,
Kane and
this is
Cat
one
are
those
two of the
power
most
farming
annoying
junglers
champion in
that
the game.
really can take over the game. It feels like it fits his style conceptually.
I love it.
By Lahens. What an absurd start to this series, and here we are on
Oh,
this
well,
Summoner's Rift. for game
Let's
one.
see how they do
It's so
with Kane.
exciting. I will say there is an enormous amount of CC here on the GenG side to get lockdown for Ruler's ultimates, right? Everyone else on the team here has roots, has CC to try to get that ideal ulti, and Damwon looking for something a little bit sneaky here.
And also with the relative lack of range of both these compositions, whoever... Oh, he doesn't know.
Canyon.
I think he's just gonna.
They have a
start
lot
using
of-
wolves. He's actually
DK
looking
have
to
a
go
lot of
full insert,
CC
'cause based on
for
their
MF
minimap,
ulti, so
no one else is actually moving over here to assist him, right? You know, we got Gragas chilling up top. We have these guys showing
Look
that
at
are trying to not give this away. So I think it is just going to be a wolf start for Canyon.
Look at the pathing ping as well.
Oh, Peanut might spot it, unless he's going
No,
bot side.
he's going bot side. He's going to start probably Raptors.
Oh my god, they don't know!
I mean, I think this is a really great read because
Wow.
Maokai a lot of the time will actually do these Raptor starts. That is my guess, is that he's saying, okay, you're playing Maokai. If you're going to start leashless, it's likely on Raptors. I'm going to do Wolves, and I'm going to power farm your top side without you even having any idea. This was risky, but he sneaks in, and Secret Agent Canyon here going to be stealing away multiple camps. and
Canyon
already
just
accelerating the
steal
pace of the game.
topside
And
without
this
without
is so
Genji
reminiscent
noticing.
of every time that Damwon have found the upper hand against GenG.
Oh, now there's like nothing in here.
Might be suspecting something is up.
But he can even scrap him here. This is even better. If he actually takes a scrap here and actually gets towards that form even faster.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he doesn't know.
Oh my goodness, Peanut, he's noticed that his
Wait.
Grom
Oh,
is
now he
nothing,
sees it.
As
Now he
now he's
knows.
gonna come on over. There's the smite from Canyon now. He's looking for
Oh,
even
shit.
down to 200. But Canyon, if he just takes away the entire top side of the jungle, he's still pretty happy. But still, he's going to give it up, not going to push too far.
Look at the prio though. Yeah, he's got to back off.
But this is perfect. He already took 2 camps away, right? Now he can just go Raptors. He can even go Raptors down to his bot side if he's worried about a counter evade. But like, he can even do Raptors red. He can go anywhere on the map from that. He's already taken 2 camps away from the enemy jungle. He's gotten a little way towards his transform. This is a brilliant level 1 here from Canyon.
It also refers to what you were saying earlier with Ken. You want to try, especially, I think, into the Renex and into the Maokai, fight with them early on,
Yep.
get as many orbs as you can, and rush towards that form. Overall, though, when we look at the rest of the map, and I think the reason why Canyon couldn't really continue to keep going is that, as I think expected, both of his solo lanes did get pushed out.
Yeah, absolutely. Doran was even cheating down, you know, threatening that he could move down, so you wouldn't want to stay around and actually fight to the death or anything. But as we can see, Canyon very far ahead in the farm here already. Going to be a very quick level 4. And he is going to be looking for Red Kane, almost guaranteed. He's playing Conqueror, so he is going to be trying to scrap with that Maokai at every single opportunity. He's going to be trying to meet him.
Top side's pretty dangerous here.
Doran is
Oh, that's not good,
They won't let
Doran.
him push it in. Doran
This
is
is
very
dangerous.
low.
The slow is going to come through. There's the body slam flash. Noguri getting
Wow.
caught.
What?
He just
He lived.
locks it up and
He
they're
lived.
punished. Oh,
No, Nuguri should have
The
just
flash
killed him.
there, he is punished for greeting it out. That was an easy flash W for a kill there. He thought he could get him on the flash with his W. Didn't quite have the range. Does miss out on what should have been a guaranteed first blood, I feel.
But remember, everyone, now that we've got a slight lull in the action, make sure to grab the exclusive Very NASA's Much Wow emote from Prime Gaming by connecting your League of Legends account with your Prime account. I think we're lucky that we managed to get that in there, to be perfectly honest, because this game seems to have everything to talk about all the time.
What it also means is if Canyon not using his flash, although he's gonna still be very far, it's still get the wolf camp. At the very least, thanks to the prio that he has in mid and bot side, Peanut is able to stay remotely relevant. Picks up the blue buff, and it kind of alleviates the damage that Canyon
That was
is
a
able
bad
to do,
first
especially
gank.
because if he does get the kill,
It was good
and
until they
more
didn't get the
orbs,
kill.
It's a huge disaster for Peanut.
Absolutely. But the problem is he has the respawn timers, right?
Yeah,
he's on back here towards the Gromp. He already took away the wolves, and now Peanut knows. The problem was he did the blue buff, but he was just waiting around because they didn't have information on where Canyon was. So if Canyon had actually based or ran straight down towards bot, Peanut could theoretically die here, right? So that is why he was waiting so long to go in. And Canyon is just being as efficient as possible. He's gotten multiple Wolves clears. He's on his second Raptors clear here already. And he's really going to be accelerating the farm and going to have an incredible early base. You know, he's got a good 1,200 gold in pocket. It is too bad he missed out on that first blood, but there's still opportunities to return up towards that top lane, especially once Noguri hits level 6. There's going to be such good gank assist.
Cool, and I'm looking at both teams here because in terms of setup around objectives, a single misstep, Canyon hasn't backchat. He's going back up top again.
All right, well, if in doubt, just do it again, guys.
Oh.
As no flash on this one. There's the Blade's reach, and Canyon realizes he can't turn.
Okay, Doran have no TP
He
now.
turn dive, but again, this is okay. He's just going there to farm towards his form. This may look like a silly
Doran
gank,
have no
but you
TP.
don't need to always kill them. This one, I would say, was an effective gank. The last one was a bit of an oopsie. This one, I'm going to give him as they just don't have the damage to actually finish him off. But every time you can have an efficient gank like this, you see he goes top, and then it's right back to his Krugs. And as long as Noguri stays safe here, you are just laughing.
You also see Peanut covering, right? Because I wouldn't be surprised if Doran is calling, hey, guys, I don't have the vision. Maybe he's coming over again.
Oh.
Not going to be the case. Peanut is going to get spotted. Canyon is
Oh.
on the back, and there's Jovi.
There's the flash twist in advance. He throws out the barrel to get rid of the rise, but there are so many problems. The body slam is pretty good,
Goddamn.
but still, it's going to be first blood,
Goddamn.
and it's delivered to Chovy.
Giving it to Chovy.
And Jovi comes up big. We have not seen this rise. It's been a pick that, I think justifiably so, has fallen down the ladder. Nerfed
Yeah.
time after time for its immense impact. But Chovy, a guy literally known for just being in lane, finds the first blood.
I mean, it's a great roam, alleviating the pressure there onto Doran. Getting this kill onto Chovy is going to mean great things for GenG here early on. And then you can see they've already taken a good 900 gold lead here off of that one kill.
Yeah, Noguri also didn't have his
Oh,
teleport
DK,
available. so
that
it means
mistake
that
early
Doran is
game
much
is
further ahead,
coming to
being
bite
able
their
deny
ass.
Waves. Farm behind the turret gets a really nice back here as Damwon looking to head towards that top side. Top crab is probably all they're going to be able to claim for now, as Rift Herald is going to be spawning in a minute. But let's check out this one more time as Chovy walking up the river. Kind of perfect timing here.
I mean, it's just a great roam, right? Flash twisted advance, that guarantees there's no way out. They know Noguri has no flash, so as long as they stay on top of him, there's no way out with the body slam. So that's really all Peanut's job is after that initial twisted advance. Just walk along with this Gragas, make sure he doesn't have a free way out.
And the one counterplay that Showmaker was able to find was just getting a plate. Has the Demolish proc, is able to get that, but that's never really going to amount to much, because if GenG is able to again snowball with a composition with as much CC and upfront damage, I think it becomes very, very tough. Do want to say that because we haven't really talked that much about scaling yet. I think it's actually very interesting because obviously Yuumi is incredibly strong as Canyon goes in.
Oh, that's
Chovy
not.
is right here though. Blade's reach comes through as Canyon put in the rune prison for a moment.
Oh my god, he actually stole that.
He'll turn up. Doran's coming down, but they'll be
Nice.
able to get the first kill onto Peanut.
Healing.
Still fighting this out as Canyon's gonna have to flash. Doran comes on through. Noguri finds Chovy in the back line. Doran is just fighting.
Showmaker might die here.
Oh, multiple fronts,
Noguri.
and Doran's the one that's gonna win this one. Chovy eventually having to flash as he's respecting Noguri, who just got his back.
And look at Canyon, just max efficiency right to the Herald, but this might be spotted. Noguri has to kind of play a little bit of distraction here. I don't know if they can finish this. He does have a smite available, but he's going to have to smite for health. This is going to be a bit awkward. Peanuts coming out of base.
Still has his ultimate though, uses the healing, goes into the wall.
Yeah,
No, that's not good.
Come on over here, just trying to keep him busy for the moment. Body slam.
Oh, he actually got it.
Locks it down.
He actually got it. He actually got it. All tees up.
He's going to deny it as now Doran
Holy shit.
out of there. Noguri at 100 health, and Peanut will secure the kill just barely.
Oh my
They're
God.
able to lock him down. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, here it is. It's the final bullet into the back of Docton, but he flashes away and keeps himself alive.
Madness in game one here. Absolute madness. They're scrapping it up across the map, and now Peanut on the invade.
And overall, I'd say for Canyon, that's a successful heist. Go in, get blue buff, and he gets away with
Canyon's
the Red
OP.
Herald. But overall, it's still GenG that gets the better trades.
Yeah, absolutely. GenG, coming up with these kills, getting summoners off bot. They're looking for the dive here now.
Yep, tidal wave coming on through here as Kellen just
that's not
burning
good.
down
That's
Ruler.
not good.
Make it rain comes on through, and now Chovy just wants to come through and grab himself some fish, and he does secure the
Showmaker's
Showmaker's
here.
going to answer. Canyon is of course here
Oh,
as well.
trap.
Just
He's trapped.
stepping through, the Blades reach comes down, and Chovy will be taken out. Damwon Kia answer.
I present to you GenG versus Damwon Kia. These two teams are
It's
so
another
evenly
bloodthirsty
matched
game.
as
It's another
across the map
bloodthirsty
plays
game.
just continuously found by both of them in the end. GenG's ahead, but Damwon is still able to find, I think, a lot of crucial kills to get themselves in it.
Yeah, and the biggest thing to me is I'm so curious how close Canyon is getting towards Transform, because there's been so much scrapping in this game. To me, pre-transform, Canyon's like half a champion, but when
Yeah.
you transform, you're a champion and a half. Right?
yeah.
That power spike can be so massive. If he can find the correct fights, especially against these multiple melee scraps on the top side, it is going to be huge.
Yeah, certainly pretty clear that
There we
Canyon
go.
wants to be heading towards that
Peanuts
top side.
hovering.
There's Gore Drinker completed.
And he transforms.
Oh, he has
he's
it.
already
Oh.
through.
There he is. All right,
There he
Ross
is.
coming
Gore
out, but
Drinker.
Nature's
Oh.
grasp here towards the bottom side
Oh,
of the
that's
map,
not good.
gentlemen, and Doctom is in so much trouble. He gets smashed back
Ouch.
by the brambles, and Peanut helps claim
Ouch.
one for Ruler.
And this is what we talked about in terms of CC. There is so much lockdown on GenG, and Damwon Kia is unable to deal with this. And now, we haven't really talked about bot lane that much, but this Yuumi MF bot lane is absolutely demolishing, because while Damwon is getting wins on the top half of the map, bot lane is bleeding.
Absolutely, it's a massacre down there at this point. You get
my.
those kills, you push them back multiple times here. Doctom earlier had to take a bad base. Chovy comes down.
Right,
Now
well,
they
Canyon
get
had red
gank
form
in
now.
there from Peanut. They're going to be able to take the first
Canyon had
lane.
red
They've
form
taken
now.
multiple plates, and it's plus 30 CS.
It's 5-2.
Massive goal difference, but they are looking for Chovy.
Yep, there's the Frozen Tomb. Chovy's going to get knocked up. The Blades reach as well. Now has that added CC. Goes golden, but that is just going to buy a few seconds.
2-0
and not
Canyon.
delay the inevitable enough.
2-0
Now,
Canyon, can he
they're gonna
carry
be able
this?
To hopefully take down this turret, but no teleport to come through. Can they actually get this off in time? Yes.
Yeah, the tower very tanky here on that last plate, and Doran's just going to pop ulti here to try to clear it out. Canyon, though, really, really strong. I mean, he got about a 10-30 transform and his Gore Drinker completed, so he just wants to fight constantly. His job now is find this Maokai, scrap, and just don't stop. Try to really limit Spina's effectiveness here.
And as much flack as Doran, I think, justifiably so, is hold up.
Yeah, Doran might be in a bit of trouble here, and indeed he is. There's the
Oh.
overall trespass to come out. He does manage to slice his way over.
Oh, that was a nice cancel. That was a very nice cancel.
The Bramble Smash is fantastic as well, as now Chovy comes in, but it's a double knock-up. Kellen turns.
Jesus.
Noguri just securing
Jesus.
it, and now another bubble to come through. A double kill for the Gragas.
The bot lane may not be going well, but Kellen's not bot anymore. Now they're going to try to dive
Keep
knock out.
going!
Yeah, here's the final chapter. The bullet time, the cleanse
Oh,
is gone.
goddamn.
Barely survive, but he's walking the wrong
Doc,
direction,
he's dead.
gentlemen. Some Alcove Gaming may need to come in, and
He's
there's
dead,
no
he's dead.
safety here. There is a turret, so he's definitely going to die. There it is, double up secures it.
But look at mid lane, right? They're just non-stop pushing here, and Canyon again is just invading. He wants to scrap these melee champions the rest of the game.
Because with what has happened on top side, GenG, who are a 1.5k gold behind, ahead, are now behind Kia. Kia with the first turbot and the skirmishes that they found on top side that GenG opted into actually have now swung back the gold lead.
You had a follow-up, I think.
I'm trying, but it's so hard to keep up with this game because everyone is fighting everywhere all of the time, and we can see the lopsidedness with GenG pulling ahead so far in bot side, but then Kia with this Kane pick coming up huge.
Absolutely, and I think Canyon's playing it incredibly smart, right? He just has to maximize efficiency, and honestly, he doesn't really want to fight Ruler or Lehens until it's overwhelming amounts of power. He just wants to be tracking Peanut, scrapping against Peanut and Doran non-stop here with this Conqueror, red form Kane here, early Gore Drinker. He's just got to keep
God, that was
fighting.
nice.
They knew that Doran had popped his ulti mid lane to actually try to clear out that wave, so they're going to immediately go back towards top and look to punish.
And just Doran dying here would have been okay. I think that you can come back
God
from. It's
damn.
unfortunate, but it happens.
God damn.
But instead what happens is they go in as the explosion from the cask. More than enough to set it up. And
That was sexy.
if that doesn't
observing. I love that.
happen, for real, if that doesn't happen, Kia is probably still overall behind in gold.
Absolutely, but I don't think they
Okay,
thought
well,
Kellen would be up there still. Right, like he
for
stayed up
DK,
for so long, the
Yeah.
wave was crashing
Top
bot,
jungle,
so my
top
assumption
jungle mid is kind of
GenG's
winning,
saying, all right,
and bot
Kellen
lane's
will be
losing
heading
hard.
down towards bot to try to
GenG
cover
bot
top
lane's winning
zone,
hard though.
And
So
at worst, we have a 3v3, and Toby's
let's
coming
see who
out
could
base.
carry,
Toby's pretty
who could
strong,
carry
we can
faster.
fight. But when that extra man is there, the CC coming through from the Nami was massive because they're in that tight corridor. They both get caught by the Nami ult. They both get caught by Nami bubble.
And as much as I like the scaling of Yuumi and as much of a blight has been on this tournament, MF to me has had one big problem, that she's unable to deal with very tanky front lines. And if we look across the board for GenG, there is an Everfrost Rise, there is Ruler who went for BT Rush, which is very high on the utility and the sustain, but in terms of damage, might not be enough. You're playing against a fat tank Gragas and a monstrously fed Red King that is what I assume will be building either a Black Cleaver or a Death Stance next. It's going to be so hard to chew through those health bars.
It will, but it looks like there may be another contest here. GenG is moving.
No,
up,
I
but
don't think they're
Dumbo is
contesting this.
more
It's too late.
established
It's
for
too
this. I
late.
think
It's too
GenG
late.
will have to back up, give it up. There is a bit of an X factor in this one, though, and that really is the Realm Warp, right? Because
Yeah.
I do think being able to Realm Warp Doran into that back line makes the fights very, very complicated for Damwon, right? Because if they're trying to send all of their kind of front line forward towards Ruler, and all of a sudden a very angry Crocodile shows up on top of Doc Dum's head, that becomes a difficult fight.
There is also the amount of lockdown that we keep going back to for GenG,
Yeah.
because a single misposition from anyone on Damwon spells big trouble.
Yeah, getting to 5v5s is exactly what GenG are trying to do this game. So far, Canyon has made sure that is very, very difficult, as he's going to be splitting here towards the bottom side.
Level
Damwon
11.
Yeah, he's absolutely... I mean, I feel like Noguri is actually kind of playing Jungle Gragas this game, and it's top lane Kane, as Canyon's being
River
given...
Gragas.
Yeah, River Gragas, and just any side lane with farm Kane, as Canyon is ahead of him. So, yes.
I think that they have a lot of experience playing with Canyon these
Oh,
style
this is
picks.
absolutely normal.
Oh, yeah.
When he's on Graves, I feel like no one on the team is getting farm anymore.
I mean, what are his most famous picks? Like Graves, Nidalee, Karthus, like this fits the MO 100%.
And what I love, and what now that we have a little bit of downtime, want to highlight this Worlds, and this match is one of the best showcases that we've seen thus far, is the
Well,
amount
now
of
it's like mid-game
creativity
and there's like a
created that are
standstill.
available in drafts. There are a
Let's
couple
see.
of picks that are very clearly very far ahead of the curve, but overall, as hold up, might have some more fighting here.
Ruler's by
Tidal waves come
himself.
through. They think they've caught Ruler. He's going to have to flash the bubble.
Okay, well, he can flash.
Himself out of the way now. Canyon towards that bottom side. Does
Jesus.
a lot of damage there to Doran as Noguri
Cannon.
holding on to the cask. As Shirley takes down that outer turret, and Damwon Kia starting to really get the momentum they're looking for. Peanut turns up, wanting to deny this second charge.
Are they gonna
They
get
should
it?
be able to do so.
Oh, they're TPing on it.
Wow, they are committing
Oh
to
my
this
God,
right here.
commitment.
There it is. Not going to get the blades reach, but that's going to get some flashes. Nature's grasp. to
Jesus,
make
they're
sure they
diving
get
it.
the charges. Showmaker will be exhausted immediately. The bubble's fantastic.
God, oh my God, the cannon, oh.
Down that first kill, but Chovy will answer, and he makes it a double. Realm Warp to deliver. Showmaker interrupted. Showmaker sacrifices himself, but gives over the triple.
That was way too far from Damwon. They really tried to hard force that, even TPing on the Herald to keep it alive for the second charge. But GenG are still in the area. GenG can answer, and Chovy picked up a triple there.
This Rise is not looking like the Rise that we've been saying is just out of the meta, not really.
Yeah.
Like, if it's 5 kills, it's probably still going to be fine.
He just got 3 kills.
Yeah.
Rise just got 3 kills.
He's
Jesus.
right now.
That's a problem.
He
He's
got a
been on the
shutdown
map for a long
on
time.
Fat Kane. And, you know, triple in general will get you a lot. And I agree with you, Azale, and this is something that has plagued Damwon for the entire year. They used to be known as a team that like got a lead and pushed it relentlessly, but sometimes they go too far.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to look at who they're actually diving, right? It's a Renekton with all that has a Yumi strap and Peanut on the Maokai, right? If this was Ruler and Chovy under the tower and those are your initial targets, then yeah, you burst them down very, very quickly. But it's two essentially tanks at this point in the game. They can't actually get a quick kill. Yes, they do knock down the Renekton, but so many resources are put into actually knocking them down that Chovy and Ruler are completely unthreatened when they arrive.
That emotion explosion as Chovy picked
God
up
damn, that Kane damage.
He was actually a little bit upset, and I'm not going to translate what he said there, because if you can lip read, you know exactly what was spoken. So, all right, having a look, the damage. I mean, this is, once again, this is a Canyon game. These are the types of games that
going again?
Damwon Kia win.
Round
They're now
2.
looking for it. Yeah, if at first you don't succeed, try again. They've been doing it all game long. As we'd like to remind you that, of course, this is our Mercedes featured matchup between Chovy and Showmaker. Already it's delivering as Doran.
Oh, that was a nice save. That was a nice save.
By the bubble. He keeps himself alive. Has some zoomies there as well, courtesy of Lehens.
But look at this, the bounce back and forth between the two lanes. You know, they go just from bot up towards mid. They already have it pushed here and starting to chip away at that tier 2. And it's a very clear plan here from Damwon. It is fight, fight, fight the whole game long. They want to scrap. They don't want GenG to be able to establish themselves in a 1-4 to get Rise out to the side lane. And they don't want them to have this kind of cushy front-to-back, slow-paced game. They really want to force their resources out non-stop.
Wow, Showmaker messed up that
a
plan.
little bit noopsy there, but he's fine. He got a Z. He's okay. Overall, Damwon also have drafted the perfect draft for this, right? You have extremely mobile and extremely bursty bot lane. You have I'd argue one of the best CC champs in the game in Lissandra, and then the Kane and Greg, as we've already seen the impact of. To me, the big question will be, though, for Damwon, especially after that dive that they didn't find on bot side, is what is actually going to be the amount of Drakes that they're able to pick up? Because if you get into a late game scenario, as Chovy finds a really nice Realm Orb, and you don't have, I think, a Drake lead that forces GenG to just walk into you, to maybe get caught inside, or to opt into a skirmish that they don't really want to go for in a straight up front to back, especially with Ruler, with a Yumi on his back and the front line that he has, can still be a really big problem.
And I am kind of concerned about the fallback, right? You know, if Docdown was having an incredible game here on the Lucian, then you can say, okay, the 4-man squad just keeps fighting, Docdown keeps farming, and he's kind of your...
Who are you rooting for? I don't know.
In this game. Maybe Canyon will prove me wrong and he can
I don't
be
know.
that threat the whole game long, but I do have concerns that when you get to those really later stages,
I think I might be rooting for DK here, but I know Genji's gonna win.
On Canyon, and I just don't know if he's gonna be enough.
Well, speaking of
I think I'm rooting for DK here, but I think Genji's gonna win.
I think
Okay.
it might be the Fimbulwinter instead.
Oh, no.
I'm predicting Genji wins 3-1. Okay, 3-1.
Put it back into my head, and I'm like, okay, thank goodness. Okay, Seraph's, it's fine.
That
Doing
build-
Well,
okay.
so far I'm
I
rooting
hope
for
it's
DK.
dead.
It needs to
I
be
hope
gone.
it's dead, but
I don't...
there are some builds that have happened in the LCK that we sometimes
At
question.
times, yeah, we cling to them.
No, but here we are. It's all right. We're absolutely fine.
Ooh.
Seraph's is...
Well, if you want to scare a Damwon friend, compare the mid lane items here.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem. As Chovy is
that
looking
Rise is super
very
fed.
strong.
Yes. 0, 2, and 4, not exactly the scoreline that Showmaker was looking for here, but he'll still have all of that utility, like you were talking about, Chronicler, in all of the CC that he does have, and it's Canyon. That's the real one here. Is that side step
Doran.
was beautiful.
Oh, it might be engaged here.
Ram, welcome everyone. We are pretty used to this,
We're
but you may
grabbing
not
Cryo
be.
Atlas. It's
Exactly,
okay.
Exactly.
It's allowed.
The Drake is also up, third one of the game. Earth, Wind, and Fire to start us off as well, which I absolutely love. Another knockup to come through, but Doran pretty tanky is okay. Peanut's going to dive forward. They're looking for Nogri, but he's very tanky. Blade Reach once
Get
again
on Ruler
landing
here.
Peanut this time as they get the Nature's Grasp out, and there's the final chapter. They
Whoa,
think they walk down the
no.
Gragas. He's super tanky, but he's
No
still gonna
CC
be
on
taken
Ruler?
down. Now Showmaker has to go into his ultimate.
Oh,
Doran's going to
Jesus.
be taken here, and GenG looking for more. Umbral Trespass to come forward. Peanut relatively.
Oh my god,
low.
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! No! No, so close!
Is taking matters into his own hands. Yes, through, but they just walk away. And it
Oh,
looks
that
like GenG
Yuumi
looking for a
healing.
Baron.
Yeah, they're gonna go straight
That
forward
Yuumi
here.
healing.
Showmaker really mispositioning in that fight, walked too far forward, lost almost all of his health to Ruler's ultimate, and they didn't have that secondary bit of damage, that follow through that Canyon needed to really run over the fight. So it is GenG coming up massive in the mid lane and grabbing a Baron, taking
Wow,
full
that's-
control of this game.
And Ruler also able to channel what I think was almost a full bullet time. Generally, against the Dumbon comp, that should be very hard to do, but they're able to get it, and all that Dumbon is getting as a trade is not even a soul point, it's just a single Infernal Drake. And initially, this fight looks very underwhelming because a lot of tankiness, a lot of health bars. But as you pointed out, Azil, it's when the ultimate from Peanut comes down, and they go in here on top of Nuggery with the ultimate, trouble arises for Dom.
And watch
Ah,
Showmaker just
Canyon
walking
missed
forward
that.
Here. You know, I think just losing track of the EMF ultimate, lost about 90% of his health there. He actually started when the ultimate was being cast. He was out of it. Imagine if he's full health with his flash now. The follow-up there that could be there with Canyon. If Canyon had a flashing Lissandra coming in with that ultimate at this point, they run over the fight. It is Dom1's Baron, and it's that mispositioning, it's that misexecution that is all the difference in this fight.
And you also see Doctom there, if he's not as far behind as he is, you win that fight, right? He has the burst necessary, he gets to take him down, but in these longer team fights, even in spring, when GenG was not the best team in the LCK, this is where they excelled, and they're showing it again here.
Let's see whether they can continue it, because of course, Ruler is definitely one of those quantities that does turn up at around this time of the game. And he was given an early game to do whatever the heck he wanted. Of course, Canyon needing to get towards Red Cane as quickly as he can, as he is actually doing some roaming here behind GenG, looking for the flank. Here's the teleport to come forward. Final chapter, meanwhile, and this ultimate not quite as good, although Canyon does dive in front of it. Noguri now just getting autoed down by Ruler,
Nuguru's
and
gonna
now
die.
he's out of position. Has to flash to get himself out, but it's another kill for Chovy. Showmaker once again extraordinarily low as the turret will be taken down. Bramble Smack is amazing. It's another triple kill for Chovy, and now Kellen is going to be locked down. Realm Walk to confirm it, and
Chovy's
GenG
too
will
fat.
destroy Dom1 and possibly
Chovy's too
their
fat.
That might just be the game, right? Dumbon Kia again try to go for a Hail Mary fight, but the Yuumi is fully online. You call them the best Yuumi, and I've seen Lehans win games far harder than this one.
Well, they're pushing towards it now. Canyon is alive, but he might just be taken down. Goes Golden to try and buy as much time as he possibly can. Lehens gets out of turret range, and the Kane is now dead. There's the ace, once again confirmed for GenG, and they
25 minutes.
Game number 1 in this best-of-5 series. Unless Dom1 can make something happen. Doran slicing, dicing, and that is going to be the end of the Nexus. That is your game 1, and if we have more of that, gentlemen,
Well,
I
also
think we're gonna be
bit
happy with the
disappointing.
series.
What a treat. Game
They
number
lost 2
1
team
was
fight.
the Kane, we got the MF
They lost
Yuumi,
2 team fight and they lost.
Chovy with
Oh my God.
11 kills on Rise here. Such a back and forth, scrappy game.
That bot side force
GenG
play with
really
3
showing
kills
their class,
to
as always,
3 kills
in
to
the
Rise
5v5.
kind of fucked it
When
over.
it comes team fight time, they just seem to never put a foot wrong.
And what to me is the coolest part is that Dom1, you saw how badly they wanted to drag GenG into
Yeah,
the
they have 2
Dom1
tanks and a
shenanigans,
Yuumi.
the fun
Oh,
house
God.
where everything is smoke and mirrors. But
That
GenG, and
bot
this is
side
to their
play
credit,
where
I
they
think that
give
Rise
3
pick,
kills to
even
Rise
though
kind of fucked
it's
it
not a
over.
pick we've seen a lot, was so incredibly instrumental because you know that as we
Oh,
saw, Dom1
sad,
is going to try and
sad.
scrap every.
Sad. Okay, where's game 2? Yeah, but they have a Lucian.
Okay,
They have a
yeah, so
Lucian
that's going
killing
to be-
frontline.
No, that's good. I feel like they still pick it because
this-
GenG will still pick
No,
it.
they're just gonna go Lucian Nami.
Fiora,
But they're
Fiora.
gonna do Lucian Nami into MF Yuumi
Graves.
again that they just got clapped by.
Yeah.
So that's a head scratcher to me. Like, I
Does
feel like
Ruler want to play it again, though, is the question, because there are a lot of things that work.
Are they
with
really
it.
not
You
gonna?
can play a whole,
Yeah.
like, I mean,
They're
Twitch
they're
Yuumi
letting
is
they're
something
letting
they
Yuumi through
decimate
again.
people with.
What about Jin?
Yeah, Jin. Oh no, I got baited so
it took a
hard there.
second for him
Oh.
to register.
I mean, there's lots of.
They're
options.
letting Yuumi
Like,
through again. Oh
especially
God.
That it's not MF
Oh, God.
Yuumi. They were up 30 CS and pressuring them. Yes, there was some, roams and jungle interference. They're also going to be able to get to Sedge 1 so they can go
Oh,
triple
my.
melee top side. do MF plus Yumi bot side, and I think you're set up really, really well. Of course, as you say, you can even go, if you want to play heavily towards the other side, you can go Ezreal Yumi. Like, there's lots of other options, but it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It works so well in game 1.
Yeah, I do want to give some credit to Damon, because I think that, again, playing against GenG, even on blue side, feels very, very rough.
Yeah.
Because banning the Yumi on blue side feels like a wasted ban, which I think it is. But against this team specifically, it just feels like there aren't any good answers. And overall, we will have Showmaker going over to the Azir here.
Yep, Chovy hasn't defected, by the way.
Yeah, there's a little bit
I just got really confused.
Me too,
very, very
for a
strange.
second.
That is once again going to be MF Yumi, so it's the same bottom lane
They
matchup
fucked up the
between
name.
two
The name
teams.
should be Showmaker.
Showmaker this time around, though, is heading towards a champion that does a fair bit more work as far as early game pressure in that.
How did mess up the name? It's the two Chovies on the screen. There we go.
Finally, Showmaker, Dr. and Kellen come back to the right side of the ring.
I was like, wait, have I been looking at the
Hold
wrong side
up.
the whole draft?
Yeah, it got me as well.
But
We're
I mean,
good.
this makes complete sense to me, right? Just go right back towards the MF Yumi. It works so incredibly well. Showmaker is going to be on the Azir. I do think to be running back the Lucianami, and I will say the Aphelios was a tip-off that they wanted to go for it, but maybe they were hoping that GenG was going to ban Yumi, but there's no reason that they
Chovy
wouldn't.
betrayed them.
So to me now, the pivot has to be that Damwon has to get a pick for Canyon where he can affect bot lane, because clearly the 2v2 is going very poorly, I think, for Dr. and Kellen.
There we go.
The Kane ban to come in.
Okay.
Oh, the
I
ban
think it
Kane
makes
already.
complete sense. We don't know yet where this
They
Sejuani
banned
is
Kane
gonna go.
already.
It has mostly been going towards the jungle, combined with a double melee top and mid lane, but I do think that overall there is still some flex potential there, and especially to pick up a mid laner here on R4 into what will be Showmaker's Azir, then you don't give anything away. GenG keeps their flex potential, and overall it's feeling like a tough draft to recover from, I think, from Damwon.
I mean, I feel like you could just go
They
Akali.
ban Ari?
I think you could go Akali. I think,
100%.
Oh,
I
God,
don't know
why
if
they
Chovy
ban Ari?
has a Yone in his bag of tricks, but that is
Don't you worry.
Let's tell
Actually,
you a
that's way
story
better.
about that one.
Why
Pick
ban
it up.
Ari?
That's
Yeah.
a
like,
great suggestion.
That to me is also a really strong answer into Azir and does pair well with the Sejuani.
Camille.
Oh.
So instead, if they're going Camille, so they're going to grab Doran's pick here. Very interesting.
Atlas, what if it's mid Sejuani? This is Chovy we're talking
Oh,
about.
God.
Little AP
No,
pick.
don't.
No, he'll play it
The
full tank.
Scara special from, what, 8 years ago?
Genji draft right now looks
I'm
super
looking
strong.
to see what Damon actually rounds out a composition with, because I agree with you, Azil. In isolation, the bot lane matchup was horrible. I still love
Gragas.
this Gragas pick. I think that Gragas into a map remains good.
Gragas is fine.
Well, actually able to cancel the Hextech ultimatum, so overall I like this round out, but the Canyon pick for me is going to be the big one.
Yeah, this is so interesting. I wonder if he's just going to go towards like a Lee Sin or some sort of just ganking jungler where he can, put pressure
Lee,
on.
yeah.
I'm not really sure, what the thought process is here. He has to go towards an AD jungler. Viego's banned out. Graves is obviously banned out. The Kane has been taken away. You could look to something I was talking about last game, something like a
This is a
Kindred,
good series.
or
We're going to
Olaf,
game
Ekrem
5.
could
Don't
work.
tell me
Olaf
that.
is a bit of a throwback. We
Don't
haven't seen
tell
him
me
move
that. I want to
at
watch
all.
it. I just
Yeah,
want to
this
watch
is
it.
Very heavy dive here now. It's gonna be on the
Wukong
Lucky
jungle.
and the Fat Man in the top lane to really be stopping these MF ults.
Yeah, a lot of knockups available, but this is certainly a blast from the past. Let's see what GenG do to round out their composition as we're looking for Chovy's pick potential. Unless he's
Wukong
playing
jungle.
field mid, but we've seen that do not so well.
Yeah, we don't know yet. Wondering what the final round out is going to be, or there is still so many different directions.
Oh, yo.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
God.
You know what's the beauty of this? It is Lahen's solo AP on the Yumi. And a lot of people might be saying, oh, there's no magic damage.
No, Yumi does a
There's
lot
way
of
too
magic
much
damage.
Well, and especially since the Yumi changes, most players are doing Q-Max.
Yumi does a lot of magic damage.
And I want to highlight, in case that
Oh,
you're not a
God,
follower
yo.
of the LCK, Chovy's Yone is part of one of the most legendary games that he's ever played domestically.
No,
which was a
Yone
game
mid.
Where I don't even
Yone
remember what
mid
the
against
game was,
Showmaker's
but it was
Azir.
like he was 3 samurais on the Rift all at once. And the amount of Chovy chants that were heard that game, and the Chovy yell
Yeah.
was immeasurable, and especially combined with the Sejuani, like this top side from GenG is disgusting.
I mean, I feel like it's a monster gap here in the draft
yeah.
here for
I
GenG.
feel like
It's
Genji's
what
draft
the
is
decimated
a lot
T1
better.
with in the final. This is a whole lot of comfort for GenG across the board, to be perfectly honest.
even going back to yesterday's matches, we saw both Wei and Owner having incredible games with the Sejuani, especially compared or combined with very, very strong lanes. And overall, this Wukong to me really feels like a Hail Mary, whereas the Kayn was a very strong, and I really liked it, counter pick in a specific situation. This Wukong kind of feels like we need something AD. Kindred doesn't feel that good. So like overall, where are you gonna go? Especially with the Graves being banned out every single time, and if this
They're not letting Graves through. Graves too broken.
I mean, to me, it feels like there's not really a lot of ganking options here besides maybe top lane. Like, that's the only place you really have much gank assist whatsoever. But Doran is not disrespecting, and it's not as though he's playing, you know, the Ignite TP Camille. He is playing Flash, and he's going to be able to have the answer as long as he's not hookshotting aggressively. And honestly, you have a winning bot lane and a winning mid lane, so there's no reason for Doran to do anything aggressive. He should just chill and farm up on the top side and wait for the victory screen, basically.
Yeah, or just wait for Peanut to turn up, because that gank
then
combo
take a
is
2v2.
absolutely fantastic. Yes. So we'll see what is going to happen here as Chovy charging up the queue, as Yone's do. Joy heads on forward, and this is an opportunity, like in the very early game, for Showmaker to get some pressure as the double up here. A lot of fighting, GenG and Damwon here. Probably not going to see too much action in the early stages.
Well, Camille late game is frontline.
That's a painful one, and I agree with you, Azale.
Camille late
The way
game
that
is
this
frontline.
bot lane went last time around was, I think, the biggest issue for Damwon, and the reason why they went so ham. Because obviously you want to scrap.
If you look at Zeus, like if you look at Zeus yesterday, Camille's basically frontline and like mid game, starting like
you're gonna
mid
be in
game.
a very similar position this time. I do want to highlight though that Lahens is going for the Guardian Yuumi here, so a lot more defensive power.
Yeah, absolutely. And perhaps the read on the Dom1 side from their bot lane is, hey, it wasn't the matchup, we just misplayed.
We
right?
made a mistake.
And if they feel that they really made a mistake,
If we
maybe
get
they can
to
go
late
back and
game.
really showcase it to us here.
No, we don't need to get to late game, just get to mid game.
Laning up against one another. A little bit of a battle towards the top side, but just some casual biffo between the Metal Legs lady and the back guy. Having a look here towards Chovy, down to about 50%, but might be baiting Showmaker in. Oh, this would be very, very dangerous. I think Showmaker knows the flash out to Assault though, and the Winter's Wrath is going to be able to get that permafrost. Showmaker, first blood, the unbound
Oh, that flash.
to the minion wave.
That flash.
Beautiful there. Chovy hits 3. As soon as he hits 3, Peanut has already arrived at a full topside clear. And with that E available, the Soul Unbound just gets in. And Peanut with that Q flash, interrupting the dash back there from Showmaker, gave it everything they needed.
Really cleanly executed.
that was
really
really
trying to
nice.
go
That was
for a
really nice.
counterplay, but
Chovy.
yeah, Chovy's there.
Yeah, he's going
And
to be able
there's
to
a
get
ping.
first room.
Gonna be able to get out, but not gonna get anything on the punish, because that might have been an angle to at least do a little bit in terms of getting gold back. Still gonna set up here for the blue buff.
Yeah, and I think it's his because we see no smite on Peanut. He has smite, but we'll see if the bot lane is going to roam. You know, they are locked in there. Kellen was threatening the roam up, so Canyon will at least take away the blue buff, but of course, much greater spoils on the side of GenG.
Peanut there knocked up the Azir E, the Azir dash.
Is going to be very
So it was
problematic
really
here,
nice.
and it's
Yeah, I
just
could
a
see it.
beautiful gank from Peanut. Q, flash,
Oh,
interrupts
nice.
the dash. So now, even though the flash is going to be committed here from Showmaker, you just can't create enough space because the stun from the passive proc there is going to stack up immediately.
Even though he dodges the knockup from Chovy, it's still the amount of autos that you can get out with the Yone combined with the Sejuani, which is one of the reasons why we have seen Sejuani do so well as a jungler. There's so many strong melee mid and top laners at the moment in the current meta, and Sejuani enables her them like no other.
Absolutely, and for this Azir versus Yone matchup, so much of it for Azir is about bullying in the early levels before the Yone can really get a foothold in lane. But the fact that you get an almost instant Vamp Scepter now means you're going to be able to shrug off so much of the poke. And every time Soul Unbound is available here for Chovy, he can go forward, he can take this trade, and it starts getting worse and worse and worse for Showmaker on the Azir because you have no sustain as the Azir. You go through your potions, and then every time you're taking one of these trades, he's going to heal back up afterwards with that Vamp Scepter, and you're going to be threatening that all in.
Super one special on the bubble, but the Make It Rain comes through as well.
Oh
The
my.
counter damage is fantastic as the flash comes through from Doctarm. Ruler just standing his ground. Does have to use the heal, but that is it.
And this is the power, as, it does get tagged, but there's no burst available. of Yuumi. This is why this pick is so highly coveted. If you can win all-ins like that, what do you do?
Absolutely. It's incredibly difficult. And to me, that just shows the mastery of this bottom lane that Ruler and Lehens have. They understood that, yes, they are at lower health, but Dokdom has spent all his spells there. There was no more
they
damage
might get
remaining.
they might get caught here. They might get caught here.
Sneaky. Canyon's going to cancel the back, but still being very, very patient. And Dokdom's gone home. Lehens is going to face check. They're going to see whether they can burst him down the bubble. It's just beautiful, and the cat is denied. That is the first kill. Damonki on the board.
And that's pivotal because without that, GenG just have another free card to snowball that bot lane, deny any opportunity from Damonkia, and Wukong, even though he has been nerfed repeatedly, do want to reiterate that if you are an app and your only tool that you have to stay away from is Flash, it will be very, very
patient,
hard
the patient was great. They even baited with Lucian back. Lucian back, so they bait the hell out of it.
Was a top-tier backline dive pick.
I mean, it's a great kill for Canyon, but at the same time, it's not really going to help to equalize this 2v2 very much. You know, Dokdom wasn't there. The kill went onto the Wukong. No summoners were spent on the GenG side, so they're still going to be feeling strong in this 2v2. And Doran, anytime that passive is up on the Camille, you want to take these short, chippy trades. But the sustain on the side...
Doran.
Going for it here towards the top side. Doran wanting to answer back. Precision protocol available, but doesn't want to fight against this Gragas, who's looking very aggressive.
Oh, do note, no help coming here for Doran, and we do see that Canyon is making his way up. Doesn't have the ultimate quite yet, at the very least. Not really going to be able to pick up a plate. But what this does open up, with Doran being stuck underneath his turret, is the opportunity for Canyon to try and find...
Wish your ranked teammate were like this. Whoa. When you're in like Challenger and Grandmaster, they might be.
There is cleanse available for Dokdom.
Now Peanut's doing the same thing. Peanut's doing the same thing.
Patient as well. It's exactly what Canyon was, but no, gonna go in, not gonna find the Arctic Assault as Kellen decides to continue walking back towards his turret. That's gonna save his life. Now Ruler wanting to get that cannon and does manage to do so.
Canyon gonna get a lot more on the top side though. The scuttle spawn stop, he takes away the red buff, he takes away the scuttle here. You can see trying to get some vision, you know, into the enemy jungle there. They want to keep Noguri safe in this matchup to be able to have push, to be able to chip away at Doran. You know, that is one of the lanes that we talked about him being able to attack, so they really want to make sure Noguri is feeling safe to do so.
And overall, even with the early vamp up that Chovy was able to pick up, we do see that in the early levels, Showmaker is able to generate a lot of pressure regardless. And I want to go back to this bot lane, because even with how much attention there has been, in terms of early game...
By the way, my prediction was 3-1.
Like read from Dokdom and Kellen, at least for now.
And apparently I'm already wrong. Could it go into
game 5? We didn't see everything that happened in the early laning phase. I know that as early as level 3-4, they were already getting heavily shoved in by the Yuumi and the MF, never really able to recuperate at any point. And at the very least, this time around, you're able to mitigate. Is it enough against the Yuumi? I'm going to say not really, but at the very least, we do see that there is a little bit more pressure here on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it is looking a lot better for them. It is a gold advantage here for Damwon. You know, they're up 8 CS in the bot lane, not massive, but at the very least, you know, they're not down 20-30 as they had ended up in that last game. And we do know the power of the MF double up, right? And sometimes all it takes in these lanes for a lane to go bad is you get that pass-through Q on a minion, you get the kill, you get that bonus damage from that Q, and you lose a couple hundred health, and all of a sudden you can't threaten it all in. And things can become very, very difficult.
Yeah, then you get stuck in a bad back cycle, and then you're going to be behind on tempo, and it kind of snowballs from that, especially against Ruler and Lehens, that throughout the entirety of summer have been the most punishing bot lane that we've had within the LCK by a very large margin.
Well, right now, it's going to be a 6 CS advantage for Dokdom. Should extend a little bit as Ruler and Lehens coming back from a back. Noguri tanking up turret shot here, feeling very happy on the Gragas, and honestly, if it's a top lane island, that is the happiest Noguri you're going to get. Because he just would prefer it to remain a 1v1, as he's always extended as far as he can go.
And I just love how much he's harassing him on these range minions, trying to just chip away at him, trying to deny as many CS as he can. You know, at the end of the day, the sustain that is on the Camille is much lower than that of the Gragas. You want to constantly take these trades. But we can see both junglers hovering down here around this bottom side.
Rift Herald at the ready for Canyon, so can put a few plates into Dokdom if he would like to.
Okay, Peanut just went back.
Shadowing over to the side. Canyon thinking about whether he wants to go for a dive or whether they just want to grab the plates
and secure this one. Prowling projectile comes through. Vision not available here as Ruler.
Oh my.
Slightly aggressive, but does manage to land that double up. That is a lot onto Dr.
And I wonder whether the read from Domon is...
We're getting another
He's spending
patient
so
gank.
much time in this bot lane here that they expected Peanut to be here immediately. Peanut now has gone through a back, now making his way back over and is ready here to defend the turret.
Yep, Rift Herald to come down. Peanut's going to turn up. There is the Glacial Prison. Kellen getting taken down very, very low, but does have the heal and is able to keep himself alive. There is the charge from Shelly
bad,
as
not bad.
GenG just back themselves
They get
away.
the-
They
they
do
get a
manage to
two
get the
plates.
cleanse and the heal.
And in the end,
get the
much
2
ado about
plates.
nothing. Neither of these teams want to take the risk, and I think from Domon just getting the charge in is quite nice. Able to get even though it's a shared gold, give over gold towards that bot side of the map, as unsurprisingly, Chovy with the kill, currently leading in terms of gold.
You don't need to wish your ranked teammates like this. You only need to wish your ranked teammate doesn't feed.
Yeah, Chovy's going to get thrown back as
Oh, they flashed.
by Chovy there. He's going to get the knock-up as well. Permafrost, he's going to come through, but Canyon flashes out of the way. Now Peanut wanting to get the flash with the Winter's Wrath, but Canyon's not going to be going down here. And again, another scuffle, but no kills as Doran wants to change this
Oh
one.
my
Noguri
God.
was not the
Oh
target he
my
was
God.
looking for, but he's going to accept it, at least for now, and Chovy gets his second.
Chovy's cancel there on that CC chain. Beautifully done. Noguri tries to use the defensive ultimate from the Gragas. Very strong against the Camille, but he doesn't get the opportunity.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
absolutely. Just locked
Goddamn.
down, and then even when he gets the ulti out there, Chovy just uses the Soul Unbound to immune it on the snapback.
Yeah.
Really, really well played here. GenG coming out on top in that skirmish and taking plates back here in that mid lane.
Oh, gonna cancel Canyon's back here, as that is the decoy version.
Noguri's here. Does have flash, but no cask.
Denies at least that plate. So Darmonkia back on the map and still in the lead, as they do have some CS advantages across the board.
And we again see this instinct from Domon, I think very justifiably so, to try and look for plays, try and look, find anything aggressive as Lahans.
Yeah, Tidal
I
Wave
just
comes through.
missed.
There's the final chapter as well. The culling is going to come in. Oh, our buttons are just being pressed here on the bottom side as Peanut will turn up. Does he have one available? He absolutely
knocked it.
does.
Oh,
and there it is. It's
oh.
going to go wide as now Kellen is forced.
Oh my,
down.
Kellen's dead.
One-time Ruler. He still had his ulti,
Okay.
but now Canyon's going to turn up. Warrior Trickster to get him forward,
Flashed.
gets the flash out of the MF. That is important, but GenG get another kill.
Yeah, they get another kill there. It is all 4 of the bot lane sums used from GenG, but they take down Kellen. Had a great sidestep on the ulti there, but just couldn't create enough space, and they are threatening forward here, wanting to see if they can push Ruler off this farm, but aren't going to be able to do it.
And we again see GenG, so many of these baits. They know Domon want to go in, they know Domon want to look for plays, because in the later stage of the game, in this one, unless you immediately blow up Ruler, like between the Yone, the Camille, the Yumi, it is so
Yone
incredibly
TPing
hard
down.
to find any opening. But GenG, read the play.
So they're still not
respond
getting first
carefully,
tower,
and
goddamn.
overall, Domon is just unable to crucially snowball the lead that they have right now.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be so difficult to
that's
actually
not-
deal with
okay,
Chovy
sorry.
later on in the game. When you have a Yumi strapped on and he goes into the backline, that is going to be so frightening. There are some X factors that we can talk about, but a great sidestep here from Lahens, uses the heal, sidesteps to the side of that, and then Doctom is able to get a good culling down onto Ruler to chunk him down, and that's really what kicks off the fight.
But then the follow-up is, again, Peanut is early to the play. Even though he doesn't hit his ultimate, doesn't end up mattering, forces sums, and Ruler follows up. And then crucially,
Goddamn.
Canyon doesn't actually have his ultimate here. If he does have it available, possibly they can burst down Ruler, maybe get a knock up on Peanut.
No, even
and
if
snowball
Canyon
from
have
there,
ultimate,
but
they couldn't,
isn't the
because he could
case.
just
And
should just
I'm
flash
glad that
out.
you highlighted the Yone again.
The ulti
Chovy
wouldn't
doesn't
have
even an
reached.
item yet. And it's only going to be downhill from here. The moment that a 2-item spike is hit, I think for Domon, I don't see how you're going to be able to actually get big wins unless GenG hugely overstep.
Well, Canyon going to avoid the Arctic Assault there as, like ships in the night, the junglers pass each other.
I will say some of the X factors, the fact that it is going to be Moonstone very likely here on Lahens, so there's going to be almost no magic damage here. So an armor stacking Gragas can be somewhat problematic.
True.
That can be pretty strong. You do have the ability to disengage and have a fairly good lockdown. Azir as well, really does have some strong scaling. I agree, I favor the GenG draft, as it gets later in the game, because I think it's going to be tricky to deal with. But that being said, I do think Domon have some options and have some playmaking of their own.
There is still so much engage power, and as we pointed out, the backline dive that's available for Domon as well is still very strong. And to me, one of those X factors
You're
is
giving
the
a second
Showmaker
drag
on the
too.
Azir. Gone for the crown build, so very strong into the relatively short range, barring the bot side, as long as he can stay away from Ruler and Lahens, should get a lot of value out of that. But is going to mean that the damage from Damwon Kia in these fights might not be enough, because I want to highlight again, as you pointed out, it's Moonstone. It's an early Mountain Drake as well for GenG, and thus far, one of the recurring themes in this game, or in this series rather, to me, has been Damwon tries to kill GenG and barely doesn't, and then they lose the fight, and then they lose the objective.
I think if you are a Damwon fan, you're hoping that the difference, between last game and this game is the fact that Dokdom is in a much better spot, right?
Absolutely.
He was very behind at this point in the game last time around. Doran here in a bit of a...
Might have a bit of a fight as Showmaker holds onto the ultimate.
Doran might be dead here.
Comes in as now Peanut getting taken down extraordinarily.
Jeez.
Doran, he's just going to get taken
Holy
off
shit.
the board. Peanut kept alive by the kitty cat, but it does mean that Damwon Kia are able to lock down Show.
Doran went in
Really
too deep.
nicely done here from Damwon. Canyon, at first I was wondering, is he
teammate's
being a
not
little bit
here.
too greedy going on to Peanut there instead of just securing the kill on Doran? But it turns out they have the exact right read. They kill off Doran, and they push out Peanut, forcing his flash as well, plus they get the Rift Herald. So an opportunity for a pretty big play here. Nuguri will have to play this safe, though.
And I think a big problem there was that Doran showed a little bit too early, maybe not quite in line with the rest of his team, because I think they were in a position to contest, but with Doran getting picked up and Peanut basically being forced to go in aggressively, not quite the circumstances that they were looking for. And now Damwon Kia get
Not
the
bad, not
mid lane
bad. Two
turret
charges.
and get a second charge as
charges.
well, setting them up for a much better mid game, I think, and a lot more controlled than was the case last time around.
Yeah, we can just see it one more time. Canyon and Peanut scrapping it up. Doran gets spotted here, as he comes out onto Nuguri, looking for that fight, and Nuguri's like, sure, let's take it. Showmaker is a lot closer, and all of a sudden it's just full-on retreat here for GenG, and as I said, Canyon is just waiting on a Peanut, pushing him out, and the ulti is there. In comes Dokdom and Kellen. They have first move from mid lane. There's just not really much of an opportunity for GenG to contest.
Yep, not a lot of options. Fantastic work there from Damwon Kia to allow themselves to have even more momentum on this
DK
match.
is actually
Moving
winning
it
by
towards that
almost
2,000
3K gold.
lead that during this World Championship has been a pretty important break.
2 to 3, they're winning by
Pretty
3K gold.
large win rate for that kind of a deficit or advantage.
And it has been, I believe, 95%, or at least going into yesterday, it was a 95% win rate
yeah.
if you were ahead at 2,000 gold at any point in the game through groups and play-ins, which was pretty astronomical.
Yep, T1 Game 2 may have changed that stat just a little bit. However, still going to be very, very high. So, Damwon Kia, not out of the woods just yet, but certainly doing much better this time. As I say that, Showmaker can have his crown broken.
And not care.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Still under the
is.
turret and everything.
He's happy. The crown is an item that I think, even though it's easy for both Ruler and Lahens to proc, in terms of side lane, I think helps out Showmaker so much, playing into something like the Yone with the trading pattern that he has. And overall, this is where I think it's the scariest for GenG, is maybe they get into Dokdom.
Dokdom just relentlessly escapes. It's absolutely fine.
Peanut just missed out
Peanut
ulti.
still had a pretty good angle there.
Yeah, it does.
Was he trying to
That's the Gale
engage
Force.
when
So
none
gonna
of
be
his
happy
teammates
about
here?
that, gets the Gale Force down. And Showmaker, anytime he has that crown up, really can absorb the engage from Chovy.
Yeah.
But the issue is, of course, it's a 40-second cooldown, and it's a very low cooldown, at this point in the game. On Chovy Soul Unbound, it's only 13 seconds, so he can go in constantly. You poke that off once, and then you basically have to play safe for a full wave before you can really step up again.
Once again, Canyon getting a little bit excited. Showmaker clearing out the wave where he can. Reset is going to be picked up here, though, so probably not going to have too much action.
And overall, we see Damwon doing the same thing they did in the first game, which is move around as a death squad. Look for people mispositioning, look for someone who maybe isn't in the right place at the right time. Try
DK's
and
first
catch
tower is still not
GenG
down
in
yet.
the rotation towards the lane. Chovy says, "That's
GenG
fine, I
lost-
don't care. I'm
GenG
not gonna
lost
rotate
3
to
towers.
teleport towards
DK
top
have
side,
all
taking a
towers up.
juicy wave, and it does
Although
want to
two
go
of
for
them's
the
almost
turret here.
dead.
We do see Damwon
Two of
move
them's
towards
almost dead.
top side, but I don't think Chovy is really in any danger. And with the Drake coming up in 45 seconds,
Yeah, it's
Damwon's
gone,
got to
it's
start
gone.
stacking those, because it's an LCK game. So we get, after what was a Infernal Rift in the previous game, finally Atlas, your favorite dragon.
The revenge of the Cloud Soul, hoping that we've got 2 picked up by GenG and then 3 picked
Thank
up
you.
by Damwon Kia, so I can maximize the amount of clouds. Hextech, way too much of that so far this world. It's got a lot of catching up to do. This is a great start.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it feels like for Damwon, it's not really the best soul in this one. You're
How
gonna get
dare
some. You're gonna get some value. I apologize. We'll work.
You
through this later.
were the one that was
Mango
on my
steam.
side of sale.
I mean,
Mango
boost
steam,
speed is
okay.
highly valuable, but a lot of times
It's
when you're
called
looking for
the
that
queen
extra
of
power,
all fruit.
It is gonna be really good on
100%
Wukong, right?
Don't try
but
to save it as
when I
they'll-
see
Have a
champions like
spoon.
Renekton, when I see
I don't have
champions
a
like
spoon.
Olaf, when I see champions like that, that's when you're actually pretty darn excited to think about getting that Cloud Soul. But move speed always valuable. It's
Tastes
just
great.
not going to be one that I think GenG's that concerned about. So if GenG has the read that we win 5v5, later on, if we have to wait for 2 or 3
it's not gonna
items,
change.
they're just going to be chilling, waiting it out.
And I agree.
I'll
I'm sorry, Atlas. I try to.
It's okay.
No, I agree. The only one that I think have really or relatively high value would be Doctom and Canyon, but compare that to the raw attack power that you get from, I think, the Infernal Rift in particular. We saw didn't even get close.
It's
to
another
getting a couple of
standstill
times.
mid.
Or even Mountain Soul, right?
DK's
if
pushing
if you
mid.
get something like a Mountain Soul against
Into full AD.
Yone,
Oh, yeah.
as well as this Camille, they're just pushing very heavily. They really want to force a response because GenG's been playing heavily towards sides. We can see Doran, again, up in that top lane, just pushing out top lane, looking for that tier 2. So you need to now move towards Dragon or get something done here to really respond and force a response from your opponents.
Well, now it's coming through. As you can see, Damonkia slink off into the fog of war, looking to clear out some vision here
Look
where
at
they
Chovy.
can. But the Camille is absolutely fine. Chovy on the bottom side of the map could go for a dragon if he would like to, but instead there is a juicy turret. He wants the money. He'll pick that one up.
And
Damonkia once again on the push.
Yeah, it's just starting to feel like Dom
Oh,
don't really
Cannon.
have an answer, right? And they're not actually being able to effectively respond to these side lanes. They don't have winning side lanes. They're going for
Oh.
Yeah, Blans gets caught out. All of those side lane issues do kind of go away. So
Are they gonna
Dom is
lose
now just
Baron?
gonna start off this Baron immediately from over the wall.
I think they lose-
Showmaker
they
gonna
lose
be
Baron
able
here.
To do that. Doran, can he
They lose Baron here.
allow Peanut to have the space to get in? As Showmaker off towards the side, Nogari over the wall. He needs to get Peanut out.
Push
of
them out.
This could
No,
just be the 50-50.
no, that thing
There's
was
a
up.
phenomenal bubble. He gets
50-50.
in.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Gonna escape, but the
Showmaker, what was that?
GenG secure Baron.
And it's an absolute disaster for Damonkia after a really big pickup on the Yumi.
That was bad.
Chovy doesn't FTP.
And they get Dragon too.
But Chovy doesn't FTP, so they rush towards Baron.
Oof.
And if they get that, you're in a great position, but instead,
Showmaker
they
missed that
don't
shuffle.
Get Baron, they don't get Drake.
Showmaker missed that Sharina
What
shuffle.
do you do?
It's the backbreaker there from GenG. It started to feel like Tomo just didn't have an answer to the side lanes. There was these heavily pushing side lanes from the Yone and the Camille just dominating that shove. And it felt like Domwater just grouped up looking for a 5v5 that was never going to happen. So they get one pick and they say, all right, we've got the one pick. It's time
let's
to go
see.
towards Baron. And while Domwan decides to try to look and turn and fight, this is actually a brilliant ulti from Ruler that forces the 50-50. Ruler comes in,
Showmaker
disrupts
fucked
the
up that
ulti,
Shurima shuffle.
and now it doesn't matter that you're not hitting the Baron. The MF ulti is enough. 939 there. I think that was an auto plus the smite coming through is enough to secure it, and that's just a beautiful play between Peanut and Ruler.
Because you can see
Alright,
that
Peanut,
the
Peanut,
entirety
good
of Domo
steal, good
notices as
steal.
well and drop aggro.
Look at that. Look at the smile on his face.
Happy Peanut, right? Oh, yeah.
Look at the smile on his face.
Sorry, guys.
Thank you for
From the
saving
death
me.
chamber. Perfect. And Score as well. Score has certainly had a few times in that Baron pit that we prefer not to mention, as there's a shutdown onto Canyon. Chovy picks that one up. That's his third of the game. And that is GenG now with a gold lead.
It is all going wrong, and when you look at the items, it even gets worse.
Final chapter is invested in as well here, as that's a phenomenal bubble, but not going to be followed up upon. As Damonkia now backing away. Ruler, a lot of damage to this turret now as he has those two items put together. Peanut, hard to assault, but Nuggery with a very well-placed blast cone. Well, not well-placed, but well-used. And will be able to get himself out. This turret, not long for the world though, and GenG just starting to stack up this Red Bull Baron power play. Almost 3k now. Hextech ultimatum towards the bottom side. Cask is going to be used to try and get him out of there, as now Doran still underneath this turret. Chovy does lock down the killers. Now Doran's just going to walk it out. Hookshot going to be enough. And Doctom, he cannot overextend. The rest of the cavalry has arrived. Flash forward for Canyon, but the Cyclone
Ruler
is
just flash
locked down
cannons.
by a phenomenal knockup comes in. And
It's
Ruler's
over.
going to lock down the kill. The turret
It's
not
over.
long for the world. As the MF does so much damage, Peanut nails the ult onto Kellen. It does not stop, gentlemen. It's a double kill.
Ban
for Ruler.
freaking
That might just be
Yumi.
game
Fucking
again.
ban
Damonkia
Yumi.
conga line in, and
GenG says, thank you very much. We have Yumi, we have Bloodthirster, Shield Bow, we have all the sustain that we could possibly be looking for.
They couldn't end. Okay.
At least Damwon
couldn't
Kia
end.
hold on to their base, but overall, it's just a disaster for them.
I mean, GenG's team play has just been
That Baron steal.
incredible.
Yeah, that Baron
The
steal
way they
fucked it
have
over.
peeled apart Damwon in this
That
game.
Baron
Despite the
steal
better
fucked it
early
over.
Game, from the Damwon bot lane, despite a lot of things going well for them in the early stages, Chovy and Doran have just been such massive threats in the side lane. They make this one look easy. This is not even a particularly well-coordinated dive here, let's be honest. And Noguri is very, very tanky, but there's nowhere for him to go. And the response is just slightly too slow from Doctom.
And then next up, Canyon tries to maybe get Ruler, but with the flash
Ruler
available,
flashed that,
the
yeah. Ruler
flash
flashed that thing
exhaust
really
comes
nice.
down. Canyon just gets taken down as well. And if Showmaker's there to get Ruler after the flash, then maybe. But I also want to highlight, Showmaker in this game has gone for a very split push slash sideline oriented build, has gone for the Nashor's Tooth, which in a 1v1 feels great, but in these type of team fight scenarios, gonna get a lot less value out of that. And here we see GenG taking over complete control of the game. If that Baron had gone the other way, we might be looking at a completely different game.
And I mean, I think Showmaker here, with Conqueror, with the Nashers, is hoping he can really punch through those frontliners, but it's so tough with all the threat on him in this
So little
5v5.
time.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really have the time to get enough autos out because there's so many members diving into that backline. There's the MF ulti threat as well, and GenG just feel like they are unleashed on the map. There is nowhere safe to go for Damwon now. They just have to huddle up in their base and hope that they can find some sort of an opening for a great engage.
Yeah, exactly right. You had a look at the gold lead there, very reminiscent of the last game's gold grab, right? Like, there was that time for Damwon Kia, but the ruler ending that we talk about in Korea is definitely something that happens around the 25-minute mark in their more recent games. It used to be later than that. Now it is coming up much earlier. 23 seconds on this Cloud Drake, as I think GenG might be able to just lock down the soul point and then push this one forward. And yeah, these numbers, like, this is exactly the two players on this GenG roster that you never want getting money.
Absolutely, and Yone is a very big spike at 2, but this is not a champion that falls off later on in the game.
no.
This champion scales to infinity, so it is so concerning how strong Chovy is in this game, and you can see Doran already threatening that flank, was spotted by Showmaker, so maybe there's some sort of an opportunity to look for a pick play, but I think Damwon don't have any confidence in walking towards the Dragons. They're just going to try to get mid lane prio, maybe get some vision out around Baron, and hope they can maybe catch GenG moving up to try to check into them.
Yeah, and Peanut, he can face check. He's so extraordinarily tanky, so Canyon not going to be able to start anything. But Damwon Kia do have them by the short hairs a little as they push up. They should be able to take this inhibitor turret.
I like it. Bounty
They set up this Sun Disc. Exactly right. Bounty Gold is going to come through. Teleport to come forward as Peanut over to the side. He can Arctic Assault, but he's going to do that more defensively here as Damwon Kia looking for an inhibitor. Sort of turning the play on GenG here for a moment.
And what a wonderful move here by Damwon Kia. Get themselves an inhibitor effectively.
That's
for
just
free.
Johnny had the
Still need
balls
to
of
actually get the
steel.
exit, but it looks like they will be
Yeah,
able to
Peanut
get
with the
there.
balls of steel.
Well, I mean, even
They're going to
though-
bait. They're going to bait.
Oh my god. Are they, yeah, there's a blue trinket available for Ruler,
They're
though.
baiting it.
GenG just sort of caught off tempo here a little bit. Damwon Kia do try to attack the Sejuani though, and that is definitely the target that can survive that. Peanut is going to face check once again as Canyon not wanting to ulti or anything like that. Still not the target that they want to go into. And I think Peanut was just sort of auto-attacking while he was walking away, and Canyon took more damage than the Sejuani. As yes, there's a large minion wave now breaking the bottom side of their base. Side lanes have been given up on here by Damwon Kia. They did get an inhibitor though.
I mean, I think it's 100% the correct choice, right? People are going to make fun of you for not playing sides, but they cannot match sides here at all. They've got to find a 5v5. They're going to get outscaled. Got to look for it now.
Yeah, well, there's the Glacial Prison. It's going to slow them up as Unbound Soul pulls Chovy back. A lot of buttons have been pressed on both sides, but GenG's going to be happy about this.
Angle for
And here you see
engage
the core
here.
issue that Damwon is running into is that Peanut, especially with a Yumi on top of his back, is immovable.
Right. Oh, that was nice flash. That was nice flash.
Doran may have overextended here as Canyon's clone. He's going to get smacked down. Great stopwatch to be used, but it's not enough here for
my
the
god.
Camille. Doran goes down, and now Chovy trying to free hit. He gets the ultimate, but he pulls himself back out again once again with
He
the
dodged just a
Stormbound.
Rima shuffle
Once
with his
again,
with
Doctom's
his
going to
Z.
get engaged on, but the answer is going to be there
Taken down very low, and Ruler is at full health, ladies and gentlemen. This is a huge problem for Damwon Kyo, now moving back. They managed to get the pick off onto the Camille, but it's not quite enough, and Chovy, he's splitting once again.
Chovy's healing up. He can look for a threat in here. He should have the solo.
They're A-ramming. They have to, because they lose side lane.
Yep, he's now...
Oh, that was nice.
Out of the way, all right, Canyon.
Cannon, Cannon did nice.
It's the Yuumi that locks him down of all people. Showmaker standing his
Oh,
ground, moving
oh my, oh
forward.
my, oh, oh, Showmaker's at the back.
How the heck does he
Oh,
do
jeez.
it? Turn it around. Showmaker
Oh, good,
turns
nice,
around
nice.
the fight, diving in, finishes off Ruler. When it looked like GenG had it all wrapped up.
Oh, no, that was good. That was good. That was
Fights,
good.
that's where the sustain comes in. That's where the Yuumi is most powerful. That's where you see Chovy be able to sustain off of a single wave. But they make one misstep and
Why your
at the
chat
very
takes
least
like
keep
a year
themselves
to
in the game.
appear?
Overall game state, I think, still
Just so
very
you can
rough
see
for them,
it.
but they
I could see a
But
chat.
they keep themselves alive here. Absolutely insane.
I could see your chat
massive, and
before
oh my
before
God.
they
All right, well,
appear on it.
now
Yeah,
we're going
YouTube
to
chat's a
look
little
for Nuguri,
delayed.
Who is now in the pen. Doesn't necessarily want to be there.
YouTube
Chovy
chat is a
exits.
little bit delayed, yes.
And now Tidal Wave going to be used. Blast Cone was available, so Kellen looks a little bit silly, but if he had have tried to walk his way out instead of using that, it would have been a good move.
And we can see, you know, Nuguri is definitely a tanky boy, and Doran just a little bit disjointed. I mean, look at Chovy on the side. He's prepping his Q on the Wolves. There have been a few engages here from GenG that did look a little bit kind of not really coordinated.
That
And
Doctor
this
Flash
one, they
was
get punished
great.
Massively. Chovy is still not there. Even in the 4v5, it's still close as Chovy finds a massive ult turnaround.
And at this point, it looks like a disaster for Damwon Kia, right? Because they go in immediately, really nicely done, exhaust on Duckdom so he doesn't burst down Ruler. We see that in addition to that, Peanut using his flash to keep the Lucian down. You see these health bars, you see Chovy sustaining, you're like, what can they do?
Yeah.
Like how are they gonna get out here?
But look at this blast.
Canyon-
The timing
Canyon
of the
got
blast
caught
from
blacking
Showmaker was
here.
Beautiful. That's one board
Oh,
back
oh,
to
they're starting
live
another
as it's
engage.
Looking for an engager from Peanut. Nuguri gonna have to back it up.
Yep, not going to be able to find the Glacial Prison there as Peanut has thrown a few of them around, but honestly, it's non-committal CC, doesn't need to worry about it too much. As this inhibitor still dead for another 50 seconds, but that should be coming back up pretty soon for GenG as Ruler taking a lot of damage. Gonna have to be careful.
Oh.
The ulti comes through from Chovy. Bullet time comes in as well. Not as high value as it could have otherwise been as Chovy gets himself out. His soul
Genji
rebound
throwing-
once again. As Damwon Kia
Why
should
they
be
why
able
they
to
why they
deny the
waste
soul
ulti
Yeah,
like
it's
that?
gonna be their Dragon. GenG are not able to find the engage there. It only connects on Canyon. The MF
That was
not
weird.
very
Why they-
effective, and they're trying to
why did
mark the barrier
Chovy
as
just
well,
engage
making
just
sure
now?
that GenG are not rushing it.
They still have bounties, right? They're still getting gold. Damwon have been making these plays while behind in gold, and overall, we see, even with GenG getting leads in terms of itemization, some of the engages not quite working out, and maybe GenG getting a little bit nervous because once you make a second, third play and they don't work out, the momentum swing can be absolutely huge.
And we have to remember, despite the fact that GenG was so dominant this year, you know, it hasn't always been smooth sailing for these players in their careers. You know, Chovy has yet to actually advance past the quarterfinals. Peanut has been a part of many incredible teams that haven't quite lived up to the expectations. And you know, this is something that can really weigh on your minds in these moments. If something starts to go a little bit wrong, you know, you can really feel the pressure in these situations.
So many of these players only very recently claimed their first domestic title. Chovy, Ruler, he became a world champion, and then for years wasn't able to domestically
5 years.
secure it. I know, it's absolutely
it's
absurd.
insane.
5 years.
And so
Please look at
GenG,
look at
let's see whether they
freaking
can
look at
hold on to
freaking
this one.
Faker.
And to your point, Azale, like it's GenG versus
Faker,
Damwon Kia.
I don't think Faker got
GenG
any.
gapped the entire LCK, but
They
it was
haven't gotten a
always
world
very close
title
against
since
someone. Even when
2017,
Nuguri
no,
wasn't there,
2016.
even in spring, it still went the distance.
Even with Hoya and Bertle, two
Yeah,
players that had a lot more faults. Nuguri, especially once he really got more comfortable within the team, has been very, very successful. Do love this. Goes back to what you were saying earlier, Zil. Draw open the map, avoid these 5v5s, and use your 1v1 and your side laning power.
I mean, they're just not even playing sides at all, right? Like, they've completely given up on side lanes. They're going to group 5. You know, now, as soon as Doran shows bot, they have got to pull back and respond, or they've got to flip Baron, right? So you've got to make your choices. And and they decide they're at least going to push out sides again, and then I think it's just right back, rinse and repeat. They push out the sides, they're going to group 5,
Doran is
they're going to try
16,
to deny
and
vision,
Nuguri's too
look for
tanky.
picks here. That is the game plan. And for GenG, it's about establishing enough vision that you know that they can't actually get a major objective, and then slowing down the game so you can draw them apart and really deny that 5v5 death ball that it feels like Domon is looking for.
Yep, Doran doing a great job here towards the bottom side, making sure that Noguri has to try and answer him in the 1v1. This is the point of the game that GenG are very strong. Like you were talking about, Canyon facing down Peanut once again, who is extraordinarily tanky, finds the point blank ult, but it's just the clone. Canyon gets himself out. He's absolutely fine with the Warrior Trickster availability. Peanut can probably just rinse and repeat on that particular play, buying space for his team.
But overall, Dokkan goes forward. We do see that Domon, even though there is still a slight gold lead for GenG, it's basically become irrelevant. It's all about execution here. So we're getting deeper and deeper into the game, and GenG just doesn't seem to be able, even with the power that they have, to
They're still not
crucially
pushing
crack
silent.
open Domon Kian.
Yeah, crazy thing as well is Dokdom has an item lead over Ruler right now. He's sitting on 4, Ruler wanting to go for that reset so he can retain parity in the items. Will be able to go back and now has that Infinity Edge complete, has the rapid fire done as well. Still with that broken stopwatch, wants that GA for the final one, but now at least is on the same page outside of his clock being broken.
And I think really what GenG is waiting for is all of the GAs to come through. They already have one on Chovy, they're building one on Doran. The last item is going to be a GA as well on Ruler, especially when you get it on your divers. When you have double GA for Doran and Chovy, they can throw themselves into that backline with reckless abandon and really create space for Ruler to run over the fight. And I think that is the spike that these guys are waiting for.
There's also no immediate clock on GenG. Like, they have a very
they're
strong
gonna rush
scaling comp. Oh, they're going to try and force response from Domon here.
All right, well, let's just try and kill the base. I guess they've got so much damage on these structures. Domon here should be able to move their way over, though. And Chovy
should be fine.
trying to
Should
walk
be
out. Was a little bit later than the rest of his team. Made us a little bit anxious, but
Okay.
it's going to be okay.
So what happens? They get a turret.
Hey, they got an inhibitor turret. That's huge, Chronicle. I don't know what
Is
you're
it?
talking about.
Is it Atlas?
Absolutely.
We really went from one of the most chaotic games I've seen to
They slowed it down so
kills
much.
37 minutes.
They slowed it
Just the way
down.
we like
Early game
I'm
was
pretty
really
sure Domon
bloodthirsty.
had the
Mid game
longest
just been like
game in
quiet.
LCK this year.
They did.
I think it was against Fred at Brion,
It
a team
was.
that did not necessarily perform the best. And GenG are GenG. They go without saying when it comes to long
They're
games.
they're baiting
now
the thing.
GenG going to pull up the Baron. It's going to be discovered. The rest of GenG still in the area. Playing the vision here a little bit, but once again, nothing going to happen.
And Doran did finish his GA, so this is that spike that I was talking about where I think GenG now will feel more confident to take some risks on the map. You can see again, it's back to the side lanes. You know, I'm kind of becoming a bit of a broken record, but Dom1 have no options to answer it, so now they're just going to say it, all right, it's time to flip Baron.
Flip it again!
Yeah, you have to force the flip. Chovy just going to try and walk his way over, but realizes that's not going to get him there soon enough. Glacial Prism with the fade away does a fair bit of work here for Peanut.
Oh, Cannon's half
They won't
HP.
commit to it just
Almost
yet.
dead.
This pincer maneuver from GenG could be terrifying. Canyon still trying to keep himself safe, and they have the phalanx built up. Doran spots out Noguri there with his sweeper available, and they've held on to the Baron. Now it's GenG in the pit. Can Showmaker make it happen as Chovy gets in, gets immediately out
Well,
again.
Yumi
Now
ulti's
Peanut
gone.
trying to protect his carries. Doran hook shotting. Noguri goes in. There's the body slam.
Oh, that shuffle was great.
The shutdown to come through as well immediately. Knockdown's gonna
Oh my
die.
god.
And now it's Chovy's turn, but is it going to be enough? Is the question. Doran
Nice.
flashes the double knockup. Oh no, it's not enough. And now Canyon coming through. Doran still has his. And that is going to
Ah, damn.
be, I believe, the ace. Now completed for GenG.
Teleporting towards spots.
Oh my goodness,
They're
no,
gonna try and
Showmaker
end.
is still, Noguri is still alive. And Chovy not going to be able to spot him, so they can't end. Back towards it, gentlemen. It's just a calm
Double GA won that. Yeah,
versus
double
LCK.
GA. Double GA won that.
They may not be able to end, but they can get Soul here. Doran is heading there, so is Chovy. It was the GAs that made the difference in that one. They had the double GA. Chovy's able to come back alive. Noguri knows that he's going to be back up, so he can't actually continue the fight. Showmaker very nearly took over the game there. So close to being able to turn that one around, but Dokdom was
That was a very
on the
nice
other
four
side.
Shurima
Felucia
shuffle.
could
It was
not
great.
survive
It
the
was
fight.
great.
And you also see that even though GenG have multiple extremely strong late game damage threats, for Domon, it's much harder.
Yeah,
Let's have a look at it again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Yumi ultimate was used very, very early, and then Doran again a little bit
Nice.
distracted. A great cue from Peanut actually slowed this down, but then
Nice.
the flash in from Showmaker connects on 4. But look at Chovy on the other side, gets into the back line, deletes the Lucian, and that's really what saved the fight.
Because with Lucian still up, you can win this fight and you can end the game as Dom and Kia as we're fighting yet again.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Cyclone down
Cannon
now
ult
for
is
Canyon.
down.
Not entirely sure how
Cannon's
that all
ulti's
happens.
down.
We're trying to catch up with ourselves here. But I believe no flashes were necessary. As Chovy, Soul's unbound. He's going to be fine. I don't know why I was getting
stress.
excited, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my god, now we're getting to endgame.
Classic Yone
Keep
thing.
it
Yeah,
cool.
I'm sorry.
Now we're getting to endgame.
But Chovy, full build.
Oh my god.
The damage
Oh
that
my
goes
god,
out
look at that
between these
Showmaker
two
Chovy
mid laners,
damage.
Showmaker and Chovy trying to be the X factors here. Showmaker still has room to grow, you know, still has that last slot where he could get towards a death cap, but Chovy is full build.
Yeah, and he's also like 90 CS down is Showmaker. This guy has been playing
I think
on the
that
back foot
Nash's
all
tooth
game, but
on Showmaker is
Azir
not
in the
really
late
that
game,
useful.
Definitely, and Showmaker, Playmaker, of course, as Kobe dubbed earlier on in the tournament, this guy has been clutch when it counts. And that's why we were so disappointed in game 1, right? But this time, showing up.
Oh, and on the other end, we already highlighted how important the GAs were. Doran still has his, but look at Dom on Kia. We see that Canyon building towards one as well.
Yeah.
Doctom currently sitting on one. And with everything that has happened,
Yeah, Baron's
it still
still
feels
alive.
Like, well, Baron's alive. We might even get a opportunity as
Oh my god. Oh my god, that
That's
burst.
revolting.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a
doesn't
very
matter.
strong
Who
Yone.
cares?
Yeah, we'll just take the leash, I guess, says Damwon Kia. Peanut says,
Oh, God.
I'm here, I'm the jungler. By the way, please stop. And
got
Damwon
Biggie.
say no. Now Chovy gets the knock up on Anogari, who body slams to get himself out. Chovy now has to get back. Doctom
Oh, Doctom.
to get on in, but the GA that he recently purchased, he's just gonna get smacked down. Now Canyon trying to
Oh,
turn
Canyon's
it, but
dead.
Chovy
Oh.
just hits him, and that is going to be the play.
That's
The top
a
side
bad
is being
fight.
taken down now. Doran trying to dive forward. He's still got the GA. Empress Divide defensive, but not enough as Ruler just says goodbye to Showmaker, and GenG will claim the ace.
Ooh.
The triple kill for the MF, and this should be game 2.
And it might have been so close for so long, but in the end, it is a
Goddamn.
clean ace for GenG. An overstep from Damokia trying to find an angle. They need to take risks in this later stage of the game, and it doesn't work out.
God. The damage from Showmaker not going to be enough here.
That was a
as
bad
GenG
fight.
will break
That
open
was
the
a
base.
bad fight.
Their composition, fantastic. And now, a celebratory MF ult as the bullet time flies through. The Nexus will go down now. Match point for GenG.
Match point.
What a battle, though, between these two teams here.
Alright, game 3, game 3.
And the final band to come through here for GenG. We'll
Match
see
point.
what it's going to be. As, you know, guys, Kane's still available.
True. Question number 2 for me is, do they just go Lucian Nami again now?
I hope so.
Yumi
That
is
Baron
dead
dance
now,
was
so
very
they
well.
could
It
just
was
go
great.
towards
It was great.
Aphelios is up.
The
So I
fight
do
before,
love
the 2
Aphelios
GA
and
saved that
Lunas
game,
and
okay? The 2
Lunas
GA
do it.
saved that game.
I like this a
this.
lot more. I mean, I just think Sejuani has just been running rampant over these last couple days.
So there's a lot of elements to this.
So DK is taking Sejuani.
Aphelios
Finally,
is
they
by
banned
far
that
Doctom's
fucking
best
cat.
champion, so GenG is going to feel, I think, forced to now pick it away on first
Yeah.
rotation. And
300
Nogari, as we
years
already
of
pointed out,
gaming
he's
experience, they
well.
designed Yumi.
Now you can of course still flex
They
it.
designed
We saw
Yumi.
Peanut
300
showcase
years
how
of
strong
game
Pick
balancing
really is.
experience.
But at the very least, Damwon, much stronger opening. And if a Lucian Nami actually does come through here, as good as Ruler and Lahans are, if there is a bot lane that can match it with an Aphelios pick, it will be Dr. McCallan.
I mean, it just feels like the most obvious answer ever,
They
right?
gotta.
Like this is exactly
So
what they
Genji
gotta
took
want to do.
Genji
They have
took
to pick a right
Lucian
hero.
Lucian.
Yes.
Gotta be Aphelios.
Nami.
Lulu.
Yeah.
Aphelios Lulu.
Let's go.
This is already looking, I think, a lot better for Damwon in the first 3. Now, I mean, it's going to be about what GenG can set up in these next couple bands, because anytime you have Sejuani, you generally want to go triple.
Yumi
top
needs
side,
a
so
fucking
it's gonna be
nerf.
about limiting some of those picks. Fiora,
Yumi
Sylas,
needs a
Aatrox,
fucking
already
nerf. The
been
fact that
away.
you
You're
can't
looking towards
target
things,
him when
like
he's
Akali
on
that
someone
we've
is
already
just
seen.
dumb.
You're looking towards things like the Yone, perhaps. You're looking towards Camille. You know, all of these options. Especially now, you want to delete Akali. You want to delete potentially the Yone as well.
Yeah, well, Chovy is going to lock away the Azir. Now there are Wukong and a Gragas away from running back the Damwon Kia composition, and we'll see whether they do so as we hop into our second round of bans.
The reason why I'm so excited about Doctom's Aphelios, in case you're not a follower of the LCK, this man has played 65 games on Aphelios, and he won 71% of them. He also has a KDA of 5.5.
Yumi only
And,
OP when play with
this
team
also
comps.
includes not just time on
Well,
Gamba, but when he was on
That's
Donkey
true,
Kong.
but even in solo
I think
queue,
they'll
okay,
qualify
solo
and
queue
things
bot
like
lane's
this, yeah.
always a duel, right?
So the level of expertise that this player has on this specific pick
Solo
is
queue's a flip.
insane, and I'm just
Solo
hoping
queue,
that
the
he
bot
gets
lane
better.
duel
Oh,
usually
actually, I
get
still feel about
the
Marshall. Games were
two
very
things.
competitive. I take it back. Take it away, Azale. But I want more. I want more gameplay.
You want more of
Solo
these
queues
competitive games.
Yes.
I mean,
There we go.
even this year
It's
alone,
not that
21
it's
games,
also
71% win
OP.
rate
It's
as
not that it's
well.
also OP.
So the career
It's
stats and
annoying
years
to
by this
fight.
year's stats, he has
The
been
shit is
excellent
just
for it.
annoying
me,
to
this
fight.
is his signature champion.
It
right?
is,
And you
absolutely.
gave him his signature champion.
It's like
and I would
fighting
argue
against
kind of like his
Janna.
signature
It's like,
matchup
fuck that
in
shit.
his
He's
match,
freaking
right?
enchanters.
This is where you really want Aphelios. People love the polymorph from Lulu.
I'd rather fight
This
Nautilus any
short
day
range
than
market
fighting
is
any
crucial.
enchanter.
Makes it
Okay.
very difficult to actually look for these all-ins. And it is a bit of a focus on some of the melee picks, but they're not convinced that it's going to be Sejuani jungle, so they're banning away the Lissandra here as well. Now, you guys have mentioned, Nuguri is someone who can definitely play that Sejuani in top lane.
Yeah,
Camille,
absolutely.
Lissandra
He was using
ban,
this for
Renekton
the hard
ban.
counter into Nah. I don't use the word hard counter all that often, but when Nuguri plays it, it looks like
Vi.
that because he's so aggressive on the
Vi
pick.
ban?
Final ban going to be the Vi here coming through from Damwon. Not going to allow Peanut to have that. And now Ruler, what is he
Season
gonna be locking
13 will
away? We're
change that
looking
tanks
for
are
top
mega
lane
buffed.
and
Oh,
jungle.
great. Another tank
It's
meta.
gotta be jungle, and then you
Tank,
could pick the top lane
enchanter
for
meta
sure, 'cause
are the
you
two
don't
most
know for
boring
certainty,
metas.
if this Sejuani is gonna go jungle or top, but instead, very interesting. So I mean, if you're worried about the
Tank
physical
meta,
flex, this gives you a
enchanter
really
meta
good
are the
play
two
five.
most
This makes more
boring
sense.
metas. Okay.
And this is as GenG summer as it gets. The only thing that you need would be maybe an Ornn for Doran on the
Poppy,
left side of the
oh
map.
my.
The Aatrox would be another one that obviously
Yeah.
currently taken away. Same for the Renekton.
The Peanuts Poppy's coming
Peanuts
out.
Poppy was one of the large reasons why it was so hard to draft against GenG.
Swain?
Because you had to permaban it. You could never, in any given
Swain,
situation...
you
leave
sure
it
about
to
that?
this thing.
Swain against Azir?
Okay, the Swain is going to be locked in. Kellen, what do you have in store for us for either Canyon or for Noguri? As Viego is going to be locked in, so it will be
Okay.
confirmed. Top lane, Sejuani.
Swain
That means
against
that when
Chov.
Canyon heads up
Swain
there, it's
against
going to be
Azir.
very dangerous
Okay.
for Doran. See what he's going to be playing into it. He can still just pick the Ornn and
Viego.
probably be okay.
I feel like Damwon
Okay.
have got to have a read that Doran's going to play a diver, right? Because otherwise the Swain just doesn't really make that much sense to me, right? I do think you can kind of struggle sometimes into picks like Azir who can really outrange you. Swain, to me, succeeds best against hard commit dive. And Maokai is that, to be
Maokai
fair.
last pick.
You
okay.
can kind of fish with the ultimate a little bit, but once you're going in, you're not really getting out. So a bit of an interesting pick. You know, the Swain for me is a bit of a head scratcher against the Lucian Azir.
So Swain has been a pick that's really big, not just for Damwon on this level, but even the challenger team love this pick. And
Yeah.
I think that specifically when it comes to the top side plays that we've seen from Damwon Kia, feels like a lot of the games have been decided by do
Okay, well,
Showmaker,
let's see.
Canyon, and Nuguri get to play the game early? And in the first game, they did, but the bot lane did. In the second game, it was kind of a mix-up. And this time around, I think this speaks to the faith that they have in Dr. McCallan to be fine in the 2v2, whilst
For GenG, Damwon Kia trying to get to maximum games against their opposition. They haven't failed to do so far this year. Should be a possibility. And Chronicler, I wanted to talk to you about this particular matchup, Swain versus Azir, because this is something we saw in the LCK a whole lot of times.
we really have, and I think the Swain in particular is a pick that, as Damwon might be looking for a little bit of early aggression, at the very least going to sweep, try and look for warrants, unable to find. Has mainly been a counter to the Azir in the sense that Azir in some matchups, I think the Victor is a really good example, can still have very high offensive pressure when combined with a jungler, especially something like, as, of course, gotta get the chance in.
Why is the
And
crowd
Swain,
cheering
for Damwon
TSM? It's so
specifically, with
weird.
the style that they've played thus far, I think is a
Why
pick
is the
that
crowd
works
even
really well,
cheering
because
TSM?
We haven't seen it this much throughout the entirety of Worlds, but domestically, it's been very, very strong as, oh, Showmaker.
All right, everyone's going to turn up. Showmaker gets the information pretty quickly.
He's fine.
Yep.
They're gonna steal the red away, right?
Yeah.
You know, we'll see if they can actually do anything about this though, because Canyon is starting on Raptors, so he's just gonna give it up because he already uses his smite. So for sure, he's just gonna give it up. He's just gonna clear towards top side, I think. But now with Kellen moving over, they're gonna be able to push
okay.
him off. And
They
Peanut
actually
sees
gived it.
Raptors are gone too, so he gets the bad news. He's just gonna be starting leashless and about 30 seconds behind.
And they also
Because
have to
NA
walk
fail
over this
world.
ward as well, so
NA
it's
fail in
not-
general.
I think they missed some
And-
speed.
Yeah, they definitely missed the money.
That's
NA is
huge.
not as
Yeah, this is definitely a
competitive. Okay,
phenomenal
that's
start
why
here
they're
for Dom
failing.
Monkey, although, I mean, that trade
They're
did
failing 'cause it's
successfully
not
go
as
in
competitive.
Dom's favor, but he has Severum, so I guess that gives him a sustained advantage. Not to mention the fact that Kellen's going to be there to shield him up. But here we go. Prime Gaming, by the way, guys, is giving away 150,000 RP to several lucky fans every single day of Worlds. Head over to primegamingworlds22.com to enter and make sure you put in today's secret code to get bonus entries. Strowmaker lands the Never Move pretty nicely there onto Chovy to start things off.
Yeah, nicely done. You know, always when you are playing against these first strike matchups, you've got to be on point with that poke, trying to just.
I think the
jump
only
up,
few
as
games I
frequently
watched
as you
NA
can.
and
We'll see if
in the
Chovy
regular
can
season
get
is
the
when
jump here
Viper
or
was
not.
in
If
team
he
team
can
like
kinda keep Showmaker pushed under
no,
that
Team
tower,
Frog
you know, it's gonna
something,
be, I
and
think, a
he
lot
was
more
playing
difficult for
Riven,
him, but
so
Canyon
I was
already
watching
hovering
that.
here towards mid, but bot lane again.
Yeah, that's a
Cleanse out already.
here. Summoner spells traded though. As
Cleanse
Felon
out
had
already.
Lit him on fire.
And what's big here is that Lahens isn't level 2 yet, because while Ruler was able to get XP from the first wave, Lahens actually ran into trouble, and there's a reason why Aphelios is seen as such a well-rounded AD carry, because especially with Calibrum and combining with the harassment of Lulu early in the lane, is I think Kenyon still got the Wolf.
Yeah.
Could be going. Peanut still only level 2.
Yeah, the Ragdoll Poppy not having the greatest time into the Viego this time. And Canyon just going to be able to take some shelter.
Look at this.
Yeah, it's looking good for Damwon in the early game.
This could be a double scuttle angle as well. I mean, Peanut's just going down towards bot, but like, where's the gank pressure? He does get level 3 now off the creeps. He leached some XP and hit 3 there, so they may not be expecting this.
Oh,
They can have a wraparound
Cannon
and the
getting
collapse on the
surrounded
plate.
here.
Goes now.
Yeah, the heroic charge is going to be able to get the stun onto Canyon there as well. The smite has to come through just to keep him
Oh my,
alive.
oh,
As he
Canyon.
dashes, Ruler's going to dash on over though.
Ooh.
Could be a disaster. Vision of Empire flies in, and Canyon, he's like, where the heck do I go? How do I get out of this? The answer
Why
is
he
you
flash?
probably don't, as Peanut's going to throw a buckler at him, and that's first blood.
Man, that was so clever from GenG. Peanut realizing
Why he
was
flash?
so
That's a
close to
waste of
level
a
3,
flash.
Just goes down to Tribrush, soaks XP to hit level 3 himself. Without that, you can't actually go for that sort of a play onto Canyon, but Canyon getting aggressive there. He could have taken a free double scuttle and then cleared towards topside, but he wanted to take more camps away from Peanut.
And what happened there was Canyon used a Scryer's orb but didn't see Peanut, so he made the call as Dog Dog.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
trying
that's
to
not
get
good.
on
Come
his
on,
head.
Peanut
Peanut's
was.
gonna come through. They have a control orb, but they'd already overstepped. Another buckler comes in. They get the flash out of Doctorm, and now Kellen actually finds some space for himself, so they will be able to keep themselves alive. Skippy available for Kellen, so he should be able to make his way out.
Ah.
That
GenG
is-
trying to fight back.
That is just
Why did
massive
they even try to
from
fight
Peanut.
that? 'Cause-
being able to get
'cause
the kill, gets the first blood, then down
Cannon
towards
just
bot, where
died bot
Ruler
side.
and the Hens were struggling straight up in that 2v2. It was going great. You know, you push back Duckdom, so they're going to be able to potentially push us in and reset. We'll see if they can actually crash the wave. But Duckdom loses both his summoners there. Now we'll have to play this lane a lot more carefully. Isn't necessarily going to be able to push this up, but Canyon here trying to deny the crash. And if Ruler gets caught here without a buy, when Duckdom arrives, it's going to be difficult.
Oh, they don't have vision. They're going to be looking for this. Doctom isn't there quite yet, but with how far up he knows, there they
Yeah.
spot him. Will be figured out here. But still,
They can
very
hold
good lane
this.
state here for Domoki at the very least.
Yeah, exactly right. Peanut is going to continue the invade, though, as he heads towards this top side. Should be able to grab himself the enemy blue buff. So GenG still in a good spot, but as you can see by the gold, not really too much has gone awry. Glad that we haven't looked towards top side, because Sejuani versus Maokai kind of goes without saying there, as Chovy. Vision of Empire is going to do a bit of damage to him. But I think the Azir is probably fine, despite being down 10 CS.
Yeah, going to be feeling not too bad. Showmaker has done a really good job connecting with these never moves. You know, got to give him the credit for that. Already has, I believe it's 8 souls collected there, so you know, a good amount of bonus health. He was up to, I think,
Watching
96
tomorrow's
bonus
game?
health
What's
or so.
tomorrow's game again?
So looking pretty good in that mid lane matchup.
What's
So
tomorrow?
see
What's
again,
tomorrow's game? I don't think
Doctom
tomorrow's
is
game's that
forced to use the
that
Summoners,
important.
Not going to get taken down there crucially, so is able to build up a CS lead due to the waste state. They got Dragon as well, so even though Dom Monkia's early game could be way better, considering the fact that GenG got that first blood after Peanut was able to dodge the Scryer, it's overall still relatively okay for Dom.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Not getting that crash on the bottom side of the map, I think it's just
Yeah.
absolutely...
Tomorrow's like
absolutely
EDG, right?
fantastic
Is
here
it?
For Damwon here, as Noguri takes a turret shot, I believe. No.
I don't think
actually,
it was
it's just
EDG.
the
Is it
one last one
EDG?
coming through for the minions, so he's going to be A-okay. As Doran, he may not.
Oh, they have Ignite. If they can actually do this properly here, the Maokai should be
I
dead.
forgot. I forgot what's the
Let's see
game
whether
tomorrow.
They can do it. The Ignite is already down. Twisted Advance has been used. But the
Oh.
ulti to come through, the
Oh.
fadeaway from Nugger, and he just walks it out. That is a beautiful first blood going over to Damwon Kia.
That was flawless, but Peanut is here, and Nuguri could be in trouble. Peanut has flash.
He's trying to get on forward. Doesn't have steadfast presence now as he's just ushering this in where he can. But 2 versus 1. Poppy versus these two. This is dangerous. And he has to flash to get himself out. Does make it out with a phase rush, but that was dangerous.
And that's huge. Even though Poppy uses Hex Flash very well, the offensive pressure that you have around a Herald that is coming up in 30 seconds is huge. And now Damwon should be able to take that uncontested.
And I'll draw your eyes towards the items, right? This is not a tanky Poppy. He's not a Pommy star here. It's a tier 2 Boots Rush, which is great utility, very common on the tanks, but does mean when you get caught by that stun, the turnaround damage is going to be massive. That dive, though, was masterfully done there. You know, being able to start it off with the Ignite, so Nuguri gets the aggro guaranteed, then pulls back, hits him with the passive stun, then the ulti to follow out, all while tanking up the tower there and allowing Canyon free fire.
And you also see the power and why this Sejuani and Viego combination has been denied multiple times within Worlds as well, even though in particular Viego has fallen pretty far down the priority list as far as junglers goes, because the amount of auto resets that you get combined with Sejuani's passive, especially if you add Ignite, is just kind of revolting. And we talked about this bot side, Lucianami not looking too hot, and Damwon Kia this time around looks at pressure almost every lane, and as we said, Heralds should be for the taking for them. They started up.
And the pressure really isn't on them in the same way.
So
right?
they got
I think
Dragon
there's
and they
great
got
scaling
Herald.
Still, you know, especially at the top
Exactly.
three for GenG, but you know, you look at Dokdom, he doesn't need to really get anything done. He's chilling. He's staying in his lane. He's farming it up, looking for 3 items here. He's going to be really, really happy. You know, when you have that Lulu to back you up, it can be such a threat. And I will say, Swain as well from ahead is very difficult, especially when paired with one of these engineers to actually deal with.
And we actually saw, it was Swain versus Azir. It works for the Swain if you're able to create those early leads.
Yeah.
We saw Faker versus Closer was a perfect example of this. The Swain flashing over these Emperor's Divides and just solo winning team fights. This is a thing that has happened in the LCK so far, and Showmaker already in this lane is doing fantastically well against Chovy, whose laning phase on Azir has always been pretty impressive. This time around, not necessarily having that kind of a performance.
Yeah, hasn't been as dominant thus far, but you can see, you know, the invasion, the push in here for Vision from GenG.
Which
Peanut
Poppy
getting
skin
in,
is that?
trying
It looks
to
pretty
trap
nice.
as much as possible.
Oh.
They're looking for it.
How did they not see that?
Dokdom going to get the wild growth now, though. He has the crescendum. So much damage here, and the Keeper's Verdict won't land. Still, Peanut gets himself closer to the turret, and he will make it out.
How did they not see that?
Aphelios just
He
hits
was,
there from
Peanut was
back.
clearing the
With
wood.
the peak wild growth as well. We
Yep.
joke about the skill of wild growth as, yeah, Showmaker has ultimate. I don't know about this one,
Oh,
Chad.
oh, oh, oh,
Showmaker, he has the explosion
oh
ability
my.
as well, but
Oh!
he pulls him in, and the Swain, feeling inevitable, walks after him. Just
Oh,
drags
Chovy
him
just
in.
got outplayed.
And that is
Chovy just got
exactly
outplayed.
why we have faith in Damwon when they go a little bit of meta. The amount of power that these laners individually have shown when they get their comfort is just on another level.
And also, this is a Damwon Kia that are down. It's match point for GenG, and they are making these aggressive plays. Kellen is a moat spamming in the bottom lane.
I mean, that backstep from Showmaker was so damn clean. Backstep on Chovy's ultimate there so he doesn't get knocked back. Then the flash in, over the top, hits another never move. The last one he needed to be able to finish it off.
And now Dokdom has Guild Force. And I've seen enough Dokdoms with PTA and Guild Force to know that for GenG, playing on the game now is going to become infinitely harder. And we do see, and I agree with you, Zil, and I'm happy that you pointed out earlier, this is also the first time where it doesn't feel like Damwon is very heavily disadvantaged going into the mid to late stage of the game. As long as they keep even, if they pick up an extra Drake, you know, get a small lead, just make sure that Dokdom gets to mid to late, they're very happy. Instead, what is happening is they're setting up a lane swap here to funnel more gold into this Aphelios.
Well, and this is perfect because you already have the Herald, so you move up towards top. Peanut is here to try to cover a potential dive, but the tower's so low that it would be very difficult for them to actually hold this here. With the Herald getting dropped down, it should be an almost guaranteed first turret going the way of Damwon.
Yep, they have no threat up here as well. There's not a lot of damage between Poppy and the Maokai. So the Rift Herald's going to go down. This turret
Are we going to
should
get
be
first
dead.
tower?
Yeah, Keeper's Verdict could come in to try and deny, but he's not actually going to use it to stop the charge. He wants to try and go for some sort of a fight with this ultimate, but doesn't use it.
Well, I think the reasoning here is Chovy and Ruler weren't moving, so they're never going to be able to delay the charge, you know, to actually stop the charge, I should say.
Yeah,
They would've
right.
been able
It
to
will
delay
eventually come in. Yeah.
Exactly. If one of your carries are moving up, then maybe you can actually get up there and force it, but Noguri on bottom side, Ruler in trouble.
Yeah, just going aggressive here is Noguri on this Sejuani. Still holds on to the Ignite as Ruler looking a little bit scared under this turret, and you can see the Piggy able to move forward. Vision of Empire spots out Ruler and also puts the fear into him as Damwon Kia moving towards that top side. Polymorph.
They might be losing
onto
2
Doran.
towers here.
The turret will survive on very little health.
Viego's still top. They
They're
might be
trying to-
losing
they're
2
trying to hold
turrets
it
here.
as best as they possibly can. They don't want to give this over pre-14, but it is very, very difficult because you're having Peanut locked in this lane, sharing XP amongst 3 members. Canyon's already back to farming, so now Damwon don't really have to force the issue here because they're getting more on the map. Ruler's being pressured. We saw that Noguri is taking a tower plate down in bot. Canyon's back to farming the jungle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Here it is one more
Get
time.
me the replay.
Just watch the backstep.
that
right
backstep.
there was beautiful.
And then the fact that, as you point out, Chovy not able to get away, goes for the flash, and then the never move. And Swain went ahead, is one of the most frustrating champions to play into, and something we haven't really highlighted that is outside of Azir
Ouch.
in the late game,
Ouch.
the range that is available for GenG is fairly limited, right? You have Ruler who kind of needs to dash in, that's risking you of a never move. Doran and Peanut are self-explanatory, and I don't think they're killing Showmaker here.
Well, we'll see whether they can. Showmaker goes golden, buying time for
He
Dot to get in.
didn't
There's
golden the
Empress
Sarima
Divine, but you
shuffle.
can
Not
see
enough damage.
He just presses R. He's just going to say, well, everyone, please stand in here. I'll drain all your health bars.
Yeah, Dom shows up, and that's going to push them back. Canyon at the same time taking the second dragon here. This one is going to be Hextech, which would be really nice for them. The additional slows there are always so good when you are playing Swain. The ability to stay on top of them. Going to be interested to see if Showmaker rushes his Zonius or if he goes for Rylai's. I'm such a fan of Rylai's on Swain because the movement speed difference there, being able to actually keep up on top so you can have that perma ulti is so effective.
The best part for Showmaker as well is that he doesn't even need to be a damage threat. With an Ignite Sejuani, with Viego, especially with Doctor. Well, yeah, I was gonna lead up to that. Max, stop interrupting me.
He skipped to the final chapter.
Obviously, that was the big reveal. Unbelievable.
You
were gonna
Spoiled
listen.
it. I thought I could trust you.
Well, I've done this to you before. How are you not, how are you not
I
completely
should be
aware
impervious
of
to
all
The
that
that's
guy
gonna
that
happen?
just shows up to the bookstore and just yells Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yeah, no, that's exactly me. That is exactly me.
Unbelievable.
You just got to get to your point,
But
bud.
just when I'm reading. That's the best part.
Yeah, that's true. I actually whisper it in your ear. Everybody else is fine. They have no idea.
Appreciate that. Good looking out for me. At least.
Yeah,
We're
no,
reaching the
don't
mid-game
worry. I always
standstill
have you
again.
back, guys.
We're reaching a
But
mid-game
we have
standstill
the
again.
turret falling down here as Noguri secures that one.
So I will say, you know, on the GenG side, I think a lot of it becomes about the playmaking. We did see the backstep there that was beautiful from Showmaker, but I still think a Zero as disengage on the Swain, and especially the Poppy ultimate, is going to be so critical. Because if you can get the Swain to actually commit ult, and then disengage with the Poppy ult, and be able to have that time out, Swain without ulti is really low power in these late game team fights.
And it's important to highlight as well is that as much as I like a draw from Dublin, and I feel like specifically when Doctor is on Aphelios, the team kind of transforms and warps around how good this player is on his pick. But overall, Dublin have had issues with closing out games, have had issues with actually closing, and GenG has proven this year, I think, that when it comes to their mental, they are not the team of eternal second place players that they once were, right? Like we've seen them come back from 10k deficits multiple times throughout the year, and as you point out, I think with Zaire, double front line, and Ruler on a carry that has a lot of agency, you can never count out GenG. But overall, this game does feel very different from the previous two because I don't see a solution for GenG.
So far,
Dublin
Lucian's
Kia
not doing
just stacks
much
a bunch of
at all.
hexes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very difficult.
Illusion
but
as
they
a
can
pick's
kinda
not
push the
doing
issue
much
here.
at all.
They have created a near 4,000 gold lead, plus 2 dragons, which are around about 1,000 gold worth of stats each. And when you're really kind of looking at the totality of that, it is very, very threatening. Going to TP in here towards mid, continue to pressure. No, we're going to look.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is. Ruler has to cleanse immediately.
Oh,
The
that's a
Moonlight
nice
Vigil goes
cleanse.
wide. The Tidal Wave is also going to do the same thing, but buys enough space as Aqua Prison is going to put Shirley in the sky for a moment, but now Damwon Kia going to push forward, and they barely needed the Rift Herald as now the dashes come in. Damwon, they want even more here. The culling wipes out the wave, but is it going to be enough as now Peanut down to 50%. He uses the Herald to get himself out of the fight, but
Cannon got out.
under the turret. The demonic ascension
Oh, the pull.
The pullback. He is never letting anyone move. This Swain is insane. And Damwon are still pushing forward. Another never move hit, says Peanut. You should have got the message. He doesn't miss on these.
It's never move, and it's never miss. Showmaker is going on.
Oh my god! Oh my god, that pull!
He pulled all of GenG into a game 4, gentlemen.
Oh
Who
Jesus.
is this guy? Showmaker
Oh my god.
going off, almost carries the last game, and in game 3, match point
Oh my
for
god.
GenG. It is
Oh my god.
Showmaker refusing to lose.
How they all got hit by 1E?
That's the, we're going to game 4 giggle right there.
Or
because
Q, or whatever the
I felt
poll
like
was
this
on.
game might be still on the cusp of pullback for GenG, but now Damwon needs to make a colossal mistake because with this gold going over Showmaker, Doctam also picked up a bunch of kills, by the way. He's currently sitting on 2-0, and those Drakes are going to be stacked.
I just want to see a highlight reel of all the never moves
right?
that he hit this game because it is ridiculous. The
He hit
amount
all of them
pressure.
in this period of play. It was just only hits.
Yeah, it's just insane. You know, moving in, looking for the fish on here. Pulls back Peanut.
Jeez, the
Peanut
pull.
is able to get away. Nice charge to the Herald to escape, but then Doran goes in.
And nothing to me tells the confidence that Damwon still has as the fact that
Jeez.
Noguri and Talon
Jesus.
get swept away and they still move up in a 3 versus 5.
3 in a row.
Yeah, that's 3. And we're just going to have to hold that thought for
it's
a moment as
another
now Doctam trying to dash his way out. Peanut is going to taxi himself on Canyon, moves his way out, but in comes Noguri. They're going to secure the
Lucian's
Lucian.
gone.
And now Damwon Kia are looking for even more. That may have been the back-breaking play here. As Damwon just have GenG on the ropes. This is the biggest lead that we've seen all series.
And it's understandable because GenG know they need to go for desperate plays at this point, so they try and pull the trigger on Doctam, seemingly out of position, but if Doctam has red and white guns, he's never out of position. Doesn't happen. And as a result, that's 3 Drakes and a monstrous gold lead for Damwon Kia.
And it's back-to-back ults that Noguri has connected on Ruler. Ruler doesn't have his cleanse because of the previous one that was actually nailed on him under the tower. So he forces the cleanse. Next time they fight, he hits another drifting ulti there. But this has just been an absolute amazing showing here from Showmaker as well as Doctam. You know, the carries here stepping up. They're talking about it on the analyst desk. You know, Kobe saying Chovy and Ruler, the 2 most reliable carries in the world today. Showmaker and Doctam, though, now to be outdone.
Well,
I don't
Peanut
think
is,
it's supposed to be
a
fighting
little
that
bit
guy.
going rogue, but still has Phase Rush, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Poppy can just do what she wants.
It's a good trade because he does force out the ultimate. The downside is, I don't think it really matters because just hold up, teleport.
Ruler's in the
that's
ruler
spot.
position, exactly right. He is going to be able to dash out of that one. There's the flash as well.
Well,
Didn't have
Lucian
Veil
Flash
Force
is
available,
gone.
But Summoner Spell is going to get him to safety.
Yeah, not feeling confident that Cleanse would have done it. You know, he still had the Cleanse available there, but felt he needed to commit the Flash anyway. And if you feel you need to commit the Flash anyway, it's better to use it first instead of using both here. But Damwon now having the pressure on here. If you can get the proper guns onto Doctam, if you can get White Gun here, you can threaten early Barons. So they have a really good way to push the pace of the game. In 3.5 or so, they're going to be forcing Soul. GenG, if you don't want to threaten there, well, you're going to be giving up Soul and then potentially even a Baron.
Not going to flip it this time, though, right here.
Oh, no, please don't, Damwon. You don't need to. You're in a great spot. You have gold leads. You hit, Doctam is going to hit an IE at what, 24, 25 minutes into this game.
He only just went and bought those components, so he's got a
True.
bit of time to get there. But yes, it will be early.
Yeah, and they don't even need to really get there because even without that, he is just very, very fed. And overall, if you look at the items, as Noguri can't hit them
Doesn't
all.
really wait, does he, on these? But he might be punished. Vision of Empire comes in. That
I think
bubble
he's
was
fine,
amazing
he's
from
fine.
Lens, but he's so tanky. The nature class comes through, though. There's the wild growth. Noguri survives for a long time, but now Chovy picks up the kill. The Moonlight Vigil to answer back, but it's not enough to get any kills on the exit. So, just a pick off there for GenG, showing signs of life.
And this is exactly what GenG has run into in the past, or Damwon rather, as a Canyon.
Yeah, Canyon, he's going to walk it out. It'll be fine, as Nevermove is going to miss for the first time that I've seen this game.
And these are the moments that as a Damwon fan, you're like, oh no, no, calm down, Damwon. Play for the soul. Don't take any risk. You don't need to, because as we've pointed out in the past, at times there have been issues for this team. But in the grand
They
scheme
don't
of
need to
things,
rush it. They don't
GenG
need to rush it. Just
getting
push
kill on
lanes
Nuggery's
until
nice,
Dragon's
but
up.
not going to mean too much for the overall state of the game.
And I mean, you look at the map, there's just no vision in this Dragon area really for GenG. It's going to be very difficult to approach. You know, they do have a couple wards. They have this as a potential flanking ward. They have this ward here. You know, they've got a couple kind of shallow wards down, but it feels so hard to actually even get over there, let alone be able to get through the Swain that is going to be clogging up this corridor.
Yeah, Chovy
Might be
didn't get
caught
that
here.
memo, Azael. He's now going to have to do some alcove gaming and get himself out of this one. The demonic ascension's going to come through the Emperor. It's just going to be stopwatched. Beautiful play once again from Showmaker, who is
Showmaker's
just
out
owning this
playing
mid-lane
Chovy
matchup.
so hard right now.
Okay, I guess Sejuani just got a kill as well. Now Darmon Kia. What can they get off the back of this? It's a minute and a half on the Hex Strike. Can they get Baron? There's a white gun there for Doctor.
The saving grace here is that the kills happen on opposite sides of the map, so at the very least,
GenG's throwing the third game.
Showmaker's ready to
Going
get
to.
Baron.
Yeah.
As you can
GenG's
see, he's
throwing the
already
third
got
game.
the Smite equipped.
double smite.
Come on, it's a
This
finish
will mean
strong.
that The 50-50, not going to be so much of a 50-50 if Peanut is in the area.
But you have soul point in a minute,
Yeah.
so you definitely should not do this. I mean, I want him to, but I want more games more than I want him to, you know, go for a cheeky Baron as...
Lehens was Nami in this game, guys. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, Noguri has been very good with the ultimate so far this game. You know, has been firing them off constantly, has a lot of CDR, you know, Frozen Heart, you know, has an additional Kindle Gem plus the CDR boots here. So low cooldown and, you know, being very liberal with his ult usage, but has really paid dividends thus far. And GenG just aren't really being given the time to slow it down and scale up.
The only saving grace for GenG is that Doctor wasn't actually able to finish out his Infinity Edge. That doesn't make the fight good.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's another pick.
These ults not really missing. Peanut gonna have to flash to get himself out of the way, but that means that they are pushed out
Oh,
yet
that
again.
missed.
That stun barely going wide. Peanut is going to walk his way through. So, the Baron's still up and available. Darmon Kia with so much control of the map.
And how in the world does Peanut actually get in for an attempted steal now, right? It feels like you kind of just have to give it up. We'll see if GenG want to make their final stand, or if they want to try to flip it to the Baron, maybe.
Here's the neat thing, he doesn't. Doesn't happen. There is no conceivable way as long
They're
as
giving
Doctor
drag.
Kia make sure that GenG, as you point out, can't go for the counterplay. But look at this. They're sending Viego. What can you do? Even with Hex Gates, there is no amount of gaming that's going to offset the gold that is currently available. Soul now for
Chovy's getting
Kia.
caught again.
No sweep in this quarterfinals, everyone.
Absolutely not. Chovy is just going to get taken down under the enemy turret. That is going to remain alive, and Showmaker will be able to claim the kill. This is it, gentlemen.
That's
We are
like the
finally going to have
the
a
second
series
time?
that
It's
isn't
like the
just
second
3
time got
games
caught.
long. Although I've said that in the past with these two, and maybe that was the ultimate curse as Darmon Kia looked down the Baron.
Come on,
Going back
Chovy,
to
you
no
can't
Italy,
just
I'm feeling good.
rage
Very
like that.
scared. The better we feel, the more likely someone's going to lose their hair. At least this time it's Azael, but still.
Yeah. Pray for the
They've
Peanut
started this one up.
stealing
Peanut
miracle.
is at the back of the pit. Nature's grasp to come forward. The culling does a fair bit of work here from Doran. As there is the ult. The keeper's verdict going to get so many out. As he pulls back, Doctor flashes into the Baron pit, but he's
1K,
now picking
1K.
up. Showmaker is just massive though. He secures the Baron, and he can now flash on top of GenG. I have a feeling this one's the backbreaker. This one is the game 4 guarantee that Darmon Kia needed.
I think that should do it. Dom won
13-2.
roar to life in this third game here off the back of an amazing Showmaker performance, making his mark on this series.
Just unbelievable.
Okay.
Absolutely
All
unbelievable.
right, good,
This
good.
inhibitor
Game 4.
will
We're going
go
game
down,
4.
and Darmon Kia, they looked completely unflappable this game.
We're going game 4.
Teams will be down 0-2. That would make them play more nervous, more scared. Looks like Darmon Kia were just charging up, but they're going to have to win this last little skirmish. Canyon going down very
They got
well.
it, they got it,
It's
they got
Doctor that's securing the kills. Chovy goes down first. Lehen's going to come through now, and the Nexus will go down. Here we are. Game 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Game 4, game 4, game 4.
Darmon Kia down match point after a game 2 that looked winnable until the very end. A 40-minute
Showmaker
slugfest.
carrying, Showmaker
Come in,
carrying.
say, okay,
Do they show
we
his
get it, we get
stats?
it. We ban Yumi. It's fine. We tried working around it. It's not happening.
Yeah,
And the
Yumi,
fact
Yumi
that they're
broken.
able
Ban
to
Yumi.
make it
Always ban Yumi. Okay. Okay, game 4. Oh, we have a game 5.
I mean,
They're
respect
actually
to
going
Canyon.
game 5.
GenG realizes that Canyon was having a monster game.
They're
His
drafting.
teammates
I'll be
did not
right
have
back.
a very good game, and that really was the difference.
Come on,
but it was
Dom.
not the pick that was actually falling apart. It's got to be the Yuumi. There's no shot you
Come
give
on,
over the Yuumi
Dom.
and lose all 3 games with it.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. The cat has been banned once again.
Get it out of here.
Let me remind you, gentlemen, in 100% of games, the Yuumi was banned, Dom1 as well.
Okay,
So game 5 could come in, but there's the Sejuani first pick.
So now, do they actually grab the Aphelios? Are they willing to play Aphelios into just anything, right?
Yes.
It is extreme comfort, and I feel like they should grab the Aphelios here. You don't necessarily need to grab the Lulu right immediately as a pairing, because I don't think GenG would then steal it away. It doesn't feel as high prio outside of this pairing specifically. But they're thinking about it down to the last second.
They're going
here.
to.
Yeah, I think so.
100%. Not surprising. I do agree with you. Now the question becomes, what is the read from them on Kia? Do they read into this that this is going to be what has been most of the case, which is Sejuani for Peanut? And do you then maybe take away something like the Akali to prevent these extremely strong topside melee compositions with Sejuani to roll you over?
You can. It's also interesting because, for a lot of teams I'd be saying, okay, you grab Trundle, right? But because it's Canyon, it's just not really stylistically his thing.
Okay.
And I think getting him on the Viego really does make sense. Viego, it feels like, has been getting banned out more in the second phase of bans. So they're going to prioritize it a lot. This does very likely mean Lulu on 3. So, like, the first phase is already kind of done.
Whoa.
Dom1. Oh, you could go Jinx Soraka potentially, or even Jinx Lulu and take away the Lulu.
I mean, it's the classic. It's the classic Jinx into
More
Aphelios, and this is GenG, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the combo that has been part of this team for so incredibly long. As Showmaker, he wants to run it back.
Look at the smile on his face here.
He's just having a bit of a giggle.
Okay.
He wanted to activate the crowd, and thank you, New York. You were fantastic. But he is going to lock
Is that
down
a
the bottom
Jinx?
lane. It looks.
Okay, I have to say, Renata into Jinx is terrifying. Very likely this will force the cleanse. I've played a fair bit around myself, and Jinx is one of the scariest champions to actually take over because Jinx is purely auto-attack damage, right? It is not abilities.
Yeah.
You will erase your own team if you actually get hit by the hostile takeover. So it does force the cleanse, and it makes positioning very difficult at times because you can create these windows where you're going to be able to free fire his Doctom on this Aphelios because all the carries from the other team have got to run away from the hostile takeover.
Additionally, it's also disincentivizing to GenG to then stack melee champions with the Sejuani, so the Sejuani loses a little bit of impact there, and at this point I'm wondering, do they just throw towards Doran on top and then pick something else for Peanut, which seems likely, but Kellen is also, in my opinion, the best Renata that we have within the LCK. He has been so big in so many games, and specifically the combination of Aphelios and Renata has been an incredible pressure point for Dom domestically because they just stomp any given lane with that 2v2.
And to me, Renata is one of those enchanters that still has a lot of the early game power, right? You can still play through the lane. Yuumi, you're thinking more about the scaling oftentimes, but Renata really does have that early game 2v2 power. They're going to ban away the Thresh, more concerned about the Lantern for the repositioning and potentially the all-in here. And it's not going to be any more additional enchanter bans. Instead, it is that focus towards what would be Doran's Camille. So they're still worried about that pairing on the top side, which is very, very frightening, especially if it's going to be Nori playing more of a weak side role here. They are not wanting to give that up.
Yeah, and despite the fact that, of course, picking melee into Renata is dangerous, I think that Tahm Kench was also a worthwhile ban for them to go with because giving Ruler late game safety is very, very scary. And we know that you can play that champion very aggressively. Lehens has done so in the past. Ornn going to be banned as Nuggery, not going to be allowed to play that.
It's just so interesting to me, though, because you can also just absolutely go towards an enchanter pairing. You don't have to even play a melee pairing here with Ruler's Jinx, right? Like, you can totally go Lulu. And you already have Engage and a frontline from the Sejuani. You can bring in another melee champion towards the top lane. You can go
stop
towards something
playing
like that. You can go towards
Renekton.
something, like I say, and if you want to go for a laning enchanter, Soraka can be really powerful here as well. And it is going to be the blind croc. Not makes sense as an answer, but yeah, I'm still so curious about support.
So the Gnar is going to be considered into the Renekton that might be going top lane. I say might because Showmaker has done this before in clutch games.
Yeah, would not be surprising if we now end up seeing.
Okay, well, they picked Gnar.
From Nuggery. Key thing though is of course
They picked Gnar.
actual having AP damage,
There is
that
none.
would make it, would make it very hard. What I do like though, I know Renekton is not the most popular pick, but I think that Domon have shown that a strong 3v3 topside, especially when bolstered by an Aphelios lane, is a recipe for success. So I think going back to that in theory works out well.
Alright.
The problem is, as the Lulu comes in, don't think playing Renekton into Lulu or Na is particularly fun.
Yeah.
And additionally, don't think the setup for Domon is quite as nice as it was in the previous game.
No, definitely not. I mean, they don't really have any hard engage right now, right? Right now, you're looking at potential flanks over on the Damwon
LeBlanc.
side. Showmaker LeBlanc is an iconic pick here, but again, this makes this comp, I feel like, so much more mid-game. Yes, there is scaling for Duckdom on the Aphelios, but you're looking over against Lulu,
LeBlanc.
Jinx, Azir with a stronger front line. This one feels like the pressure is on Damwon early, big time. I think they have to play from ahead. If you are playing, from a neutral state in the later stages of the game, it feels very difficult.
I mean, that's exactly what Azir and Jinx do, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
it forces you into trying to answer in the early mid, and I actually think that this is a fantastic idea from Damwon. All in on that. If they're going to win, that is when they're going to win it.
Have another incredible game.
Well, we'll see whether he does as we hop onto the rift here for game
let's see.
4, ladies and gentlemen.
This is game
GenG
5, so
still
I
with
assume they
match
win.
point
But
in their
let's see
hands.
how they do it.
Damwon Kia could bring us to that best of one decider. As Showmaker, GenG, are they predicting that Showmaker's going to go for it? And he is. He's just going to do it a little bit later than he otherwise would. Backs his way up.
And it's a nice read, right? They even had the soldier over in the pit because that is so common. You actually distort over, you drop the ward there. So he's reading that play, dissuading him from being able to do it. Just nicely done. Small thing from GenG.
Also, again, Peanut going for the control ward start that we've seen come up more and more, especially on these little bit slower junglers. And that Malrang in particular used very efficiently throughout the entirety of group stage.
And I just think it's really smart. Like, it is a small thing, but denying Canyon that info when there is already pressure on him to get something done early becomes that much more difficult, right? Because you don't know exactly where the Sejuani is going to be clearing towards. You are missing that information. We'll see if Showmaker will go in late at all and try to get that ward down. He may look for it. And
Yeah,
I
he's
think this is worthwhile. So he does drop a ward at Raptor, so they're likely going to spot the Sejuani clearing up. And that will at least give Canyon the info, though a little bit delayed.
Yeah. And back to laning goes Showmaker, and yeah, here it is, all the information given, so Sejuani will be on the map. Damwon Kia just starting to push off once again here towards the bottom side, but I believe this time the experience advantage not going to be as high here for the Aphelios.
It is worth noting, though, that Damwon didn't leash, right? So they started the 2v2 because they wanted to get pushier. So they want to play for the faster level 2. So that signals to me that they are going to try to play this a little bit aggressively, see if they can get this quick level 2, push Ruler and Lehen's back, and utilize that to try to create some sort of an advantage.
Nice.
Already starting to push up this lane, as we can see. Nuguri and Doran still just fighting it out. Of course, the Na having sometimes pretty okay time into the Renekton. I'd say that now, still the case. There's some battling just all over the Rift right here. Although bottom lane still pretty healthy. Mid lane, a lot of tussle, 300 health on each side.
And what we see as well is that Canyon actually has not been spotted on that ward. Went from blue to ground.
Lucre is
and now
losing
towards
top
the
side pretty
Cyclops.
badly.
Does have a window. Don't think top lane looks particularly diveable, but maybe he wants to look towards a mid gank, but will get spotted on the ward there, so not really going to amount to too much. And sees that ward come down, knows that he won't be able to find a lot as Doran.
Yeah, crushing his way forward, not wanting to overextend onto Nuguri here, doesn't have enough information to go for it. As we can see, Canyon gonna move in, looking to steal this one away, not gonna be able to do so, but does get the information there that Peanut is in the area.
And the very small thing, but he does force out the smite, so it should be his scuttle if he wants to actually play for this.
Oh, the counter
Nuguri's gonna
again.
be able to move on over, there's the flash in, gets the big stun!
Oh,
Unbelievable!
double kill. Oh, the counter.
Canyon and Damwon Kia, they really want those 5 games!
And Canyon needs the early lead. Canyon says, I will find the early lead, as both junglers kind of aware. Maybe the other one is there, maybe they're not. But the moment that Peanut makes his way over Canyon, crucially, look at that ward. He thinks he's safe.
Yeah, and it's actually such
I think
force
Canyon
here.
read it,
Canyon,
yeah.
He had the read, right? I mean, Canyon was skipping so many camps. He was down 2 full camps to actually hang around here for this long. He spotted him doing the gromp. He whipped
Canyon,
around. He
Diego,
has the read that they're
double
going top
kill.
because
Oh,
Renekton is so
God.
low. It's such a juicy target. And Canyon takes the risk, and look at the stress. You can see, it looked like he was almost like slamming his keyboard there. You know, a little bit of frustration, a little bit of jitters there in the movement from Peanut. And that is a massive play in a game where you had to be ahead.
Yeah, absolutely right. Peanut does do this. He moves his leg up and down if it's in one of those pivotal moments.
Oh.
I do exactly the same thing. Papa Smithy used to be very upset about it. As Lehen's going down to 50% health. Thankfully, we're standing, so not going to have to worry about it for us. But still.
Well, I mean, I'm never bothered by that.
They are shaking right now.
Desk moving doesn't bother you?
Well,
They are shaking right now.
It took some getting used to, because that does
The
actually
windows
happen.
are breaking, things are falling off
Yeah,
the
yeah,
shelves.
exactly. It's
Like,
like,
okay,
this is
relax.
So it's more like the entire platform at Ballpark just goes like left, right, left, right, left, right.
It's like a ride.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah, just, you know, you gotta,
nice
gotta
handshake.
go with it. That's a woo, Lance.
And again, it's a nice push here, you know, from Dom. You know, they didn't leash. They have the plan here, so Canyon is put behind on the clear speed, but is able to get towards top side. He gets the double kill. Bot lane, they've already pushed in and got that early shove. They get a play out here, and Kellen is able to actually delay the base there of Lehen, so they will get a preferential reset here if they would like to take it.
And the key thing to me is, again, Drake stacking. Dom and Kia are definitely going to have to put a lot of pressure towards that part of the map. And with the permanent prior that they've been able to generate for themselves so far, expect Doctom and Kellen to go back, and then be ready, especially when Showmaker always also finds his way back towards the map. That's a pain.
Good
That's
trade.
a trade.
Pickaxe longsword stuff and Ogre.
Yeah, pickaxe plus PTA early game, that's gonna hurt. So, you know,
Good
really
trade.
investing in the early game, even with the rune choices here. Dom1 clearly recognize, you know, what this game is going to have to be for them to win, right? And they have got to continue pushing the pace. I will say one bit of bad news, though, is Chovy's advantage here in mid lane. He is up at least a full wave, you know, or so after this wave that's crashing gets collected. So Showmaker will be put down a little bit, but we'll see if Canyon can transition his lead around. Because as you said, they need to start taking the dragons. They need to have these points of power that are going to draw GenG into fights earlier than they would like to be.
And to me, that's what Domon has been trying to do. Nuguri gets the crash here, just gonna back. Peanut is in the general vicinity, knowing
Okay, so drag is
nothing's
also
gonna
gone.
happen. Hey, Renekton with PDA and Dominus though, at this point, you're not gonna kill. You probably end up getting 1v2'd, so as a result, Dom and Kia have free reign on the map, are able to get a Drake, set up extremely deep vision in the entirety of the jungle of
Okay,
GenG.
red dragon.
Yeah.
First dragon.
Showmaker able to move himself forward there, as you can see, pops back to his distortion, so he'll be fine. Like you say, Drake stacking, starting here for Dam1 Kia. Not going to be enough though, I don't think. They're going to need to keep up the pace, try to find skirmishes.
Yeah, absolutely. They will need to do that. But, you know, 6:30 in, grabbing your first dragon, that feels like one of the earliest ones we've had in the world group stage and quarters. People have been taking so many more delayed dragons. We really haven't seen that many Souls or Elder type games. But Domod is going to try to push it towards that, right? They're going to try to get, you know, 6:30 first dragon, come right back, get their second dragon here, you know, around 12 or so, and then look for that about 20-minute soul point where maybe the Jinx and the Azir aren't really looking to fight, but Genji's going to be getting nervous at that point.
Dom with some low-range guns, Ruler able to
It's not going to
just
kill him
use
low
the
range
Jinx
guns.
as effectively as we have seen in the past.
The
right?
trade is
Like,
pretty
it's
decent.
outranging the Aphelios that you are doing here by picking the Jinx up, even though things are a little bit different as it used to be.
And what's interesting is that Dogtown in the past himself has also been a fan of this, is that we often saw Aphelios gravitate towards the PTA, so that you basically become an assassin with Guild Force, because your all-in window is a lot stronger than what the Jinx can
I
provide.
don't think they could dive here.
Dogtown now going to hit 6.
Yeah, just
Peanut
bring in the
looking
lane.
for something. As on the other side of the map, Damwon Kia, as they should, going to get up, pick up rather an early Herald.
Yep.
And this is perfect, you know, just continue pushing that forward. Peanut is spotted
Genji
out here.
give Hurl
That's a
and
brand new
Dragon.
ward, so he had to have known,
Odd.
I think, that was actually dropped down there. I think it was on that timing, but still hanging around, you know, looking to perhaps threaten if Dom1 were to get a little bit aggressive. But with Herald taken on top side, and this wave potentially crashing, it could be Doran that's in a little bit of pressure here at this point.
Yeah, and Canyon hasn't actually used the Herald just yet. They're just threatening. Because, of course, Doran knows that he's well and truly on the weak side right here. And with that information about Peanut, they can continue to do this without even needing to drop down Shelly.
Well, I actually really like that, because I do think the Herald should go mid when you're up against this Azir. You want to take away this bastion of safety here from Chovy. You don't want Showmaker locked in this lane just farming. That's the last thing you want from your LeBlanc. You want LeBlanc to be moving, to be playing in fog, to be constantly having
But you
your
can't really
opponents
leave lane.
play this scare tactics game where every brush you check, you're scared of LeBlanc.
Especially in the 2v2 where Canyon is already fed, every single skirmish that you take as GenG has to be win it immediately or you're in deep trouble. As okay.
That is a lot of respect, and he deserves it. Here's Nori looking for the solo onto Doran. Gets him underneath his turret. Flash for flash. I like the attitude there from Noguri, but I don't know whether he necessarily needed to go in.
Yeah, I mean, I think just overestimating his damage just slightly. When you get that early flash, you could have just taken that win and perhaps called Canyon up to really threaten that dive, but instead he does try to go for it. He goes for it, he gets him low, but then no more abilities available. He knows he won't be able to finish him off under the tower.
Yeah, we also saw Peanut and Canyon spotting one another, so maybe also wanting to respect, because if you do get ganked in that position and the Gnar gets a kill and gets further accelerated, it becomes a lot harder to play out. And having a flash in the subsequent Drake fight would be very nice. Now, fortunately for Noguri, I do think that the overall game state is still pretty subpar for GenG. They have actually fallen considerably far behind, and the second Drake in a minute and a half should be going to Dom 1.
That's going to be really big, and this is also kind of just indicating what type of a game Noguri wants to play to me, as we've seen face check.
He's getting face checked.
That is not the handshake that he actually wanted. The hostile takeover comes in. It takes a little bit of time, but they do manage to lock down the Lulu. 3 kills now for Dom1 Kia.
And now you can even go down towards bot and try to threaten more pressure here. He's actually getting Spell Thieves gold, which I really like there. Picking up 60 gold, I believe, with the Spell Thieves, because you do get that passive while it's active.
Yeah, Rift Herald still half the cooldown now for Canyon as he dashes forward onto Peanut. Zero mana. Exactly right. Ruler wants to come on over. He wants to try and defend, but there is just no way. Canyon is
I banned the bots
massive.
already.
Goes untargetable as well. He's going to be able to just boogie his way out
And they
on the
get the
Sejuani.
TP. This is wonderful for Dom 1. They are really pushing the pace.
And overall, GenG don't have a response. It's one pick on La Hands, leads to a lot of the safety from Polymorph being gone. Noguri going to get a little bit of damage, but as you pointed out, with that Blade of the Rune King, a long trade's always going to be favorable as La Hands, definitely can't die twice, but in of itself, already, like the amount of early game pressure that Dom1 is generating is very hard to deal with.
We don't need
And
hot
GenG,
girls, we
their
have
one saving
waifus.
grace is obviously how well they skill, but look
Goddamn.
how far behind Peanut is.
Yeah, and the threat of this Rift Herald was used 3 times before it was actually thrown down.
Viego's
I think that
4-0.
Canyon,
Oh my,
I
holy
mean,
shit.
That presence of mind to know that you can just stand near it and make sure that GenG feel the pressure. Absolutely beautiful here.
I'm feeling a little bit worse about my decision not to prioritize Canyon in that draft we did as Zale, because I was like, no.
Just getting better and better.
Canyon has
I got
been
369 Canyon Ruler.
it's been a little rough.
Oh,
Yeah, that is not
oh
what we
there.
wanted. Chains are going to connect, but Showmaker is still going to go back.
The flash.
And another Hex Drake will come through.
But as you were talking about, Max, you know, we're seeing Canyon feel so confident to actually go into these fights because he has that early mythic completion, right? He knows that he's such a point of power. When you're comparing the items, just look at the top half of the map, right? Like, that is the big concern. There's just no fight that you want as the Gnar or the Sejuani, and that is why Canyon is just pushing the pace. This is what we saw him do as well in the Kane game. I think he does it better than anyone in the world. When he is playing from an advantage, this guy just feels so oppressive. Like, he is living in your jungle. What are you even supposed to do about this?
Yeah, and we saw the Sejuani look broken, right? When it was compared, when it was paired with the Camille, the Yone. When it's paired with only Mega Gnar, you're not going to be feeling fantastic about getting all of those passives, getting all of those stuns happening in these fights.
And it's something we talked about a lot at the top of the series, and we now have to go back to us. Yeah, that's disgusting. Also, notice who's third, casually, even though he hasn't really done that much in his game, is Dom, because he has actually been able to get a lot
13
of
minute first half.
dropping to fourth with Showmaker.
Only Peanut can steal that.
What I want to highlight is that the
Yeah,
Sejuani pick here
he
in this
came
draft
out with
doesn't
Peanut
actually
came out with a
work,
lot
but
of
they
good
had to pick it
steals.
away. Because we saw in the previous game what happened when it was given over to Dom Kia as,
Showmaker.
oh my god.
I don't know what's happened. Showmaker is just turned on at this point. Like, it is just amazing how he's been
Showmaker is
Even though
in
that
the
was only a
zone,
little thing,
okay? He
pretty
wants to win.
inconsequential. Just seeing
He
how
wants
well
to
he
win.
plays against-
Oh,
yes.
jeez.
That is it for Docdom on the Aphelios. Someone here, are they doing it, John? Are we ready to believe in 5 games or no?
You calm down, Atlas.
Not just yet. I mean, there is incredible scaling on GenG, but they have put themselves in a position where, you know, the game is in their hands, right? You know, they are the ones that are driving here and going to be able to have all of the options that they need to try to close this one out. We'll see if Canyon has a bit of an overstep here, as there are a lot of GenG people in the area, and he will respect that fact.
Yeah,
Yep, Lehens
Or will he?
just lying in wait. There is
Oh.
the dashboard. The stun's going to come down. He's very fed, remember?
Here
Has
comes Showmaker.
Heartbreaker.
Oh,
has
like a
the
Showmaker's
flashes,
here.
X gates. As Showmaker comes on over, Peanut is not going to be able to find the blue buff, but is going to be able to keep his life.
Successful heist.
Viego's
Yeah.
living in
Anyway, pick up
Genji's.
the blue buff. Get out.
Oh well, it's
Take it easy.
cause
And he just had to wait
Look
that
at this.
little
That's
bit of
'cause he's
time
Canyon.
before Showmaker
It's
could
'cause
actually
he's
take the
Canyon.
Hexgate in. And Nogari is going such an aggressive build as well. He even has CDR boots. I can't remember the last time I saw
Yeah.
CDR boots on a Renekton
Oh god,
here.
is he gonna go Prowlers?
Oh, I 100%
He
hope
would.
so.
He would.
As
He
the
would.
Glacial
Oh,
Prison's
God.
going to go wide. You can see that GenG are feeling the pressure here. Of course, they have a comp with a lot
second
of
hurls
longevity,
dropping.
but I just
Oh,
don't know how relevant
two
that's
dragon,
going to be
two
if this
hurl.
keeps up. It's a 5,000 gold lead. Something 2,095% win rate, right?
I mean, honestly, if there were a game for Prowler Scar Renekton, I feel like this would kind of be it.
Oh, yeah, I
Wardrake
agree.
is
100%.
very low value. There's essentially 4 range champions. Yes, there is Meganar. Yeah, okay. But you're not going to really get a lot of good value off that. So, you know, if you feel like you can execute, if he can come in on the flank, sure, you can cleanse the W, but it doesn't help you if you get one shot.
I mean, the W is going to take 2/3 of Ruler's health bar
Yeah,
if he
with
does build
BDA.
that item. Like, my god, that's too much.
And the one caveat that I do want to put here is that the last time Domon Kia got a 10k gold lead and had a Renekton in the game.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
Stop it. Use the hands.
oh,
Gonna
look.
get burst, but Showmaker
Peanut's
is
here
gonna
for
be
the
bullied
save.
out there. Peanut turns up. Now they're going to get the speed boost. Sejuani coming over. Emperor's Divide does nothing onto Canyon as he heartbreakers it. And now Showmaker looking for the hands off to the side. The polymorph
Oh my.
is good. Canyon's going to get knocked up with the Arctic Assault. Showmaker's taking the Sejuani for a walk. And they
Ooh,
do
the
get
shutdown.
shutdown. And it goes to Doran.
It's
Yeah,
going
it
for
goes to
Doran.
I mean, he TP'd in, so I think he really wanted to be involved there, but really,
Going
you
to
would
Doran.
want that onto Chovy, that
Yeah,
big shutdown.
you
But
don't-
Kellen has arrived, and so has Doctom. And
Yeah.
it was a lot of resources spent by GenG, so they're going to try to push out through top.
You will want that on
Nogari is not
Chovy.
being answered. Remember, Doran TP'd away from that top lane, and Doctom and Kellen could go mid and shove that up too.
Nogari is already sitting on 2k gold.
Yeah.
2k! If he gets this turret, it's going to be even more. Not going to be able to do so, force a response, but this should lead to the soul point being picked up here
You're super late.
for
We're on game 4. Okay, we're on
Okay,
game
so
4.
Hens gets rid of a ward.
Yeah.
feel safe.
This
but
is the initial play, right? Showmaker going in, getting aggressive onto Lehens. He does have to snap back, but look at how much of a commitment there is from GenG. Chovy is here. They're even TPing in Doran. It's the whole squad. They say, we gotta get this shutdown on Canyon.
And overall, it ends up paying off. Even with Canyon finding the buffer, doesn't end up mattering. Callan and Doctom are on their way, but not
That
quite
Doctom
going
shouldn't
to
have
be in
killed,
time, more
steal
so
the
due
kill.
to Canyon being very far forward. But now, maybe this is the moment where GenG at least deny this soul point, because if they don't,
Oh, Prowler's Claw Renekton. Working.
Prowler's Crawl Renekton.
That's what we wanted. This is
Prowler's
how the
Crawl
Crocodile is
Renekton.
supposed to be
Oh
played.
god.
This
Assassin
is the part of the
Renekton.
crocodile. Yeah, this is the Apex Predator. This is when he's dashing out of the water to try and take you down, not when he's lying on the
They're gonna
beach.
contest. Here comes Chovy. He's TPing in.
Is he-
but
is
Peanut
he not
getting
gonna-
the fadeaway,
is he
even
not
through
gonna
the Gale
TP?
Force, but Doctom still gonna
Our
flash his
TP's
way
so
out.
late.
Does land onto a couple of members, but now it has been waited out. The Meganar is there. Doran uses it, but only onto Nogari. As now Kellen's thrown off to the side with the handshake that he uses is fantastic. Now the
They
soul
lose the
point
dragon
is
just like
secured.
that.
Can
Oh my god.
GenG make it out? The Mimic Chains come in. Peanut gonna get wild growth, but it's not gonna be enough. Nogari, the Prowler, picks up the kill on the Sejuani, and they're not done yet. Canyon, oh, the reset timing, just beautiful. And Chovy takes the polymorph with him, but he is gonna be able to get out.
outside of every series GenG and Domon has played, it has gone to the maximum amount of games
my.
the entire year. No matter how good GenG was, no matter how rough Domon looks, they were always
One W
able to do
delete,
it.
yeah,
And
one
this
W-
time
oh
around,
my.
Soul Point.
We're going game
devastating
5.
gold lead at 18
No way.
minutes. And for GenG, I think you're looking at game number 5.
I mean,
Yeah, we are. We're
everything
looking
is
at
in
game number
Domon's
5.
favor now. GenG definitely will have another team fight to try to look towards, but the lead is getting bigger and
It's on
bigger
check.
and
It's
bigger
3
here.
dragon check.
You can see Doctom, beautiful Gale Force buffered out there. Yes, the Sejuani ult connects, and they do get a splash, so they get the summoners off. But as the Renekton arrives here, it gets very difficult because the early 2 items make it so tough, and that dragon reset kind of took away their hope.
And you also see the impact that Callan has again on this Renata, right? Like, he buys so much time And then, obviously, on the chase down, if GenG can't find resets for the Jinx, can't find the early kill, with the gold deficit that they have, they're gonna run into deep trouble.
And Kellen with the speed ups here, pops the Shirelias, gets Canyon in. The reset timing there was beautiful from Canyon. It's something we've come to expect. This guy just doesn't often make mistakes on these carry champions. It's Blade of the Rune King done for him as well. 2 items done on both the jungle and top laner for
Oh
Dom.
God,
They
it's
are
so fat.
enormous. Doctom as well going for a 3-item spike build here. Has the LDR, so it's likely an IE third. And he is going to put out so much damage with this.
That's
build.
1/3
you already
health. Yeah, I
highlighted
know.
the gap
I know.
between the top lane. I mean, it's still an entire completed item ahead.
7K gold
for
up.
Dom Kia. We have to,
Come on,
I don't
come
know
on,
whether
DK,
I
we
necessarily need to
have
keep talking
hope.
about it, but
We have hope.
scaling. You know, GenG definitely do have a lot that they can do in the later stages, but I have a feeling now
Atlas.
that Damwon have got over the
Atlas,
top of
I don't want to make the crocodile joke, you know, the
scales?
We're not doing it. But I do want to highlight that Dom and Kia are playing this game out very cleanly. As I say that, Noguri,
Yeah, they do manage to get the turret, but can they get the crocodile out alive? He's fighting. Oh my goodness, Peanut
Jesus.
not tanky this time around, but Doran is going to
Oh.
just gnar him straight back, and that is the shutdown gold going to Chovy.
Yeah, that's a great shutdown there, and this is the downside when you're playing this sort of build as Renekton. You are a glass cannon, so there are going to be opportunities here for GenG.
One half health. He's so tanky even with that
Yeah,
kind of.
I've seen these ones before, but the chompers are good. It's still not probably going to save Peanut. Yeah,
Goddamn.
handshake's so good. And
Oh,
now Hostile
oh,
Takeover
that's not
comes
good.
in,
Oh.
Lands gonna be fighting against Doran here.
Oh
but
my God,
Doran is
oh.
massive. It's a double kill for Showmaker. And yes, you managed to kill Noguri, but he's got teleport. Damwon Kia can
Baron's
get more.
gone.
and again, I want to highlight
Baron's
the
gone.
amount of mechanical press being shown by Domon over Royer. Showmaker forcing a response by going in hard, chunking down Ruler.
20-minute
Kellen
Baron.
Canceling out
20
Peanut
21
his
minute-
dash
21
with his
minute Baron.
handshake, and surely that's going to be the Baron here.
Yep, Showmaker, you can see he's just guarding this. Super Mega Death Rocket just lands onto Doctom. He says, cool. And they will be able to secure it here. The Purple Worm collected already. 1,500 gold, Damwon Kia.
21-minute
This is
Baron.
massive. I think we're looking at a game 5, gentlemen. I don't want to say it too early, but it's definitely feeling that way now.
It absolutely is, and it is Damwon on a little bit of an over push here. And you can see, again, you know, GenG are going to look for all of these opportunities. It's a deep TP flank here coming in from Doran, and Noguri does not have the tankiness really here to survive, but it's a lot committed to actually kill off this Renekton. And then the remaining Damwon 3 just hang around in the jungle and set up a trap because there's no vision for GenG in this area.
And the key thing here is that Peanut steps forward, right? Showmaker, maybe Peanut thinks we can catch him out. They might think that Domon have already
God.
moved towards the Baron. But that's not the case. There's a lack
Oh,
of vision because Domon, with the lead that they have, can completely choke out anything that GenG can do. And now, 40 seconds, that's going to be Soul Point.
Yeah, it's going to be so hard for them. And I mean, we are closing in now. Canyon nearly has double the gold of Peanut. You've heard of the Flame Horizon.
Oh,
How about the
God.
Canyon Horizon? We'll see
Yeah.
if he can get it because he is nearly 5,000 gold.
I
ahead
know,
of
it's
his
Soul
opponent.
Point as
Oh,
well.
it's absolutely obscene. Canyon is just, from the beginning of this game, honestly from the beginning of last game, has been playing extraordinarily well. Him and Showmaker really turning things on their heads. We illustrated this already at the beginning of the day. It's those two that are the game breakers here for Damwon Kia. Noguri, he can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Often it's fantastic. Sometimes it's a little bit quizzical. But this is the heart and soul of the team. Canyon, Showmaker, and they are right now performing so well.
And it has been these two players
They're
that have
playing
really
that.
brought
They're playing
Damwon
that
to the
top jungle
highest
mid
heights,
format.
to that world championship
The old
title
DK
here.
format.
They have been that big standout for the LCK over the last couple of years. GenG, it's looking like last chance
Ellen.
saloon. We'll see if they can find anything here, but look at Noguri setting up on the flank. Look at Showmaker setting up
They're
for the
hurting.
poke as well.
Okay, not going to stay in there. Noguri, not quite brave enough, and I don't blame him. That was a lot of GenG members moving over. So now the fight for the soul is going to begin. Doran, decent Naba, but needs to keep hitting things.
The Crocodile,
Yeah, Noguri on
Is that the
double
back?
flank.
It's double
looking
flank.
for the opportunity. Kellen also with a great line for the hostile takeover.
Oh God, that's not
Loyalty
looking
program
good. That's
is
not
going
looking.
through. The mist is going to come down, and now GenG, you can feel the fear. It is so dark on this map around this dragon pit. Teleport is going to come in. This one, strange as Canyon, is going to come through. They want the fight. They don't
They
really
gave
care
over the
about-
drag.
Oh
Oh.
my God, the hostile takeover comes in. Doctom has already done so much work, and they just obliterate
Holy shit.
Dom wipes GenG off the map, and
Holy
that
shit.
should do it. We're going to a game number 5.
And that might be the one Hextech for Nexus trade.
Holy
I don't
shit.
think that's the one you want to take.
The solo Hextech Drake is going to be the end of GenG,
Oh my
but
God.
not in this series. We at least get some silver
Game
scrapes,
5,
and we'll
game
see
5.
whether the LCK first seed can make it back. But gentlemen, this series always delivers. These teams, they always deliver.
Game 5.
And it was Chronicle that
Game
never
5.
doubted it. We're going to game 5.
I never doubted them, Atlas. They got
Show me that last fight.
easy. Go.
So much Kellen also with a great
let's
line
see.
for the hostile
don't
takeover.
know.
Loyalty program is
don't
going to
know.
come through. The
0.5.
mist is going to come down, and now GenG stuck on this. Teleport is going to come
Okay,
in.
let's see.
This one's strange as Canyon. It's gonna come through. They
Oh,
want the
oh,
fight.
they
They
all
don't
stood in
really
one
care
area.
about the-
Jesus.
Oh my God, the hostile
Jesus.
takeover comes in top.
Doc Dom's ulti. Doc Dom's ulti already melted them. Holy shit. Holy shit. Doc Dom's ulti already melted all of them before Renata's ulti even hit them.
We're going to a game number 5. And that
Alright, game 5. Game 5.
Makes Dom one have to think through. All right, what do we actually need to take off the table?
That Viego
We're
ban.
gonna get Sejuani last ban
Viego
for
ban.
GenG. Or
What about
are they
Aatrox
gonna
is
ban
still
the Aphelios? Like Aatrox is now gonna be banned here
Caitlyn,
on the red
Yubi,
side.
Are they gonna ban Renata?
Can't ban it all.
Are they gonna
Sejuani
ban
as well
Renata?
Is available, right? There's a lot of these
Caitlyn.
power picks here.
Still
So you
banning
got to
Caitlyn.
first pick Aphelios.
Yep.
That's the takeaway. You're giving
Ban
over
cat,
Sejuani,
DK,
sure, that's a
ban that
power
cat.
pick, but
Ban cat.
you just can't allow.
Ban the fucking cat.
It would be very dumb one to just leave open Yumi now.
Ban the fucking cat.
Entire crowd is chanting Yumi for the last match.
Yumi. Ban the
Please,
fucking
someone,
cat.
Please,
the cat
someone.
out.
Please ban it.
It would be very dumb one not to.
Yeah, I agree. But we'll see what they do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank goodness. Thank you. Ban that fucking cat.
Off to a great start. As
Oh.
Sejuani is going to be
They're
first
just
pick.
giving it to him again.
Yeah, so I guess we get Aphelios at least.
Yeah, it's gotta be Aphelios. I think you go Aphelios, and I wonder if he takes an early jungle pick here again. You know, there's already been a lot of focus towards limiting Canyon's champion
no.
pool here.
You know what's really good?
Oh, we're gonna get another
Sejuani?
Kane.
What?
What, the Canyon has a world skin on?
Oh my. I almost
Yes,
thought
yes,
it was
Ophelia,
Canyon
there we
right
go,
straight
there we
away,
go.
but, thank goodness that
Oh, we're gonna get
Aphelios,
Kane.
of course, has to be picked here.
I wouldn't be surprised. The Aphelios for Dom is, again, want to highlight the fact that these 2 wins that he just got don't even move his win rate on the champion because he's won so many games that like he needs
Yeah.
like 5, 6 wins in a row for it to really matter.
And Domon are just presenting so many problems. Like this is the conundrum
Holy
here.
crap.
What?
This is more
Renekton?
GenG.
Why?
This is a flex.
Potential flex here between mid and top. But this is the problem is that it's like, you can point to individual things. Dogdom's and Aphelios is a problem. But Showmaker has been a problem on everything. Canyon has been a problem on everything. Like this team
Lucian
is just playing at
Nami.
such a high level. Kellen has been such a problem as well on the Renata.
I don't like
I
that
think they just go Lulu
Renekton
100%
pick.
though, now that it's the Lucian
I don't like that
Nami coming
Renekton pick
through.
at all.
It's got to be the Lulu.
Yeah,
and
it
you
does.
already have parity in the bot lane here. But again, you're giving Dom1 exactly what they would pick. If this was blind pick, this is what they would want in this match.
I think it's in Italy. That's what they wanted to pick there. That's what it feels like to me. But now an opportunity to ban if they would like to. Probably not going to happen. But still, the Lulu are going to come through as we expected. And so things looking a lot more standard at the early stages of the draft, but a lot of things.
Renata was
changed as we
MVP
get
last
to-
fight. Yeah,
And
Renata.
the reason why
Renata
for
did a
Nexus is
lot
so
of good,
interesting because we
good
know
stuff.
how good Canyon is on AP carry.
They should
dump.
use
This
her
is a
again.
given, this is what this team has relied on. And I
Not really
guarantee
that
you
good
they're
against
gonna
Lucian.
try if they can get away with it to save
Oh.
that R5 as the Yone ban comes
They
through.
want to go Azir.
Azir R4.
They want to go
seems very
Azir on
likely.
4th pick here. That's like really tipping your hand. So now does GenG actually ban away the Azir, or are they okay just saying, no, you can have the Azir this time around, we'll play the LeBlanc, or we'll play the Akali, or we'll play that aggressive side of the matchup.
I think there's a lot of mind games at play here because of
Nidalee.
course, they might still be
They
disrespected.
banned
Now,
Nidalee.
Obviously, this was going to come in, but the fact that the Yone's being banned away is just to deny that composition that GenG looked incredibly comfortable on. I do respect it, making sure that there can't be something that has been pre-planned in scrims to come through here.
There is still, you could go Akali plus Camille as well, right? So there's still
I
other
like
options.
Kamali, that was great.
Yeah, you can go the Kamali combo.
Come on, DK have a chance here.
So it is a vibe ban, so there are still
Vibe ban.
opportunities to go triple melee topside. I will say, the other options I feel are more mid-gamey, early gamey, you know, compared to the Yone, who does have that incredible scaling as one of those melee solo laners.
Is it going to be a Carpus angle?
Come on, Canyon.
or a
One more
little
carry
bit
game.
of Canyon? Is what's going
One
through
more
my mind
carry
right
game,
I don't think
Canyon.
it has to be though. You can fan that out like, and I think it's incredible that Canyon is drawing 4 bans here, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, you quad ban Canyon, just put Renekton top, put a Showmaker on an AP mid, and Canyon can play AD jungle, and like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
So that is the power of having a player like this that has been such a threat on all these different.
Here we
picks.
go to Kane.
Unbanned. Do
They
they go
left it
back
up.
to it? It would be against the Sejuani potentially, but it could be flexed.
Kane. Kane.
Okay.
It's gonna be
Kane.
there it is, the Kane once again.
5. And I love the Talia hover there, because if you're unaware, Domon also loved to flex that pick. And
Yes.
this what we're seeing right here is the reason why when Lance was interviewed by Ashley Kang, he said, oh, I don't want to play Chen. I don't want to play Domon. I don't want to deal with this team, because what is going well? You just don't know.
I mean, it's just amazing, right? Like,
Yeah.
the
Victor.
confidence to say, yeah, we brought out Kane in game 1, it lost,
Victor,
but no,
late game
it wasn't
carry.
about the Kane. I'm still gonna slam you. I'm gonna go right at you. And now I'm interested to see, do they actually pick a peanut jungle here? I think you move the Sejuani to top, and you get a better matchup in the jungle, something that Canyon can't just pick on. If you go something that can scrap early, like a Lee Sin or something along those lines, that can actually duke it out with the Kane, it's going to be much better because the Sejuani is just going to get chain invaded and they're going to farm off of him, but they're going to leave the Sejuani in the jungle. I think this could be something that comes back to bite them.
And it's once again, it's just Mega Gnar to pair alongside
Gnar.
the Sejuani to get that sort of melee permafrost
Gnar
synergy.
again.
It's not exactly what we love to see. Still, you can have a
Gnar.
lot of utility even without that
Gnar.
available. But now, Damwon Kia to
it gonna
take
be?
away this final pick.
It's Domon. I'm
Oh,
expecting
Twisted
Showmaker,
fate.
you
a
wouldn't.
trump card. That's
Another one. Okay, it's
Oh,
the Syndra.
Syndra.
Showmaker to take another one of his iconic picks into the mid lane.
I mean, look at this top side from Damwon. This is the most go right at him style top lane and mid lane and jungle that you can really draft here. They have the
Damwon's
Kane,
team
the
looks
Syndra,
pretty
the
good.
Renekton,
Alright,
so
both
much
sides looks
early
pretty
and
good.
mid-game
Both
power
sides
with
looks
these
pretty
soul
good.
lanes. But I think the plan here
Both
is
draft looks
dominate
pretty
the
good.
soul lanes so that Canyon can chase Peanut around the jungle and invade constantly because he will have prio, farm your form off of this Sejuani by constantly scrapping him, similar to what we saw in the previous matchup with that Kane against the Maokai, and then utilize that power to really snowball the game early through things like dragons, and you have Doctom and Kellen as that late game insurance. They are going to be scaling up in the bot lane,
Oh my God.
and the pressure is not
Come on,
them to
DK.
find the scraps.
We have a chance to win.
It's really interesting because you want a lot of melee
Have a chance to
pair
win.
alongside the Sejuani, but you want way less if you've got.
that we see a Renekton for Nuggery, Showmaker on Syndra, like
There's just too much already. Doctom Aphelios doesn't need an introduction after the last couple of games, but here we are onto Summoner's Rift, and as you can see, it is Game 5. This is what a lot of us expected would happen after Game 2. Have to admit, had my doubts.
And I will say, yeah, very much not in the way that we expected to get here,
That's the
right?
big one. Yeah.
Because Dalmon have just looked better and better and better each subsequent game. And you have to think that if GenG has a rough start to this one, it is going to be really hard just mentally to come back into that game because it has been all Damwon for back-to-back games. And even in that second one, it very nearly was their game as well.
Yeah, and I really do want to add some credit as well to the coaching staff. Like, just saying, Damwon, play comfort. It's Game 5. This is where the nerves really start to play a factor. Well, just play the champion that you have the most muscle memory on.
it's going in again.
Yeah, one more time.
He's
Canyon.
invading
It's a
already.
red start.
Yeah, just going to steal this one away if he
Oh
can.
my
and I don't
God,
think
he's-
it's been seen.
Circumventing the ward, he's gonna get 2 caps!
This is brilliant. Like, what are these level 1s? This guy is just too damn good.
He has all of these, pre-planned as well. Like, he's done this.
And wait, so what he's gonna do, I wonder, is he gonna camp this brush? He's gonna do red and then camp the brush and potentially wait right there for the Sejuani. You know, try to intercept him as Sejuani is coming down towards Krugs. I wonder if he'll do that or if he'll run straight towards the Krugs himself. Because we saw him in this last game, you know, when he was playing the Kayn, he got the invade and he looked for the scrap to farm.
There is also priority in both mid and bot side. Dr. McKellen have the advantage for level 2. Peanut's gonna find out.
Yeah, we'll notice that this one has been taken away. Of course, the vision was
Oh,
taken. As
that hit missed too.
50%.
Oh, he's showing.
Yeah, Peanut. He's not going to be able to start this one off. And I was really worried. I was like, how is he supposed to make sure that he's hitting the Sejuani as many times as possible to guarantee Red Kayn? Well,
Peanut's getting
is
countered.
have absolutely no way to farm his jungle because that's all Canyon wants to be at.
And look at Ruler and Lehens, right? If Kellen and Doctom can get this wave in, Lehens and Ruler can't come. This is so difficult, and Smite is actually available. It's not up for Peanut.
Oh.
Peanut did not have Smite. It just came up now. So Canyon is able to even smite that
Oh my
away,
God.
and the harassment continues.
Oh, Canyon going in, but of course.
Going to move on over. Shadow Step gets him over the wall.
And he's completely fine.
That's 3
And
camps
now
gone.
He can clear his entire top half of the jungle.
3 camps gone.
And this has been the game plan for Damwon in every single game. Early prio lanes to enable Canyon, and Canyon is delivering.
I mean, what can you say other than this is what a world championship player looks like, right? This is a world champion caliber jungler here. This guy is playing
my
like he
God.
is the best jungler in the world. He is dominating in this series. And when he gets ahead, he feels absolutely unstoppable.
Now Syndra's
How
gonna
impressive
ward,
he has been
so to see if he
on Peanut
comes
is
in.
just remarkable.
Yeah.
Oh, Kellen.
Oh, even that glitter lance from Kellen, just amazing. But Evan Flo should be able to help
Come
out
on,
here towards
come
the
on.
bottom side.
And what has been a part of the narrative for GenG for so long, and not just GenG, but also all these players that you see on the left half of your screen, is them being unable to cash in, right? Them having so many second places. And it was not until this summer that they were finally able to break free from that.
Oh, Kellen in a lot of trouble here towards the bottom side, but Docton gets a double grab
Nice.
at him to answer back still. The Lulu gonna have to be careful, and no summoner spells remain for the Lulu. Also heal invested by Docton, as I've seen this movie before, gentlemen, and it doesn't work out very well for the Peanuts.
It doesn't, and
Was this the buff that Syndra got buff?
how the
I'm
series
not
looked
sure.
When we go back to spring, right? This is exactly the same type of start. Damwon Kia again.
I don't
investing very
really look at
heavily
lead
early
patch.
game. And for GenG, if they are
Like,
able
I'm
to
only, like, gold,
withstand
plat
the
rank,
amount of
so
mental
I don't
pressure that are on
really
them, not
look at
just
buffs.
as a first seed from the LCK, but as a team that historically has struggled so much with actually performing at the highest level when it matters most.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at a guy like Chovy, and for years and years and years, people believe he is possibly, you know, the best laner in the entire world. He's one of the best mid laners in the entire world, but he just doesn't have the teammates. He just doesn't have the surrounding members to really get further in Worlds, and he's never been able to actually advance to the semifinals as a result. This year, there is no such excuse. It is put up or shut up for these players, and the pressure is absolutely monstrous you have to feel now at this point in the game.
Well,
Oh.
Doran throws his boomerang the wrong direction, and that might indicate that there are certainly some nerves here towards this top side at least.
I do want to highlight, though, this is how the game should go. If you look at these two respective drafts, Damwon needs to do this. If they are not able, even with Doctom's Aphelios, I think there's some caveat in the later stages of the game, but into the amount of range and hard engage that GenG have later on, you will have to respect, you will have to, again, start stacking those Drakes. So for GenG, as long as they don't give up too much gold, don't give up a lot of kills like happened the last time around, they should be able to find angles back into this game.
I mean, there's definitely going to be angles, but I will say, this is nowhere close to the scaling advantage that they had in, for example, the Azir Lulu Jinx game, right? You know, I do think you're looking at Victor versus Syndra, and you're saying,
I'm still rooting for DK here. I want DK to win, okay?
Like Sejuani and Kayn and saying, okay, potentially there as well.
I want
But
DK to
the
win.
thing is, when you're this far ahead as Canyon, the scaling doesn't really factor into it that much. So I don't think that GenG get a free pass just to play for
they
late.
don't.
I think that they have got to be competitive in the early stages too, because this is a composition that can just run over you. And when you're looking at Lulu Aphelios, you heavily favor the scaling that they have compared to this Lucian Nami. So, you know, really, it might be a slight edge to GenG, but I feel like it's kind of a wash.
Yeah, one thing I do want to say is that Doran on this Nah in times in the past has found so many of
This
these
game
clutch
goes
plays.
the
In last
distance.
game,
Well, let's
absolutely
see
didn't,
what
but
happens. Let's
a
see what
lot
happens.
of the plays that made us really realize that Doran is
I
a
thought
top
it's gonna be
caliber
like
player
either a
were on
3-0
this
clean
chart
sweep
able to
or a
find
3-1.
those
Okay, that's what I
moments.
thought.
We'll see whether he can here in the game.
'Cause
in
GenG
game
looks so
number
much
5, because
better.
If he does, that's when
Right?
GenG fans
Since,
truly
like, looking at all
realize
their games
that
so
this
far,
is a player
GenG
to be
looks so
relied
much
upon.
better.
It's Canyon
But
who's just
DK came a
continuing
long
to
way. Oh,
course.
come on.
And to me, the deciding factor in this game has been
Oh.
GenG has been unable to
Oh,
win
he's
any
not
skirmish.
spotted.
It's always been the team fights, the 5v5, sure, but they need to get to that stage, and Domon is making it so hard for him as Canyon, at the very least, looking to farm some orbs, and look at him, just outside of vision range.
Yeah, he knows the ward is there, but he's just waiting to see if GenG's bot lane overcommits, he'll go for them, but otherwise, he just takes the red on respawn, right? Like, he is just living in his opponent's jungle. He is always there on
Living in
respawn.
opponent's
Peanut's
jungle.
gonna get the bad news. I mean, what can he do about it? He can't win the 1v1, and he can't even really walk the dangerous way because he knows that Canyon could be there, and it's gonna be another red buff going that way. I will say, though, Canyon has not been able to scrap with Peanut as much as he would want. In the previous game, we saw a 10-minute transform. It does not feel like he's anywhere close to that sort of a pace, you know, because he was not only hitting Peanut a lot in that game, he was also hitting the top lane a lot. So he was farming so many of those orbs.
And it's really interesting, especially for Kane versus Sejuani, where as Kane you want melee champions, and so does Sejuani, but neither of them have them. As Canyon.
Yeah, Blades Reach is going to come through, but just base Kane not exactly going to be doing what he wants to do, especially in comparison to Rast form. that he could
Syndra's
potentially
coming
have,
down.
And he just wants to keep hitting Peanut as often as he can. Peanut's going to stick around down here, though, foregoing a lot of his jungle to see whether he can defend this bottom side as Chovy rotating over.
Oh
Ward
my.
goes down. Vision
Oh
available.
my. Oh,
Scandalwing avoided by
the stun
Chovy.
missed. The stun missed.
Somehow, and the gravity field comes in here. Canyon just wearing the Chaos Storm. And Chovy answering beautifully in mid.
Yeah, doing a great job, but Noguri
That was a nice dodge. That was a nice side step.
In that pit. Perhaps just clearing out a ward. No,
Oh,
he had
taking
he
it
had
for a
to
walk.
the Herald. That's nice. You know, Shelly spends a lot of time in that pit.
Well,
She
exactly.
deserves
It's
to
not
get
healthy.
out.
You need to get out and move.
And it's been 5 games, you know, and often
She
they
sticks
just
to a
leave it
lot.
and pick it up that way. So,
what?
Waller just going to throw the
Flanking.
culling at them. Tidal Wave
Oh,
comes in.
oh, docked him.
Wild Growth comes through. Can he answer back?
Oh my god.
God, the Moonlight Vigil's so good, but Ruler able to get himself
Holy
out.
shit.
And I thought that was the catch GenG needed.
When will we stop giving Dr. Mephalios? This just keeps happening.
I think it might be semi-finals, I don't know.
Unbelievable. As we're scrapping.
Well, Umbral Trespass is going to come through. Peanut just going to bring Canyon as far away as possible. The flash going to come through. That is a fantastic glacial prison as Peanut has to now flash away. Showmaker doing a fair bit of work here as he threw the ultimate through as the Eye of the Herald is going to come over and the flash has to come
Peanut got the
out.
eye.
That is Herald going over to GenG, some much needed momentum.
And that's pivotal. Canyon had to smite early there to make sure that he didn't die. And as a result, a little bit disjointed. This is a really, really big win for GenG because it buys them so much time.
Absolutely, and as much as it has been an impressive amount of pressure from Canyon, at the end of the day, what is the advantage? You know, it's 400 gold. The Renekton didn't actually have Prio there critically up in the top lane. It was the Gnar coming down first. Renekton could not get there, so as you say, Canyon doesn't have this early transform. He's pressured off, has to early smite. They lose the Herald. They lose Flash off of both Canyon and Showmaker. Flash recently lost as well on Noguri. And you start to realize, hey, GenG, I think, are going to be pretty happy about their positioning in this game.
Yep. And it's game 5, and you can see Doran using Cube's skin as well. Cube, of course, was very well known for being pretty good in those game 5s, especially in the regional gauntlet. So a bit of a shout out there. We don't see a lot of using former teams.
It's so nerve-wracking. Game 5, it's 10 minutes in, there's no
So
kills
I
yet.
like the shout out there from Doran, who does do it almost every time he plays now.
And overall, the amount of pressure that Domon was able to generate in the very early game, I think would have really snowballed if they had gotten that Herald. But now, GenG is on a, at least, I think, if you're in much better pace. We do see the early Merc threats being picked up by Chovy. And if they can pick up an early Drake, as Kellen needs to be careful.
Well, I mean, it's also worth checking out on the fact no Drakes have been taken.
Yeah.
Right? You know, we look back to the previous game where it was like, all right, they really have to snowball. Well, they took a 630 Drake. I don't think the pressure is on in the same way to snowball in this game as we had talked about in that previous one. But we are 11:30 into the game. They didn't get the first Herald. They haven't taken any dragons. And when Herald gets dropped here, by Chovy, he can actually get solo play gold, which is very nice for the Victor and a rare situation for a mid laner to have. Plus, that's going to just even out all of the difference in the gold lead, right? Like, that is the difference right now, is these couple plates that he's going to get.
Yep, Gale Force now completed here as well for Doctom, which is very, very important. But I do want to, head towards this mid lane and talk about Chovy. The fact that he has been actually falling behind in lane over the last couple of games compared to Showmaker. This time around, though, basically free lane, 10 CS up right now on the Victor, who is generally very, very stable. Of course, two limited mobility laners in that mid lane, so it should just be a trade, but Chovy seems back to his old ways as Canyon and Doran just saying hi to each other, but the Shadow Step should allow Canyon to get one over, as now Noguri just going to be alongside Canyon, zoning Doran away.
I actually really like what Doran tried to do there. Knowing that his team is playing on the bottom half of the map, he tried to take away camps to deny them to Canyon. Not going to be the case. Canyon is there in time. Chovy, as you were saying earlier, Azil, picks himself up the early solo plate gold. And Doran is actually doing a really good job there, I think, of denying a bigger snowball. Does give up a plate or two, but you can't stay near a turret anyway because you would get dove.
Oh.
And Chovy also bullying out this Kane out of his jungle.
Yeah, now the gravity field going to come through here as Canyon should at least be able to
That's coming.
try and pressure this.
This is
one.
not looking good.
Being invested, and Peanut from Fog of War not going to
Oh,
find
that's
it,
not
but
good.
Still a lot of damage. Canyon secures the blue buff. Not entirely sure whether that was worth, but it's still going to be first blood going over to GenG.
Yeah, the only explanation I have there is Canyon thought he was dead to rights and decides he's going to get XP and a little bit of gold before he goes down. He had no flash, and I believe his E was on cooldown, so definitely a huge first blood going the other way, and Showmaker now no flash.
Oh,
either.
this is not good.
Hands is surfing down as well. Aqua Prison not quite going to find it, but still, this is GenG coming on.
Come on, Ken.
Chovy secures the second one.
And especially on a pick like Victor that skills and snowballs so well, if he picks up a couple of early assists, helps him towards those evolutions. GenG looking revitalized here in game number 5.
There's the null. The Wallop has to be flashed. Boulders flying through, but there are minions in the way, so Noguri's going to survive for now. You can hear New York coming alive in favor of GenG right now, but Damwon not out of it just yet. I mean, it's like, what,
It's barely
600 gold?
It starts to feel like all eggs in the Doctom basket, though.
Hey.
Things not looking that
That's
good.
where the eggs belong, Azale. That is
That's
where
where you're
they
supposed
belong.
to put them.
I mean, Noguri, losing out of that 1v1 very heavily against, it was literally parts of a Phage and Tabby's when he already had the Bork completed. Showmaker, dies there. The kills goes to Chovy. Chovy also got solo plate gold, so Chovy is over 1,000 now, 1,200 gold ahead in that 1v1.
Oh, Peanut coming down, looking for Doctom. Winter's Wrath is good as Canyon is going to move in. He detected a melee champion on the Rift, and immediately he's there. But Peanut's going to back away, and Canyon remaining patient as they get the shove towards this outer turret bottom lane.
And considering the history of these two teams and how much they have fought, how hard fought every single game has been, the sidesteps on these bubbles from Callan, absolutely impeccable. But these two teams know each other so well, and I think it's
So Doctom still get first tower, even though Genji got hurt.
Doctom says, thank you very much for the first turret bot. Solo gold going over to this Thalios, and even though I don't think the front line is nearly as good, and Noguri clearly going for the Prowler's Claw build again. With a Lulu, I've seen Doctom.
Prowler's Claw again?
Yeah, I have a lot of concerns about what the contribution from Canyon is going to be in this game, though.
Prowler's Claw
He is
against a
very
Victor.
far down where he wants to be now. Yes, he still has to have a farm advantage, but he's actually down on gold to the Sejuani. He doesn't even have his transform as far as I can see. So it is looking really, really rough. You talk back to last game, he just non-stop got those skirmishes. Peanut has basically just avoided them. He's just refused to give him those fights, and he's the only melee champion on the map, so he can't get the transform.
Yeah, and a lot of the early game we were talking about Peanut, he's playing so scared, this isn't working out, but maybe it's just Peanut recognizing the fact that if Canyon never hits him, it's going to be a much better time for them in the long run. And so that is why he's been playing that way. As I say that, he's just going to walk on over. Canyon brought out of the wall there for a moment.
Come on, Peanut! Atlas is trying to make a point.
Yeah.
How dare you? What I love, though, is Peanut, when you go back and you watch that Spring 2022 Finals Game 5 VOD, It's Peanuts. Like,
I don't think that's a good
We
idea.
can do this. The man is getting absolutely demolished. Has
His
zero
ego
jungle
is
cap.
not in this
No.
game anymore.
Well, that's the
he
point.
just plays for his teammates. As there's the
Oh.
culling, Ruler is going to take Showmaker
Oh.
down to 50% health. And the Syndra is going to have to get out of there. Something has changed in GenG. You can feel it.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting that confidence back that we saw in those earlier games. They're getting that swagger.
GenG's
What's
playing
the
really,
long
really
lead, though?
careful,
They did TP
okay?
up Doran, and Noguri stays bot, so we'll at least get the push. There'll be a couple minions denied here. We'll see if Dom over the wall can get anything done.
Canyon dashing forward, just wanting to continue denying camps. But Doran pretty happy about this. And Base Kane, not really going to be the threat that he was in game number 1. As Showmaker now just getting enclosed on, had to flash. And knew that he was going to have to burn it. And Dummonk here well and truly on the back foot,
Yeah.
even though they still have a gold lead.
I mean, it's a tough one. You know, they do have that gold lead here, but it lies to you a little bit, I think, you know, based on the state of the game. They have no dragons. They haven't really been able to push the game forward that much. They are TPing in here to try to prevent a dive, but there's no wave anymore.
Yeah, Noguri's going to go for it here as the gravity field's going to come down. Chovy taking a lot of damage.
Dang.
Yeah, serrated Dirk and Blade of the Ruin King. Noguri does a lot of work there, but still has to invest a fair bit. And Chovy, his flash is now on cooldown. That's definitely good. But this Drake
Okay.
going over to GenG.
So
their
2
second
Hurl,
game.
2
Still a
Dragon
win,
down.
I'd say for GenG, because yes, Dogdom gets more gold, but we are already seeing the fact that GenG is like, okay, we are still maintaining some semblance of control. We're trading 2 Drakes, which means effectively, even if Domon in the next 5 minutes completely take over the game, GenG can say, okay, that's fine. We'll just hang back and wait till we hit, for example, a death cap on Chovy, and we're going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's no ability to actually force them to come fight at these dragons if they don't want to. And we are now 18 minutes in. Canyon, just now I saw the notification in chat, is near to his transform, right? He had a 10-minute completed transform in the last time he actually played this. So, you know, you talk about trying to take over in the next 5 minutes. At the very minimum, you need to get the transform on Kane before you can really do much of anything. And Kane from behind is just so useless.
Yeah.
You know, Kane from ahead, especially red Kane, can just become this drain tanking champion that you can't really punch through.
I'm even wondering, because we have seen Kane's
Blue
go, well, exactly.
With
Because,
Conqueror
I don't,
and
well,
Wardrinker.
well, that's the thing. We've seen both Red Kane, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
And as we see,
He's going Black Lever.
yeah, okay, there's no way.
Still hasn't transformed.
No, he
Oh,
doesn't have it yet.
God.
'Cause He's
Still
near.
no.
Like you do get some passive generation or
Yeah.
whatever. Like eventually
You
will
will
get
get there, but
it. But it's gonna be 20 minutes or later before he
double
even
the
has
time.
It. Yeah.
Now he's going
Can't
to
find
shadow step
anything.
forward. Yeah, exactly right. Peanut going to come forward, and Canyon's like, oh, melee champion. But he's not going to be able to get there. And GenG just getting so much control. This outer turret, and this is what Ruler loves to do. Just donates the culling right into the bottom lane of Damwon Kia, even though they didn't want it.
And the amount of times we've seen Ruler do this exact move throughout the entirety of summer is insane, right? Like, this is why his Lucian was so highly prioritized by this team, because it helps them so much with taking these mid-game stalemates and turning them into a win for GenG. As
Oh.
Peanut has done it again. The
Oh.
gravity field is there, the Chaos Storm as well. And yep, you can
Showmaker
scatter,
did-
but
he
this
didn't back
is
at the
not
right
weak
place.
that you're aiming towards.
No, I mean, and Canyon, you know, not able to actually
3-0.
get any sort of pressure here that you would hope against this Sejuani. You would hope that you'd be playing from so far ahead, but it's Peanut really looking strong now in the fifth game, this final game here. And even if the ulti didn't hit, Showmaker's just so far up, you had to think he was dead. He has no flash.
And the amount of times, we've spoken about it already, how many teams Peanut's been on not being able to claim the major prize. And often, he has found himself making ego plays later on. Things like his Lee Sin have definitely been detriments, often in later stages, where Peanut, they're relying on him so much, doesn't actually come through. But this year, it's been very different. as
Finally,
20
finally,
minutes.
20 minutes.
And Rust is going to be employed. That is a late transformation, but still, it has come on in. But I'm just so proud of Peanut for being able to get right back on the horse here in game number 5. This is maximum pressure, and he's looking great.
And regardless of the outcome, like, these two teams have delivered so much more than I think was respected of both.
Oh, yeah.
Damwon, after the summer, has had such an incredible resurgence, bringing GenG to 5 games, even if it doesn't end up working out in the way that they did, is incredible. And for the flip side on GenG, to be known as a team that struggle so much with actually following through, maintaining this level of composure is looking very, very good.
Absolutely, you know, and they do have that pressure on them. You know, Peanut, you talk about his struggles. For him, it's been more international. The man has won LCK titles on 4
Yeah, no,
different
he's
teams.
very good at that. But once it gets to the maximum pressure, that's when things do fall apart.
Doran. Spotted.
And things are going to be so much down to execution now. You know, Noguri going for this Prowler's Claw build, it is so glass cannon. If you can find that perfect flank, you can really make it happen. But if you cannot, you are just going to be useless.
Oh, another culling to come through, and that is a back massage that they didn't ask for. Still, Ruler going to back away, and this is just the poke Lucian style that he's played all year long.
And we talked about GenG, or Domon rather, not getting any Drake, so GenG can peel off Drake. What if they just take the Drake and they're going to be at like 27 minutes soul point with an Infernal Soul? Because I agree. I think if you look at the item break points, the only one that is remotely strong on the side of Damwon is Nuguri, and maybe if we look at the Bloodthirster finish, I think Dogdom can have an impact, but...
Oh, this is a squishy Renekton, remember? And so Doran, starting to feel himself, can do a lot of work onto Noguri.
And you just look at the vision, right? As I was highlighting, there's really just some very shallow vision. They have nothing kind of across that midpoint here. It's very difficult for Damwon to be able to get their way in, but clearly they want to contest here. They are moving up, and Ruler
Just dashing forward. Canyon
my.
has to try and get himself out, but he is out of this fight completely. Boulder Toss flying forward from the Gnar.
They're going to keep going.
Yeah, they are on this Drake already, and you can see now it's a mini Gnar trying to play bodyguard, but the gravity field's going to be there as well. Chaos Storm going to come through, so many flashes, going to try and get Damwon Kier out, and Noguri is sowing.
Oh shit!
Prowler's Claw, but it is just a Nami, and going 1-for-1 Nami for Renekton, you're probably okay with that if you are GenG, but it might give Damwon the in. They're not wanting to go for any sort of flip. This 4v4 is something that GenG want to try and take themselves, given the health bars. But like you say, Dogdom, no Moonlight Vigil now, but he's still dangerous. Meanwhile, on the top side, Showmaker is just soloed out by Doran. He's not done yet, as he's now trying to fight Dogdom, but that could be dangerous to all of us.
Oh, that's not good.
And now, Ruler shows up. GenG should be able to get to the soul point. And it's a double kill outside of it. Oh my god, never mind.
Cannon stole Dragon.
The Drake.
that is actually so big because that
Cannon
should have
stole
been
Dragon.
GenG at soul point there. Still, it's moving more and more towards GenG, and they're going to go for the Baron here. Can he use both his smite charges? Because he used one on the Gromp to heal up, so he has no smite here for a little bit. We'll see if they can get there.
Health bars are low. Showmaker's teleport is alive in 8 seconds. Juicy Canyon making his way over. Will get spotted though.
Oh, and Canyon now in trouble. Does manage to get the Blades reach, and it's doing a lot of work as far as that healing is concerned as well. Doran now with the Narbar charging up Noguri. Trying to get on top of Lahens, but there's the Umbral Trespass. The Baron! It's actually peeled away from, but still, Nami once again dead, but Kane's also going to go down. Now no jungler.
Yeah, no jungler, but the health bars are too low, and the resets have come through, so they can't actually do it. So you get both sums off Lahens, you kill him, you do trade back Cadian, but you prevent that. And we have to watch here one more time. The culling cooldown was actually so key because this fight was so extended that it did come back up. But you look at the initial play, Noguri going in and just deleting him.
And that's what you have to do when you play this Renekton build, right? You see why it's valued. The problem here, though, is that in the extended fight, we see the range advantage is big, and Dogdom doesn't have IE yet. Used his Moonlight Vigil early on, and Doran, as you pointed out in the past, Atlas has done this, finds it here on Gnar as well. But this might end up, if Damwon pull it back, this might be a
Peanut left.
This is a heist.
Peanut didn't even know, I think, until way too late. And Candy finished. Oh, wait, did he finish it with an auto? Did he not even have his smite?
There was an auto.
Yeah, I think he didn't even have his smite, and Peanut knows it. He's like, no, darn it.
How dare you?
But
One
still in a good spot.
Drake, not exactly
It's
going to
still
be
a
the
big
end of the
win
world.
for GenG.
But I will say, that could be a difference maker because that buys them time, right? Now you have Dogdom inching closer and closer towards IE, and he is going IE third. It's not an LDR build. He already has the BF sword.
Oh God.
He's just going to get 100 to 0 during that CC. Peanut finding the angles after such a sad game 4 to come back and find these opportunities. Amazing work from Peanut. As now, Damwon Kia are looking for it onto Doran. We're going to cut the video. We don't want to look at it as GenG are going to push in.
Come on,
this
base,
inhibitor
man.
turret. Yeah, he's actually lasting a very long time as the Umbral
He's
Trespass
fine.
comes
He's
in.
gonna get out.
Yeah, exactly right. He's going to have the Mega Gnar available as well. Pushes Canyon away, but
This is
Nuggery's
not
gonna dive on
worth.
top, but still, look at the amount of space that he's bought. The inhibitor is going to be the trade. What is it? Base for
Nexus
Nah?
towers.
You're probably not going to want that.
Oh my god, the chase there, it's such a commitment. I thought Tubu were going to back off, so I thought he would actually get out. They do get the kill, but you're losing your tier 3 plus the mid lane inhibitor there for just the one kill onto the Gnar. It even cost them the flash on Canyon, I believe, and now GenG out of the map here, trying to reclaim all of the vision control around the Baron.
I don't want to lose either of these teams. Can we make it a best of 7? Is that okay? Can
Yes,
we do
please.
more?
I'm down.
Yeah,
we'll
right?
make an executive
Everyone,
call
can
here.
We
Best of
build a
7?
losers bracket right now.
Come
Can
on.
we build a
build it right
losers
now.
bracket? Can we
You can
build a
put it in my
losers
house.
bracket?
I'm okay with it.
We'll go back to Freak's basement just like season
Yes,
1.
please,
No
please.
problem, we can do that.
Yeah.
As overall, there is so much to be said. Every single time these two teams have faced, it's been incredible. But you know who came out on top?
It was GenG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Feeling that way.
Yeah, I mean, they are looking
5K
like
go
they are in
down,
such
we
a good
still have a
spot. The pressure
chance.
is on for Damwon. They need to find one of those big plays here. I mean, Chovy is just so monstrously ahead here. A full completed item up on Showmaker. This Syndra is just really not threatening whatsoever. So, you know, if you're trying to craft a way to win the fights, I think it has to be about creating space for Dom, finding one of those incredible Inferno Ultas, or Nuggery getting into the backline and instantly killing someone like Ruler. It has to be a big target. It can't just be Lehens.
It goes back to the adaptation that both Damwon and GenG have shown in the best of 5. Because initially, it was Ban Yumi, as we found out after 2 games.
Yeah.
Shocking turn of events. But then, it was Damwon's early jungle pressure was
Oh.
Yeah, Peanut has just found Showmaker here. Of course, ulting the Sejuani is something you definitely don't want. The ult is going to go wide, but the Permafrost is still going to be there. Doran wrapping around. Canyon will turn up. The Boomerang's good to slow Canyon down, but Scatter the Weak is fantastic, and GenG going to have to back away.
But I mean, look how unthreatened he is, right? Like, yes, he does
doesn't
straight out his
care.
ulti, but he
He
has
is
a
a
lot
monster.
of CDR and just kind of walking straight at Showmaker. And this is the problem. It's like, sure, if Showmaker could get a full ulti on Ruler, that would matter. But barring that, you pop it on Chovy, he's gonna Zonias. You pop it on Peanut or Dorian, they don't care. It's so difficult for Showmaker to get towards the targets that he really needs to access unless they can control vision and have their opponents face checking into them. But then you look at the vision, and again, it's so difficult, right? Like, there's 0 wards in this entire side of the map. There's nothing there for them to really be able to kind of create those pockets where they
Third
can
dragon.
find it.
Well, now GenG are going to be able to take their first Infernal Drake of the game. That will be Soul Point now, but you can see Damwon Kia not actually going to challenge for it. They use this time, right, to try and build up to get that
IE's
opportunity.
done.
And there is the IE from Doc Dom.
Do you believe?
That's if you're a Damwon fan, if you're on Damwon, you have to, because he is your ticket to the semifinals. I don't think anyone else can get you there. It has to be Dom stepping up in this key moment. I don't think that Canyon or Showmaker can do it from this positioning.
What about
Nuggery.
Serrated Dirk that's just
Hey,
being completed?
Sarilda? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, Sarilda.
Surreal us.
Well, I mean, that's a one-shot waiting to happen if you can get to Ruler, but if it's on Chovy and he gets an early Zonias,
Come on, shouldn't be
He's
out
seen
here.
this play before. He's just going to dive right on top of Kellen. He's an afterthought. Ruler's just going to tap him on the way out. Doc Dom does have some decent long-range guns as Canyon going to be spotted on the flank. And GenG,
run.
yeah, they're going to take the first kill and see if they can take down the jungler. That would mean Baron, and that could mean the game. And Canyon, he's got Shadow Step. Very difficult to catch up, but still. GenG just going to try and bring him to them, I guess. Could certainly do that by just starting off the Baron.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Think that, especially with Callan still down, a lot of the defensive power available for Doc Dom
Oh.
is not there.
Oh,
Oh
jeez.
my god.
Wow. Okay, well, Showmaker is now very low on health as Peanut's going to face check, but he can do that. Tidal Wave comes through. Doc Dom looking for his opportunity. Moonlight Vigil is going to find nothing. On the flank is Canyon.
Cannon. Oh, massive. Massive.
Damwon Kia, they found it one more time. Chovy, he goes golden as now Peanut's trying to do it. Can Chovy
Holy
get
shit.
there? Doc Dom
Oh,
uses it. And Damwon Kia,
Oh my
they
god.
may have found their way
Oh my
back
god.
in, and they won the series.
And I said he couldn't do it, but I should never.
Oh
have
my
gone
God.
Canyon, the three-man knockup
That
into the
three-
sky of the week, and Dom Juan
Holy shit.
are back into the game. The Baron will be theirs, and we
Holy
are
shit.
witnessing one of the best
Why did
series
Nuguri just die?
we have seen in so long.
As Nuguri
Why did Nuguri just
says,
die?
I don't care, I don't need Baron buff. And unironically, in this Red Bull Baron power play, that Cyrilda's grudge finish is the reason why Peanut goes to like, what is it,
He almost got
30,
one-shot.
40% health here. Like, look at this. I can't believe it's Renekton.
It's the
Look at
Empower
this.
W, the
Yeah.
burst there, the PTA procs, and answers the
Jesus.
damage here. But then watch the top of your screen. It's all about Canyon. As they group up, they come forward. Look at this knockup. He finds positioning. Three-man knockup. Ult into scatter from Showmaker. He hits everyone. Four-man scatter there. I doubted him. I never should have. Cannon and Showmaker make it happen. Items be damned. Game state be damned. These guys are
God.
so clutch. It is
Oh my God.
unreal.
Look
Oh, I know.
at
They can't even
Zephyr's
believe it.
face. You can see Bertle in the back there as well. Just mind-blowing. And I agree, 100%. Because when I saw that Moonlight Vigil go wide, I was like, pack it up, boys.
The range of emotions.
Yeah. And score.
Oh, I mean, they know what that means. That was a 1K shutdown, by the way, on Chovy. That went into the pocket of Canyon. Not exactly the guy you want to be getting back in the game here. Dogdom as well now has the last whisper completed. Look at Showmaker's
Showmaker.
damage. That ulti into scatter, everything connected on everyone. Everyone was so grouped up. They all get knocked up. They all get AoE'd there by Showmaker. That was like the ideal fight. You couldn't have drawn it up better for Domwon. It's just unreal that they found the angle.
And
But
it's not
is
over
it
yet.
enough?
That's
Is
the,
it
yeah.
enough? Right?
Might not be, right? You know, it's 1 minute here. GenG just need to collect themselves. Stay calm. You're still playing from a point of power here. You're still a little bit up in gold, but the Baron buff does do a lot to eliminate that, and they will still have it when the Dragon spawns.
And now it's going to be Domwon Kia's turn to face check GenG. As Doctom just walking towards Peanut. Not a lot of fear on this man with that full shield built up from his Bloodthirster. GenG move back towards that Fog of War. 35 seconds on Infernal Soul.
Come on.
One key thing to note, Doctom, no flash. That is so massive if they can find the angle to get in on him. But a lot of the playmakers on the side of GenG don't have flash either.
They're once again just going in on top of Peanut. He might
Oh,
have just
Peanut's
been
dead.
put out of position here as Lahens wants to find a heal. The tidal wave, have they overextended? The answer is no, he just gets trespassed. Canyon flashes away and they lose their jungler. That is going to mean no Drake and Domwon Kia. They extend it again.
And the key thing here is that GenG sure is at soul point, but that only buys you time, and if every subsequent fight keeps going the way of Damwon Kia, at some point the hesitation, the fear has got to set in, and for GenG, I don't know what's worse, losing those 2 games or feeling like you're losing control of this one.
I think it has to be this one because they
All
were
of the
playing,
above.
they were
Oh my
playing from such a
God.
point of power. Peanut here, was this a failed Q into the wall? It did look like it. Did he get knocked? Oh, it's the scatter. It
Yeah.
interrupts
Oh.
it. The scatter interrupts him going over the wall into the knockup. Again, Showmaker and Canyon, they can't keep getting away with it.
They can't. I can't believe that after the early game where Chovy had looked so
How?
good, like,
How?
I don't know, Azale.
He's
God
not
damn.
human.
I think he is. I'm having a look.
34
He's
minutes.
right there.
He's not human, he's a polar bear. I don't know what you guys are talking about. As
34
now,
minutes.
Damwon Kia
Game could
being
go either
able
way.
to stack, especially if they get a Furf or even possibly a fourth with how this game is going. I don't know if it's ever going to end. Infernal Drake is going to give them so much offensive power, and I do think that they might run into issues with things like the Renekton, like the Syndra, if you don't have burst potential. But right now, they're feeling completely fine.
Look at this though, death cap completed there for Chovy. Ruler now has that GA as well. He's on 4 items. The 2 key carries here on GenG's side, still having great games and are really picking up those itemization. You know, they're looking really, really good. You look at Showmaker, he's still an entire death cap behind Chovy. So yes, Damwon is getting some momentum. Yes, they are playing really well from this point. But if Chovy can have one good team fight on the Victor, that may be all they need to really close this one out.
It's not just Chovy, Ruler as well, as you point out. Like, the amount of defensive
Yeah.
itemization for GenG as a whole is the one thing that Damwon somehow need to play around. And it's As much as I think Doctor or Noguri and Showmaker have been pivotal, it's gonna go down to the consistent damage that he's able to do in a fight. Because just the burst, I think with the itemization that GenG has, will not be enough.
We have to remember the last team fight that they took as well, the Moonlight Vigil went wide.
Yeah.
This is a 4-item Aphelios. If that hits, like, everyone's dead, and it's possibly just game over. And especially from this point in the game, it almost definitely is. This Canyon be able to get out of there, no worries.
I mean, the pressure is just mounting and mounting and mounting. Noguri closing on his GA. It is now complete. That is massive for him because you are just a torpedo on this champion, right? You go in, you try to one-shot someone, and then you die. The GA really allows you to play in such a way that it's very difficult. But you can see GenG trying to invade, take over the top side jungle here. Are really trying to make it difficult. But
Cannon's just going to dash on in. The Umbral Trespass is going to come down as well, and he has to get out early. He is going to do so. Wild Growth, it will keep the Kane alive, but that is a defensive cooldown that they will no longer have. Inner turret goes down. Damwon Kia, everyone's alive.
And they didn't have the Renekton in there, so GenG smell a moment of weakness, get themselves a quick turret, and here you also see the advantage in terms of range that they have. If the Victor can just really poke, Noguri, he's fine. He's a crocodile, makes his way to the water.
And there's a grand total of 0 wards from Damwon in that topside jungle. They have nothing, no vision whatsoever. They are getting choked out, and that is where it gets dangerous. They do know with mid prio now, some of GenG's show. So Canyon moves in, tries to retake that vision control. That is LDR done now, and stopwatch is available for Doctom. He also has the flashback. These summoners become so critical in the later stages.
As you said, it's all execution now. Right, like we're pretty much dead even. Both
one fight
have,
or
like,
one
great
fight.
scaling parts. I know.
He's lying in wait.
He's underneath the water. He is getting closer.
Nostrils poking
Nostrils
out.
flaring. Absolutely.
You can feel it. It's very, very frightening. And now with the GA, he could possibly get 2 rounds of spells, which I think is way too many. Even one was doing so much damage. As now Canyon looking for Peanut off to the side. Peanut still looking for these angles.
Showmaker has even popped a potion here, knowing that it's potentially going to come down to this one fight. This late into the game, 40 minutes in, the death timers get very, very long. If you have a wave, it could be it.
Doctom gonna have to get out of the way of that one. Does do so. Gale Force now on cooldown. Canyon also not taking too much damage here. Noguri still just trying to make sure that he stays in the dark. But all of these death rays from Chovy hurt so much. And now this could be it. Noguri on the flank wants that opportunity. Doctom not going to be stunned by the gravity field. Still just out of range of it. GenG staying. Phalanx complete. Noguri and Canyon off to the side. Ruler thinks he may have spotted the flank here. Does do so. Tidecaller's Blessing comes down as well. Another double tap. The Canyon survives. And Damwon Kia, they're just going to move over. They want to grab themselves. This Baron is... Canyon going to get caught out by the Gnar, but it's only one for Doran. That is not enough value. Exactly. Doctom holding onto it, though. The culling up again as well here for Ruler.
So nerve-wracking.
That is critical. There's no Mega Gnar for a while now, but GenG do have mid-prio. They're going to try to pull Doctom and the rest of the team back towards them. Will Damwon look for a fight here? Canyon has healed up.
If you're going to use an ultimate, though, Doran's ult is the one you want to use, because it's already back.
But the key thing here is Drake is up, Ruler is soloing it, and that might be Infernal Soul here for GenG.
Yeah, now Peanut's going to spot Canyon moving out. The rest of GenG are going to respect Damwon Kia as the flash comes through from Chovy.
Wait.
It should be as can Canyon do it again. The culling flies down. They want it. Canyon does it again, but can they win the fight? Is the question. Doran is there with ulti available. Doctom is so scary.
No flash.
But Nami for Renekton. Showmaker also dead. Doctom once again misses the Moonlight Vigil. The
my God.
one, but how does he get away with this?
Oh my God.
Canyon is just so insane. The best jungler in the world.
Oh my God.
There is no shot. He keeps pulling it off. He gets through, he steals it away. That is 3 straight Infernals. This is starting to be a problem. The amount of additional ADAP this late in the game is massive for a Syndra and Aphelios. He has been such a difference maker, even when set behind.
Starting to be a problem. Did you see what Noguri did to the enemy backline? That's insane.
Oh.
It must be so scary to be a Nami in this game, I have to say.
Look. Oh my God.
Oh no, I mean, Peanut just gave him a taxi straight to it.
Yeah.
Peanut walked back towards it while he's in the Umbral Trespass, so he was in the ulti.
Watch this, you think, okay, we proc GA, we're fine, no problem, we're winning the fight. What?
Oh my God.
I mean, that's some damage there, for sure. Nice sidestep from Doran, keeps himself alive. But but we've got to track again. So what summoners were spent? So Showmaker, Canyon, Noguri all down their flashes. Chovy down a flash, Lahen's down a flash, Doran down a flash. So Ruler and Duckdom critically do still have it. Both mid laners are missing it. You look at the damage done, I mean, it's been all GenG, but it's not the way the fights are looking.
Nope. It's what happens in these 5v5s that's the most pivotal. And even though Chovy and Ruler are so far ahead, a lot of it is incidental. A lot of it is that poke damage.
It's 41 minutes.
Coming through one
It's
more
41
time
minute.
here for Doran. And Damwon Kier, I think
Come on,
they're
come
looking
on,
for their
DK.
opportunity to find this fight. Dom, great team fighting guns right now. The extra range, that Calibrum going to be available. Send him there as well, very, very important. It's GenG just standing behind Peanut.
It's knowing as well, like this is game 5, we're 42 minutes in. If you make one mistake, the game ends.
It's over.
That's it. It's immediately done. But as Damwon especially, you don't really have any hard engage. You only have pick.
Look
so
at this
their
ward.
movements.
The ward to the
so
left,
big.
Chovy standing on top of it. They are going to sweep it out.
It's also worth noting that Showmaker has been on 3 items for so long, and he has no gold. He's been spending all of his gold on sorcery elixirs because he is feeling that it is all about
Every
this next
fight is the next fight.
Exactly, but it means that his item progression has completely halted, right? It had been a full death cap advantage for Chovy for a long time.
They're going to turn on to
That's
Canyon.
not good.
Another Umbral Trespass is going to come in as the ulti goes completely wide. The culling into the back of Canyon, though. Wild Growth keeps him up. A lot of cooldowns now have been used, but it's on both sides of the rift.
That might be Baron, but Damwon, they don't want to get into space. They immediately rush towards mid. Canyon now going to find a camp, going to be able to heal up.
Yeah, going to go towards that Brambleback now with the red buff available as well. Even more regen as GenG slink off towards this Baron. The burst damage probably not there. Damwon smelling blood in the water. Doran just going to walk his way out Dead Man's Plate. That extra movement speed, very important.
Taking the red was so critical because
Jesus.
Canyon didn't have an extra smite charge, so he couldn't actually spend the smite to heal up. So he takes the red buff there to get that regen in, but he doesn't have the ulti and they have no vision. They are choked out.
Oh dear, Canyon gonna have to dash away.
Running.
It is a little bit, the Reaping Slash is not a lot of distance, but he still gets out.
No
Scat of the
side
week,
lanes.
just barely. Yeah, side lanes don't exist.
Everyone
Riley.
in mid.
Stop talking about those, Chronicler. This is the K-Ram. That's where we exist now. 5,000 gold, the lead for GenG, but it is so irrelevant. And now, GenG gonna try and burst this down. It is so late in the game, this Baron should just be gone. We can see already down to 5,000.
Can he steal
Canyon,
it? Can
if
he
you
steal
do
it?
it again. Oh my,
Oh,
This
okay,
time
okay.
Peanut secures the objective.
What
Canyon
the fight?
now fighting towards this backside. Peanut back
They're
towards
gathered,
the rest of his
they're gathered.
teammates. GenG still needing to get out. Another Umbral Trespass is going to come in. The ulti brilliant from Peanut this time as Canyon gets another double knock up. But it is not the 3-man, and it doesn't have the
I don't think they can
follow-up.
go in.
Dom still has ultimate available. They don't quite know where he is now, they do. And now Noguri on the in the back line.
Dom!
Peanut trying to get him out. Scatter the Weak connects. Immediately. Chovy goes golden. Doran gonna do the same thing now. It's, oh my god! Chovy gets rid of Canyon, but the answer is still there. Dom, Ruler. Canyon
Oh no!
Ruler turns it on its head. Oh my god! Quadra kill, and Ruler
Oh
will
god.
get past
Oh
the
god.
quarters. He will take Chovy with him.
Ah,
And
GG.
GenG have done it.
Ruler takes over the game. The quadra kill in the moment where it matters most. He dashes in. He knocks down Dogdom, and he is sending GenG to the World Championship semi-finals.
Ruler broke the 2K kill record in the LCK. It took him 5 years
I was so
to
close.
get an LCK title.
I was so close.
And here
I was
he
so
is.
close.
Look at the smiles. GenG. They get it done.
Look at Peanut, the absolute elation. And Doran just bouncing up and down. This is a GenG that have realized they've
Holy shit.
conquered what has
This
been their
doesn't even
biggest
feel
enemy
like
in the past.
quarterfinals. This
Could
feels like
not have been
semifinals.
closer. That final fight was down to the tiniest differences. The smallest things changed this game completely here. Chovy Zonia's, as we saw Dogdom flying
game,
in there,
good
he
game, good
flashes
game.
in,
It was good,
trying to
it was
one-shot
great,
this
it was
Victor. The
great.
Zonia's there, denying so much of that burst, that even when Chovy falls, Ruler finds his moment. He finds the smallest opening to dash in on this Lucian that could be so easily punished if you miss that. It just takes over the game.
Look at Ruler's face. He knows,
Poor
I mean, he
Cannon.
was the one that did it in those last few
He
moments.
tried.
He is sending
He tried to make
item
me see that.
progression is
Up, but it is not the 3-man, and it
Oh,
doesn't
I
have
don't
the
think they can
follow-up.
go in.
Doc Dumb still has ultimate available. They don't quite know where he is now, they do. And now Nuguri on
Yeah,
the
Canyon's
back.
carrying
Dino
hard.
trying to get him out. Scatter the Weak connects. And there's the Moonlight Vigil immediately. Chovy goes gold, and Doran gonna do the same thing now. It's, oh my god! Chovy gets rid of Canyon, but the answer is still there. Doc Dumb, Brawler. Can he do it? Yes, he
Ah,
can.
the hits are on
Brawler
Doran.
turns it on its head. Oh my god! Quadra kill, and Ruler will.
Dark Dumb's hits were on Doran. Dark Dumb's hit was on Doran. It wasn't on. Oh. What was that? Okay. Alright. GG. GG. Good game. Good game. What can you say, right? Good game. It was a good game. Alright, we're done. Good night, guys. Good night, everyone. Good night. Damn it, DK loss. DK loss. What's the game tomorrow? What's tomorrow? GenG Dawn. DRXEDG. Next Saturday, T1 versus GDG. Oh my god. DR Edward Gaming tomorrow. I'm betting I'm betting EDG wins. I'm betting EDG wins. I think that was close. Anyway, good night. Good game, guys. Good night. Bye. Thank you for joining. The team I was rooting for lost. Oh well.